What's up, chat? Welcome back. You know what time it is. Oh, I'm on, and now you guys are on. Say hello.
Yeah.
Hello, Chad.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah.
Look,
Oh
Kyle,
yeah,
I'm saying,
chat.
Help is elected. He's like playing a crusade against
You flip myself horizontally.
Yeah.
There we go. How are we doing? You know what time it is. Johnston FNAF has dropped his new Midnight Motorist theory, which is no longer new. But I wanted to wait a week.
It's not.
Because if I didn't wait a week, that would be like bad. I'd be stealing his shit. But now,
Exactly.
You're siphoned views off his phone.
Yeah, but it's been a week, so like you're not stifling the growth.
no, not anymore. No. Let's see, chat. What do we got? 70 viewers. I fell off. Holy.
Dude, you're washed.
That's true. We usually don't do the Dreading Hour live though, so people are probably like, "What the fuck is he doing?"
Yeah. It's all good.
Alrighty. Let me switch over to Cryonide's thingamajig, as it were. Window capture.
Thingamajig. That is the official term.
Yeah, that's what this thing is
There
called.
we go. All right.
This is my
Cryonide me.
thingamajig.
We're starting, chat. So here we go. We're starting with the earliest one he did, like 2 years ago, on Midnight Motorist, and we're gonna be chronicling this. It'll be educational history class.
Yeah, we're going through all of them.
Mhm.
If John FNAF pulls up in chat, tell him I said what's good.
Everyone, tell him that he is the 14th best FNAF tuber.
Damn.
Wow.
Or
14
that
is a great number.
It is. It's one of my favorites. Okay,
All right.
chat. Here it is. I'm opening this box. All right, Cryo, start playing the fucking video so I can see.
I think we can all agree that one of the biggest and most unsolved parts is Midnight Motorist.
Very
Specifically,
good.
You gotta play it for a bit so see if chat can fucking
end
hear,
of
because I want to
Midnight
make sure
Motorist,
chat
where
can.
we see
Oh,
a
okay.
kid who got lured out of his bedroom and into the woods by an animatronic. Who was the
Grandpa
kid? What
Afton.
animatronic do these footprints belong to? Well,
Chat, how's the
5
volume
years later,
on
we
John
might have
FNAF?
figured it out. And the theory I have today could change how you think about every major event that happened.
I
in this
realized we
series.
were gonna
Please
be
remember that
watching
these are just theories.
Yeah, we're watching it.
Oh, we're
I'm
going
like,
in.
oh, my stream is not set up to show the people.
Oh. Do you need a second to get that set up, or?
I
or are we
mean,
good?
y'all, you just go
Yeah.
there.
Well, I need to set the
people-
crop too. I gotta set crop as well.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
the people
So.
here on my channel, they know that nothing is going right now.
Okay, hold on a minute. Hold on, Chathew. I gotta set this. Oh, I'm an old man. All right, how do I crop things?
Chat you.
Right click,
Bro.
transform,
Yeah, here we go.
edit transform. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Oh my goodness. They call me the drink.
they
Call you the drink.
call him the what?
They call him the what?
Beverage of sorts.
That's the same vibe as saying holy the shit.
All right, chat. Johnston FNAF coming in hot. John FNAF is a bit low. Okay, I will turn up the stream volume.
Can I turn mine up? I can turn mine up a little bit.
Okay.
I don't want
I'm
to do that.
slowly
actually, 'cause it's loud
closing
for me.
in. I'm slowly closing in on. Oh, what have I done? 250. There we go.
Yo, someone in chat is calling you TDreads, and they're telling you to go to Narrow Raven stream. What you don't understand is that if he does that, his computer will explode.
Okay, we'll do 230 for both of the sides on here. Chad, I'm very professional and I set this up very expertly beforehand. All right, John FNAF, come back! Woo, John FNAF.
Woo! Are we good?
I gotta
Let's go,
turn up his
Johnny.
volume just a tad. His volume has to go up just a small ounce, and then
Maybe this will be the podcast version, guys. If you want to watch it, just I don't know, go somewhere
Yeah.
else. Don't be here if you want to see the
Yeah.
video. I'm an audio only medium. If you want the video you get is my face.
okay, let me turn up the stream volume. John FNAF release. Okay,
Release.
All right.
Release.
Resume. Oh, wait a minute. I fucked something up. Wait. Okay. Resume the John FNAFing.
All right.
I want to get this out of the way first. I believe Midnight Motorist is showing us what happened after William Afton killed Charlie. Why do I think this? The minigame is literally labeled
Right, he
later
should
that
be a
night
little
in the
louder
game
now.
files. Orange guy is driving a purple car just like Purple Guy, and the
There we go.
rain animation is the same as the minigame where Charlie got killed. The opening sequence of FNAF 6 also shows us someone wearing all orange, all purple, and all purple with an orange tie, indicating to me that
Oh my
they're
God.
interchangeable. But the one thing that intrigues me the most about this minigame isn't the orange guy or
That
what
is the
happens
only
before that,
reason
it's
that
the
you could
unmarked
say that
pile
he's
of dirt
orange
in
and it
the
makes
clearing.
some
That
sense.
mound of dirt has
Well,
always
this is
bothered me.
this is
Why
before
create
the
Alright,
FNAF
pause this,
right?
pause
to an
this.
area that
So is he
What's
about
up?
to use? I think he is about to use the ultimate guide, right, or whatever it is. The shit with
he
Freddy
used,
Frostbear on it.
orange
It's
guy or
got
whatever.
this
Before that,
motherfucker on
it's
it.
the unmarked pile of dirt in
Yeah, here it is.
Oh yeah. All right, what is that thing called? The ultimate.
The ultimate. That's the ultimate
guide
god.
with Freddy Rizbear. Yeah.
That's my
What are
guy.
our thoughts on the ultimate guide? I think it's completely shot.
Yeah, I kind
I
of
think
do.
it's more. I think it's more reliable when people make it because people will find minute problems like typo stuff like that,
Yeah.
and be like, "Oh, now fill the whole thing out." But Scott deliberately said he's going to make sure this next one, the Ultimate Guide, is going to be accurate and reliable. So to be like Scott's not going to oversee it like he did the other two. It's like disconnected. So if something in there is like said,
Yeah.
on the context in a certain way, right? So it's like the shadows are helping people as it's a fact. That matters a bit more. But sometimes it just gives a theory, which it does in Midnight Motorist.
Yeah. And also Michael Afton's not in it, so. And Michael Afton's not even in the character encyclopedia. Holy mid.
Yeah, Michael Afton's
Yeah,
never
bro
mentioned
just barely
anywhere.
exists.
Yeah. He's
Michael
mentioned.
Afton's
He's
in
name
there.
dropped once, and then it's over. It's curtains for him.
But Michael Victim is in the
No.
Oh,
It's
all right, we're going
true.
ahead.
It's
We're
in the
going ahead.
logbook,
I've
too.
heard
mound
enough.
of dirt has always bothered me. Why create a secret pathway to an area that just has a mound of dirt on it? Well, if you're a hardcore fan of FNAF, you'll know that this isn't the first time we've seen an unmarked pile of dirt in this franchise. In the Twisted Ones novel, the Twisted
Oh, here we go.
Holy. I just love that sentence. It's so funny.
You're a hardcore fan of FNAF.
This isn't the first time we've seen an unmarked pile of dirt. Only fucking Five Nights at Freddy's could have that be like a hype moment.
Yeah.
Dirt.
So how do we feel about the
Release.
Twisted Ones being brought up?
Valid.
I mean, I understand why. He's not wrong.
Yeah.
They do come out
Yeah,
of the
I get
graves,
it,
yeah,
Harrison.
in the ground.
Do we remember when Twisted Ones came out in relation to FNAF 6?
It came out
It's
like,
2017,
I
isn't it?
think-
I think
Same
Twisted
year.
Ones was 2017. Chat, was Twisted Ones before or
When
after?
did the Twisted Ones come
I mean, if it's
Bro's
around the
Googling
same
it.
time, they presumably
June
would have been developed around the
27th,
same time, anyways.
Wait, it came out.
When did FNAF 6 come out?
That says 5.
That says
That's
5.
FNAF 5, you fool.
FNAF
December
6 came out.
2017. So
Wait.
there's been some time between.
So it's
between
after.
them.
Twisted Ones is
6
after.
months.
No,
right?
Twisted
No,
Ones before.
Oh, am I
Twisted Ones
dumb?
came
before.
out.
Oh, yeah,
Twisted
because
Ones came out,
January
like,
would be.
half a
Yeah, I'm
year
a bot,
before.
sorry.
Bro,
Okay.
you're-
Cool.
Quiet.
Twisted Ones came out a year after the MCI day.
Literally.
Day after
Is that
MCI.
the actual FNAF day? June 27th?
Well, he was
June 26th.
arrested June 26th, so presumably what happened.
Yeah,
25th.
H Bomber guy tweeted out that quote at one point. This isn't the first time we've seen an unmarked pile of dirt. All right, it was shortly. It was
Alright,
shortly
so-
before.
Yeah, so Twisted Ones was already established by this time. Okay, that's all I wanted to know. Let's keep going.
animatronics are known for burying themselves during the day so they can come out at night and capture kids, which could line up with what we see in the minigame. The twisted animatronic climbs out of the ground, goes to the house, lures the child out of his
All
room.
right,
and
stop
abducts
the
him. But there's
video.
one-
Okay, so the first problem I have with this is the Twisted Ones come out at night, so the dirt wouldn't be over the grave.
Midnight Motorist.
Yeah.
Unless
And
they
it's
clean, maybe they're like really
presumably in there.
tidy and they clean up after them, like they make their bed, like so to speak.
No, God.
They're like, oh, I'm coming to kill you, like a dog, you know. So
Yeah, I feel
think-
like the dirt would look open. If
I
it
feel
was...
like it could be a alternate
am I
idea where
cooked?
maybe
am I cooked?
an animal. Oh no.
Oh, goat's not cooked.
you
Goat's
good?
I'm alive, still kicking, still kicking.
Yeah, whatever's down here is still buried for sure.
It could be. It doesn't have to be something buried, but it could be an alternate idea where like something does come out of the ground, but but it's not exact like it was in the Twisted ones. Like it could be a similar idea of like an animatronic or a person comes from the ground.
Like a parallel.
Kind of like
How dare you
Ooh.
say that?
a rabbit, kind of like a rabbit.
That's a FNAF slur, dude. You don't say the P word.
Yeah,
Yeah, they hate parallels.
they hate that thing.
They
well,
hate basic,
touche.
basic lyric.
This screen is where Cryonide gave me his banger theory about Midnight Motorist, which is that Afton bicep curled and
We're
trim
gonna
body
keep
suit.
going.
One big problem is that the twisted animatronics don't show up in the games. Before I scrapped the idea, I decided to look at the Ultimate Guide and see what its interpretation
decided to
was
look
of
at
the unmarked
mid.
pile of
Okay. I don't remember what he gets from the Ultimate Guide here.
Well, we're about to find out, so.
dirt
Something
and
about
clearing,
Fred
and to
Bear, I think.
my surprise, the book was thinking the exact same thing as me. Quote, other theories have popped up around the secret grave in the clearing, with many fans linking it to the Twisted Ones novel, who would bury themselves to hide during the day. The fact that Scott put this theory in the book made me think that I wasn't as far off as I thought. The character encyclopedia
I don't
even
know.
calls
I feel
out
like he's
this
just
specific
saying.
event from that book. Quote,
Hot
Yeah,
take,
I-
I don't think he did put it in the book. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
Yeah.
Like,
For
one
I
thing,
think
I
some
don't-
editor
I don't
put it
think
in the
he put-
book.
Yeah, I don't think these are Scott's words whatsoever.
Yeah, the tough part
Yeah.
about it is that these books in particular are so hard to use for anything because there's a ton of videos you could watch online of these books just getting shit flat out wrong.
Also, isn't that statement like contradicting itself? It calls it a secret grave, but then says that the Twisted Ones might be buried in it, which presumably wouldn't be a grave.
Well, it would
Yeah,
be
a little
the
bit.
secret grave for them because
I think you could.
bite victims in their stomach, you idiots.
Mm.
I think you could make the point that since Scott probably does overlook the book, even if he's not writing the whole thing, is Scholastic, I doubt, is like super well versed in like all the theories out there. So like
No,
some
I
specifics-
think this was written by someone who like watches a lot of game theory.
Yeah, they probably watch theories. They probably.
It was
are
written
somewhat
by me.
knowledgeable. I feel like it is worthly saying that the theories that the book chooses to put in the
Hey,
book
Loaf.
could give an idea of like the ideas that Scott wants us to think about because that's what got approved and to be there. Like you got the Afton and then you got like a
No.
kidnapped kid and Twisted Ones. He wants you to think about those ideas.
I disagree. I
Hold on
don't
a
think
sec.
this being in
Well, you're
here
mid.
means that Scott wants
Before you
to,
play
like,
it, I'm gonna
think
try.
about it.
I'm gonna risk a stream explosion.
Oh, what the hell are you doing?
I'm opening up Food Tech.
Oh Christ!
All right, chat.
You know
Everyone
what I-
pray. Everyone pray. I'm opening up Fuki Tech. Nervous, you might get an influx of viewers.
I could see it also being like Scott said that he likes to
What?
like.
Huh?
Sorry, what were we saying?
He cut
I
out.
said you might get an
Uh-oh.
influx of viewers because I'm opening up Fuki Tech so all your little pictures show up. Oh shit!
Ooh.
Yeah,
A Wakta
which might mean
subscribe.
that
Thank you.
T-Dread viewers have stream.
Yeah, go to
Yeah.
Nervous where she doesn't even have the video playing 'cause she doesn't understand how to do that.
Just chill out there until T-Dread gets it sorted, and
Okay.
then come back.
All right, we're still alive. We're still
Just chill out
alive.
there for a little
We're
bit.
still
Ah,
alive.
We're here.
We're still alive.
Are we good?
We'll
Why
see.
would Fuji
You
Tech
guys should be
crash your
appearing
stream?
shortly.
What-
Oh shit! You guys have appeared.
You need to understand something, Nervous.
Holy shit!
T-Dreads' computer is built like held together by hopes and dreams.
It's like the
Oh.
original mimic. It's like the original mimic.
Yeah.
I was
Toothpicks and
what
sticky
is
tape.
It's a browser source.
No, T-Dreads is
You
struggling.
underestimate. You
That's streaming
overestimate
from
me.
Nexus.
Okay.
Yeah, I was about to say I definitely overestimated.
All right, we're
All right, am I good
alive.
to start?
Resume John FNAF.
All right.
Let's go.
linking it to the Twisted Ones novel, who would bury themselves to
Toast.
hide during the day. The fact
You
that
okay?
Toast, my cat just scratched me.
Scott put this theory in the book made me think that I wasn't as far off as I thought. The character encyclopedia even calls out this specific event from that book. Quote, Twisted Freddy is uncovered buried in a backyard. He kidnaps Charlotte Emily from her childhood home, which has been destroyed by a tornado. So then I got to think,
Shit, fair
if
enough.
the Twisted animatronic is responsible for the ending of Midnight Motorist, what animatronics are the in-game versions of the Twisted animatronics? Well, the Twisted animatronics are known for using illusion discs
No.
to
Oh my
capture
God.
kids in their stomach.
No.
So what is the one animatronic that we think has an illusion disc?
Don't
on its
say
chest
it,
and that is
Johannes
built for
Fnafenburg.
capturing kids in their stomach
No.
hatch? Funtime Freddy. There's
Oh.
All right.
Oh god.
Let's-
okay.
Let's talk about it.
Okay. So first of all, credit where credit is due. In the Golden Freddy video, I talk about how Scott does this shit all the time, where he grabs your nipples and he twists them. And he's like, here's a plot device I used in the books. And now I'm repeating the plot device in the games, but slightly different. So there
Yeah.
are animatronic footprints outside a house where a child goes missing. And in the Twisted Ones, yeah, that is true what he said. Twisted Freddy kidnaps Charlie around her old childhood home. So it is that thing again where
Wait, are you saying Charlie got kidnapped around her childhood home?
no, in the books. In the books.
Wait, that's not what happened. She got kidnapped at Fredbear's.
No, I swear to
not what-
God, wasn't she at her old? Oh no, that's where they
No.
found them for the
End
first
of
time,
Midnight
isn't it?
Motorist, what animatronics are the in-game
Yeah, she got kidnapped.
Let me go back.
Is this
She-
John FNAF
she got
misinformation?
He kidnapped Charlotte Emily from her former childhood.
Yeah, I'm
home,
pretty sure
which I
she's at
think
her
is
house. I'm
really
pretty sure
funny.
she's
I'm
revisiting her
dead
old
ass.
house.
That's
That's
when she's a Charlie bot, right?
feel
She
like
goes
that-
back.
Well, she's always a Charlie bot.
Oh wait, we're talking about like when she got kidnapped in the Twisted Ones.
Yes,
Yes.
bro.
Oh, I thought
Not
you
at
meant,
the
like,
you thought I
her
meant
as
at the
a
end of
kid.
the book? No, the beginning of the book.
No, I thought y'all meant like her as a kid. And I'm
No,
like,
no.
I was like tripping out. Like,
No.
what are y'all talking about?
bro. All right, let's keep going. So
Yeah.
okay,
Well, I was saying, like, I see
Funtime
where he gets
Freddy.
that conclusion, because that does happen. Like, you have a set of animatronic footprints, and the kid gets taken from their house, which also happens in the Twisted
Yeah.
Ones.
it's just that footprint in particular.
Oh,
does
we'll
not
get to
look
it.
like
We'll get to it.
Funtime
We'll get to
Freddy.
it.
I'm pretty sure he brings
Story
that up.
about
I'm pretty
it.
sure he brings that
So
up.
then I got to thinking, if a twisted animatronic is responsible for animatronics, well, the twisted animatronics are known for using a that we think has an illusion disc on his chest and that is built for capturing kids in their stomach hatch. Funtime Freddy. There's no way that
Oh,
Funtime
God.
Freddy was the one that captured and killed the crying child, right? At this point, I know they're screaming out their
Oh God.
Right?
No, Johnston. No.
Wrong.
the one that captured and killed the crying child, right? At
Right?
this point, I know there's
It
people
couldn't
screaming at their
be.
screens right now saying, it doesn't matter who killed the crying child, how could the crying child die twice since we see him die in FNAF 4? And also, there's no way that a
Incoming
random
John
character
FNAF
like Funtime
banger.
Freddy would
Incoming
capture
John FNAF banger. Incoming
the
banger.
crying child, right? Well, I decided to look into it a little bit more just for fun, and hang on to your seats. Something
Ah, I'm hung. Wait, no, that sounded bad.
Whoa!
No, don't clip, don't clip, don't clip.
What did he say?
Fuck. Fuck. Oh man.
I'm doing all that for you, bro. Damn.
Clip it.
Don't clip
I mean, yeah,
it.
he's a handsome fella, but like, damn, dude.
I like grab a drink and I come back to just chaos. I don't know what happened.
DD's talking about the effect that John FNAF has on his body.
That is wild, Cryo.
That's what she
That's
said.
insane.
That is an
He's holding on to
absurd
his
statement.
seat.
Yeah.
He's holding on to his seat, all right.
Oh.
Jesus Christ.
Oh god. And chat is noticing. They're like, what?
Let's keep going.
God,
I've had
John
enough of
FNAF.
shit already.
Never collaborate with these people. Never
We're never
collaborate
gonna
with any of
recover.
these people.
I wish
keep
John
going.
was in chat just for that, bro. He joins and just
I
hears
hope-
that.
Dude,
You get-
imagine
you
if this is like a clip that plays in his next video. I'll throw up.
He's gonna block you on Twitter now. Just watch. You're gonna go on Twitter. He's blocked you.
All right. let's
Oh
keep
no,
going.
chat saying hung
I
MM.
tried to do research
No.
these theories, understand the context of when this game came out and what we knew at the time. Sister Location was released in October 2016. The Twisted Ones was released after that in
Okay,
June
he brings this up.
2017, and FNAF 6 was released after that in December 2017. I can only assume that the story for the Twisted Ones was being developed simultaneously with the release of Sister Location.
Maybe.
That's true.
Probably. I mean, unless he like literally writes these in one day. Oh no.
Bro is
National
Yeah,
PV
yeah.
says definitely clipping that. No, don't do it.
So
It's too late.
unless
That is correct because
Who
like
the
he
fuck
started
said
making
hung
fun-
victim? You're insane. No,
No,
it's
dude,
like
no,
8.
dude. No, it's Hang Drew Midnight Motorist.
Hang Drew
That's what
Midnight
it is.
Motorist.
being developed simultaneously with the release of Sister Location.
I guess like
Yeah,
I don't
probably.
have a problem with that.
That's
However,
probably
Scott is also known for just flying at the seam of his pants with us.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily agree with that, but like it is likely because when he wrote the Silver Eyes, that was in conjunction with FNAF 4's development.
That's true. Yeah.
And you can't point out that overlapping ideas were coming to those games in the book.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's-
that's fair.
Oh,
I'll be
that
right
was
back.
bad. And
Yeah,
like,
take your time. What you gotta do.
I think his ideas, because like I said, like not like I said, like everyone has said, Mr. Afton. In the books, he's called William Afton, and in the games, he's called William. Like, he clearly takes, like, similar ideas.
Yeah.
So he probably
called
was
William in
coming
the
up with
games?
a general, like, plot structure, and he probably, you know, inserts a little bit of that into both continuities.
Technically, I don't think he's ever referred to as William in the games. He's
No,
just
they just call him
Mr.
Mr. Afton.
He
And
might
then
be
named
Afton in
John
FNAF
Afton.
6.
Vincent Sigma
John
Trap.
Afton. Vincent
I don't
Afton.
know if he brings this up in the video. My issue is that the novels already also have Funtime Freddy that's separate from the Twisted
I
ones.
don't think he'll bring that up, but that is a thing. Let's keep going. Nervous will be back eventually, I hope.
Okay.
I'm here. I'm here.
So in
Oh, okay.
that context,
Oh,
everything
quick.
checks out. So what about the
What's up?
It was quick.
Oh, okay.
context of what we see in the games, especially of Funtime Freddy? Well, let's first look at his blueprints. In Sister Location, we were given
Alright,
blueprints for the
Johnston.
4 main animatronics: Baby, Ballora, Funtime Foxy, and Funtime Freddy. This is something that Scott has never put in a game before, so there had to be a reason for it. But for the most part, nothing really stands out, except for Funtime Freddy's and Baby's. In Funtime Freddy's and Baby's blueprints, you can see a kid captured in their stomach tank. But this is
Pause that video.
We see Baby capturing
What's
Alright.
up?
Hear me out. Hear me out. I hate how they go into Baby. What if, like,
Mhm.
Funtime Freddy was rented out and he, like...
And Funtime Freddy has her brother.
Well,
Oh, that would
it
be...
is a
That would make no sense.
blueprint.
Oh! He,
It-
sorry,
it's a
John.
blueprint, so it's
I
not
didn't
like
even
it
notice.
actually has a body in there.
Yeah,
just
or
it
he's...
has the capacity.
Yeah, the capacity
Yeah.
to do it.
Yeah,
Look at his little nubs.
Imagine if some dude like saw the blueprints and was like, Afton, why does your blueprint have a child inside of it?
That literally happened.
That's
That
what
literally
the intro
happened.
of Sister Location
Yeah, that
is,
literally...
yeah.
What the fuck are you doing with these robots?
Those aren't the concerns we had. Mr.
They are
Afton.
state of the art, but why is
We're
there a
concerned
child
about the fact-
shoe?
We're not really concerned about the fact that she can sing and dance and blow balloons with her fingers. I like she has a human child inside of her.
Yeah.
That's the issue.
She has the
captured in
Also-
her stomach tank. But this isn't something new. Obviously, we see Baby capture and kill Elizabeth in her 8-bit minigame. But Funtime Freddy having a kid captured inside his stomach is interesting. This never really pays off because we never get to see him capture a kid. Or do we? One of the
No.
main
Oh my
features of Funtime
God.
Freddy found in the blueprints that is only listed on his is voice mimic /
Voice
luring.
what?
What if Funtime Freddy was
Voice what?
is voice mimic
He said it!
Mm,
Mimic MM,
mimic.
it's canon.
Steal the
Funtime
Somebody
Freddy
say
mimic!
is
the
the
mimic
mimic the
was
whole
couch
time.
person.
This is the game version of when David got taken. He was actually kidnapped by the mimic.
Yeah, David wasn't hit by a car, he was taken.
Proximity
/
sensor
luring. What if
grouping.
Funtime Freddy listed
Proximity
Yeah,
on
what is that?
his is voice
grouping.
Mangle was driving the car.
Holy shit! Tarian with the 5 memberships.
Let's
What does that mean,
go.
360 pivot?
Vegetarian.
Optimal.
Like the can't all of them just pivot?
Yeah, can they all? They can all
Yeah,
turn around.
it can
okay?
turn
Yeah.
around.
/
Parental
luring. What if
tracking.
Funtime Freddy
Fucking
was the one
insane.
who
Which is
lured the crime
absurd.
child out of his room in Midnight Motorist. Need more proof? Another
Yes.
thing I decided to look into was Funtime Freddy's voice lines, since characters' voice lines have been pivotal over the years to figuring out what's going on. So let me play a few of Funtime Freddy's from Sister Location.
All right. Anybody home? Okay, I've heard that one a lot before.
Yeah.
Knock knock. Anybody home? I will say
That's my favorite.
we might wait just a second until my dono stop vocal stimming because it's playing the Scott Cawthon song. It's got like one more. Any second now? There it is. Okay. This should be the last one. Okay. So he also says, "I'll see you in your dreams tonight" in AR, which is another callback to
When they
FNAF 4.
are.
So
That's
knock knock,
interesting.
anyone home? I'll see you in your dreams tonight. So I agree with Johnston FNAF on this instance that is quite strange.
Yeah.
And he's in the bedroom and help wanted.
Yeah, that's true.
He is all, yeah, which is really interesting.
So
So is
like
Baby, right?
people like I'm not gonna lie, right? People were really dunking on John when this theory came out, but there is a lot of aspects of it that are like, well, yeah, that's true. Like I don't agree
Yeah,
with the
like, it's
conclusion
not-
he comes to.
I don't
But,
agree with the conclusion, but I get how we got here.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
there's
I
so
might
many
have been-
Evidence.
because he hasn't said anything
completely-
incorrect so far.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was like, I must have been completely separated from the community when this came out because I had no idea that people were mad at this at all until just now.
Let's keep going.
He says, "Oh, birthday boy, knock knock, anybody home?" When
Oh
have
my
we
God.
ever had another
"Oh,
birthday boy
birthday
in this
boy."
franchise that isn't
Oh,
the crying
birthday
child? The
boy!
crying
All right,
child is
pause
literally
that
known in the
shit.
franchise.
Okay, I would agree with him. However, Johnston, Johannes Fnafenburg printing press, you need to consider
Yeah.
that that's not a flattering freeze frame, but we'll take it. You need to consider. You need to consider that
There we go.
the
There we go.
entire point of the funtime animatronics post Circus Baby's Pizza World, which was a sting operation. Watch my video on Sunday. Ha! The entire purpose of it post Pizza World is to rent out the animatronics to birthday parties. So saying "oh,
Yeah,
birthday
exactly.
boy" could apply to hundreds of kids that rented
Yeah,
out the
it's-
robot over the years.
Yeah.
And because it was like a rent out, it would make sense for him to also knock knock. You know?
Mhm.
Oh, because he'd be
Right.
showing up. Yeah, he'd be showing up at the
Yes.
house. Oh, but then again,
No.
he is showing up at a house in this minigame. So it's like,
Yeah.
if he didn't kidnap the
Programming
crying
gone
child, he could
haywire.
have kidnapped Andrew. I knew it.
Andrew.
Wait, but that's the same person.
Oh no.
All right, you've gone too far. I can only entertain somebody shenanigans.
Knock knock, anybody home? When have we ever had another birthday boy in this franchise that isn't the crying child? The
Can anyone think of one off the top of their heads? Because I'm sure we have.
Timmy from Help Wanted too. It's his birthday cake.
True.
Yeah.
And Jimmy. Don't forget Jimmy.
Yeah,
He'd
and
also
Oh wait,
won.
no, it says Jimmy and then it's gonna be Timmy's birthday. Never
Mm.
mind. Yeah, we have had birthday boy, but was FNAF Help Wanted 2 out when
No, not at
No,
all.
no.
Definitely not when the sister location
When this
came out
was-
and he said that.
No, yeah. I mean when FNAF uploaded this video. I don't think it was.
When did
Also
Close, but I don't
interesting
think
that
out.
that Glamrock Freddy also has a chest
Yeah,
compartment.
later
it
this
was
year.
not out yet? Yeah,
So as far as this John of FNAF
yeah.
is concerned,
Yeah.
no
At
other
the time,
birthday
yeah.
boy.
All right, let's keep going.
crying child is literally known in the franchise for being the birthday boy. At this point, I was losing my mind. Funtime Freddy is known for luring kids and capturing them. We see a kid literally
God.
inside his stomach tank in his
God.
blueprint, and his voice lines seem to directly coincide with what we see in Midnight Motorist. So if you have any
Unfortunately.
knowledge of FNAF 4, you'll know that there's still one big problem. How does it connect with what we see in FNAF 4? Why do I think the crying child was the one that was taken? Well, let me explain. The story in the 8-bit minigames in FNAF 4 seems to leave out some important information about what happened beforehand. We first see the crying child crying in his bedroom, surrounded by plushies of the whole Freddy Fazbear gang. This tells me that he's a fan
It's
of the
actually
character,
pronounced
or
God
at
victim,
least
but
he used to be.
who knows?
We learn in FNAF 4 the
Shut
reason
up.
why he's now scared of the
It's actually pronounced
Pizza.
God.
Don't you remember what
God
we saw? The
victim.
exit is the other way. Hurry and leave. It's too late. Hurry the other way and find
Devil
someone
victim.
who will help. You know what will happen if he catches you. This implies, at least to me, that the crying child saw someone get caught at the pizzeria and something bad happened to them. But what if I throw out the idea that he didn't see something happen to someone else? He saw himself get killed at the hands of what he thought was Fredbear,
What?
Holy.
Hold on, wait. Let me let him finish the sentence first.
his favorite
Oh.
character. What
Let me go back and make sure I heard that
to
right.
them?
He
But what if
saw
I throw out the
himself.
idea
That's
that
kind-
he
that's
didn't see
that's
something
kind of
happen to
basic.
Hold on,
actually.
hold on.
Yeah,
hold on,
I
wait.
I actually believe something somewhat similar.
Hold on. Let me finish this.
else,
Holy.
he saw himself get killed at the hands of what he thought was Fredbear, his favorite character. What if
I think it's just he saw the suit in the back room with the wires and or hair in it and was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it's,
I
you know.
think loop victim speak.
Well, but I mean, how is he going to change it from inside of his, but it already happened. Okay, never mind.
Let's just keep going. Let's just keep going.
Freddy
I'm
animatronic
getting
used the
confused.
illusion disc to make himself look like Fredbear, lured the crying child out of his bedroom into the pizzeria, then killed him. This would explain why
Okay,
in FNAF 4 we
pause.
only see Fredbear
Are we going to go over the mythical toes debate now or later?
No, he's gonna bring it up.
Oh,
in
he
the
will?
video.
Okay.
Yeah, he
Well,
talked
okay.
about it.
If he doesn't
Yeah.
bring it up here, he brings it up in the follow-up.
Okay.
Oh, somebody pointed out Gabriel and Help Wanted for Birthday Boy.
Oh yeah.
Mm-mm.
And Help Wanted 1 was definitely out by this point.
Yes.
But did Gabriel die on his birthday?
Well, there's a
did.
cake in the back, so
Yeah, he's
similarly.
sad.
Well, presumably is that it's like an MCI. Gabriel's being taken, and he's the one with the birthday cake.
Yeah.
It gives Gabriel some relevance. MCI was his birthday.
True.
see that.
Boy.
Oh, Sigma.
I think a birthday. I just think
Oh,
saying that.
boy.
Oh my gosh.
Jesus.
Sorry, keep going. Too nervous.
We're brain
It's
rotting.
okay. No. Go ahead.
No, I got it out of my system. I got it out of my system.
get your Sigma stims out. But
I-
I just think the birthday boy thing is a really weird thing. It's hard for me to stay hung up on because yeah, I mean he's known as the birthday boy in FNAF, but it's really weird to single him out as the birthday boy because not only are the fun times like birthday or party centered animatronics, we even see in like Security Breach that birthday parties are very similar to like Chuck E. Cheese in this universe where it's everybody's having their birthday
Yeah.
here. It's
Yeah.
very unusual that you're going to go to a Chuck E. Cheese and someone's birthday it is
It is
not.
not happening.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm
Like-
wrong, but in Into the Pit, don't all of the MCI victims have birthday hats on?
Party hats. I don't know. if
Yeah,
they're
party hats.
birthday-
Yeah,
But
so
like,
there's- I don't
it's
know.
literally birthday party aesthetic. Birthday party aesthetic is all over this franchise.
Yeah, so that's not it. I love listening to this theory from a storytelling perspective, but that's like the point for me where I'm just like blah blah blah. I hear you, but like everybody has a birthday here. Like
Yeah.
this is the birthday place.
Everyone has a birthday. It came
Everyone
free
what?
with your birth.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
kind of depends on it really depends on the context of which is being said. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
some cases it's pretty obvious to be reference to the like big birthday, which is FNAF 4.
I just
Other
Yes.
times it's just the aesthetic.
I think that since the rental service is for birthdays specifically, it makes sense for him to say birthday boy because that's what he's made
Ye-
for.
Yeah, it just I don't know. It's hard to use it as evidence. The like honestly like the knock knock is more so to me.
Yeah.
like,
Mhm.
powerful
That one I
because
think is.
ooh, it's kind of creepy.
What if he said
I don't
hello,
necessarily
Dave?
like that one as much because he goes to a window. He doesn't like go up to the. I mean, I guess
he
he could
also
be
I mean, he
knocking on
knocked at the
You can knock
window,
on
but
the
like,
window, yeah.
Goobus.
well, no, he's not even at the window.
And-
He's standing like 10 feet away. From
Yeah, he
the
doesn't
house.
even go there.
Well, yeah,
he
that's why I
stands
think it has to be
firmly in
Golden
place.
Freddy because he must use his magical psychic mind powers
Oh,
to
yeah,
the window.
he influenced the window to break.
He's
You
stretchy
already know
arms.
he could. You already know he could.
Yeah, what I like about Nightmare Fury is that it does fit more with what's presented in the minigame because the glass, the way glass looks like if you break from the outside, the glass will be on the inside.
Thank you,
If you break
Captain
from the
Nuke.
inside, the glass will be on the outside. So the fact
Yup.
there is no glass on the outside means that this isn't like the kid who broke out. It means someone took the
Yeah,
kid.
so it
Yeah,
could be the
someone broke
magical,
in.
majestic Golden Freddy mind powers. Professor X. Yeah.
Silence.
Take this,
with your
Wanda.
mid.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Silence with that mid.
Yeah. All right, resume.
Not
the
to mention,
Oh.
if someone broke out of the room, they could have just opened the goddamn window.
Okay, but
Right.
when I was a kid, I didn't even know how to open a window. I learned how to open
It's
a window
not
like 2 years ago.
You like broke it. You just
Unless it
broke
was on
that
the school
shit
bus. On the school bus, I could open windows, but at home,
He
that shit was
trying
like
to
rocket
open the
science.
window, but he's so strong, you know.
open. Yeah.
Buff
He was like,
victim.
"Oh, I really just
Buff
wanted
victim.
to open this, but it's broken
Buff
now."
victim. All right, let's keep going.
Begin.
with a giant stomach mouth. So if the crying child died at the hands of Funtime Freddy, why do we see him die again in FNAF 4? Well, in sister location, something that I think we
Oh, God.
overlooked at
John
the time
stocks
is
are
that
about to
Afton
fall
was
off.
definitely trying to create robot humans.
Correct.
And in FNAF
Yes.
6, we learned that he was experimenting with Remnant. I believe
Correct.
that
Watch
after
my
the
video
crying
on
child
Sunday.
died at the hands of Funtime Freddy, he successfully rebuilt him in the sister location bunker.
He's trying
Wait.
to. Video. Sunday.
Hold
Okay,
on,
anyway.
wait. Did this
Wait.
just say BV bot? Is that? Hold
Yeah,
on,
he
wait,
is.
Wait,
This is a BV
Hold
bot
on,
video.
wait. Let's just play this all
right.
with no interruptions.
Hold
We
up.
see him
Let
die
him cook.
again in FNAF 4. Well, in sister location, something that I think we overlooked at the time is that Afton was definitely trying to create robot humans. And in FNAF 6, we learned that he was experimenting
Okay, I
with
agree with
Remnant.
that.
I believe that after
Yeah.
Crying Child died at the hands of Funtime Freddy, he successfully rebuilt him in the sister location bunker. After he rebuilt him, he started running tests on him and observing him, using the cameras found in sister location and the Fredbear plush. But, as we learned in the main novel trilogy, people who are rebuilt as robots still remember their past. So when we see the Crying Child again, he's more scared of Fredbear's family diner than ever, due to him remembering witnessing his own death. To hammer
Okay.
Holy
So-
subtext that doesn't exist. so
Okay,
like,
hold
this is what I
on,
mean.
hold
Okay,
on.
so,
BV
Look.
bots.
no hate to John, but to come to this conclusion, you have to jump through like a lot of hoops that Scott has given you no indication to jump through.
I think you have indication that the idea that these people wanted to make humanoid robots is in the games because that is
Mhm.
a logical thing. There's no reason for Henry to not want to do that. Maybe for some reason it doesn't happen, there's no reason for him to not want to do it. There's no reason for Afton to suddenly not want to do it.
Yeah.
And I think depending on your theories, that it makes sense that Afton, those heads, I think they're really similar to the heads Charlie's messing with from the Twisted Ones. It makes a lot of sense that Afton's you were doing it, or you can maybe tie it to Henry, because Henry was involved with the bunker. The bunker was under his house in Twisted Ones. Maybe he was involved with the bunker, and he was those come from him.
Yeah.
And it's just something like that. But
No,
to get to
yeah.
this conclusion, I don't see.
The sister location bunker is absolutely partially an attempt to preserve human consciousness within a metal like thingy. I don't know. Endoskeleton, robots, whatever. That is certainly part of what the bunker is for, is experiments figuring out how to preserve a sentient human being in this kind of thing. I do not think that William Afton is going straight into trying to put people into humanoid robots. I think if that's what Scott intended, if this is what Scott intended, there would probably be an extra blueprint of something that looks human. Maybe it doesn't have a name, you know what I mean? But it would look like a human robot, essentially. A humanoid one.
My
If
brain
I had-
rot is that it's the mimic wearing the skin of the crying child. So he didn't even
Holy.
have to build
Holy
a
peep.
robot.
Holy
He just got the mimic
optimal.
from Edwin's warehouse.
That's
and
going to
was
be the
like,
end. That's the
"Get in
end
my
of secret.
kid's skin suit.
Yeah. That's the end of Secret of the Mimic.
Can I play devil
peak.
advocate? I'm gonna play devil advocate. Is maybe right? Is you look at in the novels, the Twisted Ones, which is kind of a parallel to the bunker under that. The point of that when Henry made it was to basically create this environment to create memories and replicate the life of Charlie or give Charlie a life. And so you could say that in the games, let's just say William is the only one involved with the bunker. Henry has no involvement. Say William in the games wanted to bring back the bite victim, and so that's where you get the heads from. And these rooms, which reflect his life and experiences, is at least originally could be for his goal to recreate his life or give him a life. Maybe it didn't play through. Maybe it did. Maybe that's Gregory. But
Yeah, this angle, especially because Cryonide and I had our meltdown over the Breaker Room map, which the crying child should absolutely be dead by the time that Breaker Room map shows that the FNAF 4 neighborhood, the crying child, is being monitored. So you either have to put that William Afton was down there in 1983 pre-MCI, or that he built it like after the MCI, but the crying child is still chilling in like 1986 somehow. So.
Honestly, I think Secret of the Mimic could provide a reasoning for the bunker to exist before the crying child dies.
BV Mimic.
Let's keep going.
At home even more, in FNAF VR, there's a level called Night Terrors, which is basically FNAF 4. But this level doesn't include the animatronics
I agree
we
with
saw
this.
in FNAF 4. In FNAF VR, the first 3 FNAF games have all of the same characters, but not this one. So who are the characters featured in Night Terrors? Well, you've got Nightmare Yon and Baby, who are both tied to robot kids in the novels, but then you have Funtime Freddy and Nightmare Fredbear, the killer and his disguise. One other thing
Okay,
mention
well, I
is
don't know
this
about
art
Nightmare
runner
Fredbear being
flatline.
the disguise, because I'm not following that anywhere.
Yeah. You got some goddamn nerve.
I will say it's entirely possible that at some point William used the Funtime animatronics with illusion discs and or gas to appear as like Nightmare or something or other, because they are in the house and they're right under it. You know, there's literally you can walk up the stairs into the FNAF 4 experiment rooms from Sister Location. So.
At the end of FNAF 4. If the crying child really was a robot when he got bit, why would he have a heartbeat? In Pizzeria Simulator, we play as Michael Afton, the crying child's older brother. We know at this point that Michael is basically a
He got
walking
entered
zombie whose
inside of
insides
him,
have been
dog.
scooped out and replaced
He the
with
purple
remnants
guy's
and all
son.
the
The purple guy's
location
son. My
animatronics.
man's just so
The
scared. He
sister
behind the
location
crib.
animatronics
He in
that
the
left his body
backyard
up
looking
You
over
no
like,
longer
damn.
entered inside
To
him.
play as Michael in FNAF 6, there's an Easter egg where you can sometimes hear his heart beating during the salvaging section.
Thank you, Kiroshi, for the membership.
If Michael, the half-robot walking remnant zombie, can have a heartbeat,
Pause the
why
video
can't
for a
the crying
second,
child even
Cryo.
have-
Thank you for 260 live viewers.
Let's go.
Wow.
No longer
Look
watch.
at people.
Let's go, chat.
we're so
I'm
back.
back. I fell off for 40 minutes. I'm back.
Yeah.
If you just
Thank you,
joined in,
Bonafide, for memberships.
you just joined in,
Sorry.
and you're over 18, plop your nuts on the like button.
Hey,
Thanks.
yo.
Continue.
Good Lord.
Otherwise, just hit it
It's a
regularly.
robot. I mean, in the book, every robot can bleed, she can breathe, she
Please.
can cry, she can eat. Who says a robot can't have a heartbeat in this universe? From there, now there's just little
Who
stuff.
says?
Afton says in Midnight Motorist that the crying child ran off to that place again. If the crying child really was a fan of the pizzeria before his death, of course he probably went there all the time, but this time he wouldn't come back. You could even point to the Immortal and the Restless from Sister Location and connect that to the rebuilt crying child.
The baby isn't mine.
It's a metaphor for Afton's
Okay,
rebuilt,
how does that
undead
talk
version
about
of a
being robots?
Hold on, let him finish this thought, because I'm confused.
He didn't say
He's
the
saying it's a
baby is made of
metaphor.
It's a
metal.
metaphor for Afton's
Oh.
rebuilt, undead version of his younger son, not technically being his. FNAF 4 ends
No. No, I can't
But
give
that's
you
like
that
his.
one.
But Afton would never say that because his whole motive is to
Yeah.
bring people back in robot form. So he would think that is as good. Like that is having them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he
Yeah,
wouldn't
yeah,
I
bother.
would agree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the weird thing about that is in SL, because FNAF 4 is set to be the final chapter ending a story.
Cryo,
right? And that's
crushes
still gonna be
gem.
the end.
What's up?
So
Are you in
like,
chat?
if this is
The
like,
what?
Are you in chat?
No, do I
Ah,
do I
damn
gotta
it.
obliterate someone?
Yes.
I gotta 86 someone? Hold on.
it's like
Obliterate.
if
Oh,
FNAF,
hell no.
Send him
if
to the
this
smoking room.
location was meant to be the end, right? It seems more like FNAF 4 ended the original story, and that still is meant to be like, hey, I'll extend the story of
Gem
the brother.
crushed. Sorry.
What happened in
Yeah.
the chat? And so in
Someone
SL,
had to get obliterated.
so if that's meant to be the extension of the brother story, why would Immortal and the Restless, which is Mike's favorite show, be about Afton, Miss Afton, and his brother, and not him?
I would
That-
agree.
Like I would say that for whatever reason, maybe
Yeah.
Afton didn't view him as his son. Maybe Afton didn't really see Michael or something. There was the theory in the movie that like Mike is an Afton, but he's obviously raised by a different family. That's an idea that could be happen in the games, depending what the movie does. Like that's what it could mean, or it could just mean maybe
Mhm.
Afton just never really valued him.
Listen, if Vanessa ends up being a robot in the movie, I will send an apology letter to John Fnaf.
It's called Elizabeth.
Listen,
Oh God.
Would you-
presumably Afton telling his son he's broken and that he'll put him back together. An odd
True.
choice of words to
Little
tell a
flesh in it.
human kid on their deathbed. What if Scott decided to take that even more literally than we thought? Look at the Curse of Dreadbear, where you've got an animatronic that sounds similar to Fredbear, who is literally branded as a rebuilt Frankenstein-like animatronic. In an early
On-
Easter egg,
on
you can even
God.
see him towering over the Afton house. I mean, look at the home screen for FNAF 4. You can literally
'cause he's
see
God
the
victim, that's why-
nightmare-esque Freddy, who has 3 toes.
Yeah,
By the
okay,
way,
but-
the Ultimate Guide also
Okay.
states that Fredbear
Oh.
was
He'll
the
mention
first
it, he'll
Springlock
mention it in the next
animatronic that
video.
Henry
Thanks,
created,
Shirley.
and that Henry was known for wearing the Fredbear costume. Earlier on in the book, in the FNAF 2 section, it heavily insinuates that the location we see in the Save Him minigame in FNAF 2 is Fredbear's family diner. If
It does not insinuate that.
holy
It's
suboptimal.
a, it's
How do you
saying
like that,
it's a theory.
Fazbear Entertainment? How do you like that? Charlie dies at Fredbear's.
Well, I think the FNAF 2 location is also Fredbear, so it wouldn't technically be wrong.
Wait, what?
Hmm.
It
Yeah,
means,
this is
like,
theory
reopened,
I've
like,
heard.
rebranded.
The original restaurant owner, they mean. Like, oh, this restaurant used to be this restaurant. Like,
Yeah.
we're going to try and contact the original owner
Oh,
of this
that's
building.
right.
Fredbear's Family Diner.
Yeah.
It was closed for years, though. It's no longer closed because it's now this place.
I mean, it'd be weird if this is Fredbear.
Is my stream cooked? No, my
stream.
stream's fine. Okay.
Yeah,
Are you
but
cooked?
also
I'm good,
Help
I'm
Wanted
good.
2 and Security Breach put a lot of imagery of like a brown Fredbear with like the black top hat.
I guess.
diner. If Henry was working that night dressed as Fredbear in the Save Him minigame, his conversation with
Imagine.
Charlie at the end of
What-
FNAF 6
okay,
could
pause
have
the
been more
fucking video.
literal than we
If Henry's working, why is his daughter trapped outside 10
come
feet
on.
away from him?
Because the bullies locked her out and he didn't realize because his eyes are all covered by the.
No,
by the
Henry
He
is a
has no
dumb
eyes. Look at the
shit father.
sprite. He doesn't have any eyes.
I don't know why anybody thinks he suddenly is a good dad. Like all the dads suck. Like,
Yeah.
True.
He's
we
locked
ain't
in.
got
Hey,
good dads.
This
Can't
is
ruin the
Ralph
birthday.
Appreciation Hour. Ralph's the only good one.
Glamrock Freddy's slander will not be accepted.
I'm so sorry. Glamrock Freddy
he's
is not a
optimized.
daddy, but he's like a yeti. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, yeah.
Ralph is like an okay dad. I think. Ralph.
Edwin's
fucking
shot,
Weaver.
bro. Edwin's washed.
but- yeah,
Not
Ralph's an
Edwin at
okay
all.
dad.
I think what a lot of people classify as a good dad in the series is like, does the person have a good heart? Are they genuine? Like, people see William's not a good dad based on
Really?
because he hates people. But like, it's like
That's the only
No,
reason.
William's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
bad dad because he hits his daughter.
Yeah,
And
but like
hates
on
his
a live
son.
people,
And
on
is
like
a
a live
murderer.
show,
Stabs her.
And kills
the
children.
Way the way they like to conceive it is, do they care about their children? That mean if they do, good dad. If they don't, bad dad. When Henry,
Yeah.
he's a good person that he does love his children. He cares about them and he does good things. He's not like the worst father, but he also has his problems, which makes him like a mid father. But he's not
Yeah,
like that.
mid dad is a good way to put it.
Yeah, he's mid-father.
Minigame, his conversation with Charlie at the end of FNAF 6 could have been more literal than we thought.
I should have known you wouldn't be content to disappear. Not my daughter. I couldn't save you then, so let me save you now.
I couldn't save you then, so let me save you now. When trying to think of other potential problems with this theory, I couldn't help but think of the Happiest Day minigame from FNAF 3. This is said to be the minigame where the puppet finally frees the crying child's soul along with the other kids. Honestly, before looking into it, I thought this would ruin the theory. But is this really the crying child that we see in FNAF 4?
Oh boy. Oh.
He's gone to the
Cassidy
withered
receiver
side.
moment.
He's gone to the withered
Cassidy
side.
Receiver. The Cassidy receiver and my midnight motorist theory.
Have we ever really stopped to think that this could be another kid?
They keep
Possibly
cramming
Cassidy
politics into our
possessing
media.
Oh.
This is woke. This is woke.
The woke Cassidy receiver.
A woke Cassidy receiver agenda.
Can't watch any movies anymore
Freddy,
without
what's with
Cassidy
that?
receiver.
In the Ultimate Guide, it never specifies who that child is in the Happiest Day minigame. They just call the kid a gray crying child. In the character encyclopedia, the pages for
Well-
the puppet and for Charlie both never mention the crying child when talking about the Happiest Day. And possibly the biggest piece of evidence is on the crying child's page in the encyclopedia. He is not listed as appearing in FNAF 3.
That means nothing. Do we all agree that this means nothing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we're not using like of all things to count on the character encyclopedia saying what game these characters are in. That's
Yeah.
been proven
Also,
wrong multiple
it
times.
He
doesn't
also
say
doesn't
anything
appear in
except
like FNAF.
for-
He doesn't say FNAF World either, where that's definitely about.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Where he's
And
in
also,
that.
like, if Crying Child possesses Fredbear, it's saying that he's not in 1, he's not
Ooh,
in
that's
2.
so true.
Mhm.
I think that's really good evidence because it's like, okay, fine, throw away everything else, but this would have to confirm that he never inhabited Golden Freddy or anything, really, right? Because even God Victim, if you will, can't work.
God, Victor.
He doesn't appear in
My
any of
chat
those
is
other games.
overrun with Cassidy receiver shills. Holy.
Oh no.
It's
Well,
John
alright,
FNAF!
here.
He's here!
Cassidy,
Let's go!
Is he really?
Let's go!
Yeah, he's in
What's up, bro?
Let's go.
What's up,
God.
John FNAF?
I just want to say for the record, I love this theory and I agree with it 100%. And I don't really understand why everybody's like disagreeing.
Yeah,
with
John.
it.
John,
We love you guys.
John,
She capping right now, Your Honor.
John, your new theory was peak, but when you address the shadows misunderstanding in line with child, you missed a counterpoint. So dislike the video.
We're gonna watch
Unsubscribe.
all of them, John. We're watching all 3 of your Midnight Motorist videos.
Yeah.
Insight
It's a
82
It's a
is true,
history
by the way.
lesson.
MCI 80. Oh, we're moving past that, Drowse.
This book even has a whole page dedicated to the Shadow Puppet, who appears once in the entire franchise in the background of the FNAF 3 minigames. But one of the most important characters in this franchise, who's believed to be in FNAF 3 for 8 years now, is not listed. If you get the bad ending in FNAF 3, you see 5 animatronic heads all still lit, symbolizing that their spirits are still trapped. This includes Golden Freddy in the back. But when you get the good
True.
ending and all of their lights go out, the Golden Freddy heads don't. It's actually not even there anymore. This is
Okay,
confirmed in
well,
the Ultimate
or you could
Guide.
just
We
not
learned-
see it because it's dark. Yeah, I'm just-
That's the
Wait,
same.
The
Or-
dark, wait, the
Dude.
dark, the
Light?
shadows. Oh my god.
Stop.
Shadows?
Don't bring up shadows every
Oh
5
my
seconds.
god.
All right, we've lost John
We
We
FNAF,
learned
but it was
from the character
optimal.
encyclopedia that
Right.
Charlie,
Aw.
aka the puppet, decided not to move on after the Happiest Day because Afton was still out there and souls were still trapped. I
Eek,
believe
I
the
agree.
soul inhabiting Golden Freddy in the Happiest Day chose to do the same. That's why we don't see Golden Freddy or the puppet in the good ending. We do learn in Ultimate Custom Night that the vengeful spirit refused to move on after FNAF 6 to keep Afton in purgatory.
He tried to release you. He tried to
John
release
says,
us.
my old Midnight Motors
I'm
videos
not
are so
gonna let
bad,
that
this is
happen.
torture.
I will hold you here. I will keep
Oh.
you here. No matter how many times
They burn us.
This would match up with
They
not wanting to
burn
move on in the
us.
Happiest Day. So how does this fit into the timeline? The only way this could work is if the Funtime animatronics were around earlier than we thought, and I believe that to be the case. In Night 4 of Sister Location, Baby traps us inside a Springlock suit from her old pizzeria, but it seems to also be a
Do you talk about this in your next video, TD?
Can you
Whatever
go
the hell
back?
this
I was
suit is.
messaging my celebrity, Johann Fnafenburg.
What's it called? Do you bring up whatever the spring lock suit is in your next video? It's coming out this weekend. Go watch it. Go watch it. Go watch it this weekend.
I bring up the purpose of it. Oh yeah, new sister location video this weekend. The best one ever made in the entire universe, guys.
Go watch it,
Whoa,
go watch it,
like
go
and
watch it.
subscribe. Oh my
Sub
goodness.
the T-Dreads, sub the T-Dreads, sub the T-Dreads.
All right. I talk
Obey,
about what the I
obey.
talk about the purpose of it. I talk about the purpose of the suit. I don't think it is a pre-established character. Like I don't think it's like we're inside Mr. Hippo.
I'm just
No,
checking.
thank you.
Base
Back to this.
The only way this could work is if the funtime animatronics were around earlier than we thought, and I believe that to be the case. In Night 4 of Sister Location, Baby traps us inside a spring-lock suit from her old pizzeria, but it seems to also be a funtime-style suit due to the faceplates on the front. So that must mean that the funtime suits were around before the spring-lock suits got decommissioned. The Ultimate Guide insinuates that Charlie was the first victim of William Afton, and I believe that to be the case. If my theory ends up being correct
Take that,
in any way,
Fazbear.
that would mean the crime
Take that, Faz Barrington. Frederick, you have
Frederick
laughed your last
Fazbearrington.
laugh.
Wait, what?
All right, bye, John
What is
FNAF. Thanks for
against
stopping
what I
by.
said?
All right, take care.
Oh,
and
the-
I believe that.
Follow
to be
me
the
on
case.
Twitter.
If my theory
Follow me
ends
on
up being
Twitter. Follow me
correct in
back.
any way, that would mean that the child died the same night as Charlie. So what was Afton's motivation for creating the deadly funtime animatronics before anyone's even dead? I have a suspicion that his wife's death might have played a role in this. Maybe he was so upset that he started drinking and became an abusive father and eventually a killer. But ultimately, I'll admit, it's impossible to figure out. He could have just been a killer to be a killer. Sometimes there is no reason. So if the crying child was rebuilt, where is he now? I know I've changed my mind on this a lot, but I believe we see the crying child again as Gregory in Security Breach.
Oh god. I have some
love it.
problem.
Greg
Okay. Oh
Face.
god. But Gregory's a bitch, and the crying child's a bigger
He's
bitch.
Mean. Gregory's mean. I think Gregory's too mean to be the crying child.
That's what I mean. He's actually a dickhead, kinda. He's like,
Yeah,
Unless he's a
especially now that we
robot
have
and he's
escape the pizza
programmed
flag.
that
yeah,
way.
he's like, Cassie, I'm gonna bully you because you have no friends. Lamau.
Gregory is who William Afton wanted crying child to be.
I actually
this is
do
what I
think
wanted
that
for you.
that crying
he
child was
put
meant to
him
be
back
like the
together.
perfect kid for William, and then Michael killed him, and he was like, "Oh, you ass."
Let's finish this video up.
When I make
Part
theory
one.
videos, I'm not trying to say I'm 100% correct. I just like theorizing and coming up with new perspectives on the story. Outside of my theory
That's
videos,
right,
I've never really
John.
subscribed to the idea that Gregory is or isn't a robot. But with the release of the character encyclopedia and the fact that the crying child and Gregory look similar with a band-aid on both of their left knees, it's starting to become hard
Oh,
to
no.
deny. As MatPat pointed out, the
All
animatronic
right,
heads in Sister Location
pause. We could once again just be nipple twisting. Scott is an AI. He's not a real person. He takes in all his previous work and he goes, robot kids,
Scott is the storyteller.
male pregnancy.
Scott
Whole
Teller.
time as an autobiography.
The autobiography of a Scott, of a Scotty.
All right, let's keep going.
Yeah.
do look extremely similar to Gregory's face. I mean, the character
Oh,
encyclopedia
fuck.
blatantly
Go
implied
back.
Hold on. What did he just say?
extremely similar to
I mean, he
No.
kind of not wrong.
No, I can't give him this.
I don't know. He's kind of on God.
Has anyone ever considered that those are just different models for the Biddy Babs? Those faces.
Yes.
But like,
Why are they
what
balding
the
then?
Biddy Babs?
What
Why are
the
they
Biddy
so?
Babs?
Why are you
A
white?
pain in my ass.
Why are you white? Look at them. Why are you white?
White victim.
Because it's all clown imagery, and clowns have painted white faces.
I really
Gregory's
do
face.
hate them. Those
Yeah,
faces.
I despise those things. I would have pumped them.
Dude, it looks exactly. It's exactly what Charlie was working on the Twisted Ones. Like I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. Human heads that talk to each other.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Which is, I
You
hate
can't
Scott
tell
and me when I'm nipple twisting. I hate how he always does this with
I mean,
the.
the character encyclopedia blatantly
tropes.
implies that one of these three animatronic heads is alive.
What?
Human heads.
Human heads are the only characters in
Characters
this show who appear to be actual animatronics.
Tons of movement. It's
Is it-
possible the others are just toys in the
Toys.
world of Fast. Who knows when that comes up? It does
What
not imply
the
that.
what? As one
I
of
can't
them
get-
shows signs of
Encyclopedia.
movement. Okay, why
Yeah,
would
the
he put one living thing next to two non? Okay.
So the character
Because-
encyclopedia is suggesting that the human heads from Sister Location, because they move even a little bit, that it's sign
But they're
of
alive.
Sentience?
John, if you watch this VOD, I'm putting you in the FNAF 4 box.
My Roomba is alive. Anything that moves the fan is alive. It moves.
Sister location appears in
That's what
security
I'm
breach.
saying.
In Midnight Motorist, we see a drunk and abusive father come home from claiming his first victim in Charlotte Emily. While he
Ha,
was
ha,
gone,
ha, ha,
though, an
Fazbear came in.
animatronic of his
Ha,
own
ha.
creation captured his own kid by pretending to be his favorite animatronic. Sometime later, possibly through seeing Charlie possess the puppet, he figures out he can revive the dead in the only way he knows how, by creating a rebuilt robot version of his own.
You know, I'm not going to spoil it. You have to watch it on Sunday.
Ooh.
Ha!
Ooh.
This Sunday.
Get ready.
Ha! 12 p.m. Okay.
Sunday, be there, be there.
Be there,
Or
be there,
be
Sunday,
square.
Sunday.
Be there
Sunday,
or be
be there,
square.
be there,
Oh,
sister
are we
location,
cooked?
be there,
Have we
T-Tread.
finally bit it?
It's on YouTube. Be
Have we
there,
finally
be
bit it?
there,
Have we finally bit it?
subscribe.
Oh no, we're alive. I'm alive. I'm alive. No, chat, we're good.
Imagined FNAF as a trilogy,
We're
and then
good.
kept it going from there, expecting every game to be his last. When it came to FNAF 4, he said he wasn't satisfied with it because the story he told was too vague, so he made Sister Location. I believe he took the vagueness from FNAF 4 and ran with it, creating a, quote from Scott, almost too sci-fi FNAF game. And this was my almost too sci-fi FNAF theory. I hope you enjoyed, and thanks for watching.
Thanks, John.
All right, Johnston FNAF.
I rate that 6 Fazbears out of 10.
My brain is mildly sore.
He
All
never
right.
brought up the toes, by the way.
Shatters.
So I'm sure he will in the follow-up video. No, in the follow-up video he'll bring up the toes.
He very
Oh.
briefly.
Well,
he
no,
didn't
'cause
really bring up the toes.
I don't know if the
I have
illusion
a
discs.
lot.
So
I have
in
a
the
lot to say.
in the twisted ones, the illusion discs aren't actually capable of like they're not like the Vanny mask. They don't actually alter like what's actually there.
Yeah.
There's always
They
something
alter
there
perception, not
under
reality.
the illusion disc. So
Yeah,
it
they're
wouldn't be able
altering
to remove a toe.
perception,
Yeah.
not reality.
So it wouldn't be able to remove its toe. Funtime Freddy has 4
Correct.
square toes.
Yes.
So once
All right.
the animatronic left the vicinity, it would be do we have anything
Now
else to say about this Johnston FNAF banger?
He
I
brought up.
think
This implies Elizabeth and.
Oh,
Elizabeth and
Unwithered
Cassidy was-
Sigma has
Elizabeth.
returned. Hello, Unwithered Sigma.
Elizabeth and Cassidy receiver in my.
Oh, Unwithered, John
Motorist
FNAF already
theory.
joined. John FNAF already joined.
Yeah, he was here for like a few minutes.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going. Part 2.
Last week, I posted a theory about one of the biggest mysteries in Five Nights at Freddy's, Midnight Motorist. And a
You
lot of
did
people
do
like
that.
the theory, but there was a fair amount of you that
did.
thought I may have lost my mind. I don't mind when
You
people disagree
did.
with theories,
He's
so
talking
I'm
about me!
obviously respectful about it, and I understand why some people did. Saying that Funtime Freddy captured and killed the crying child sounds insane. But like I said,
called-
last
it's called the
week,
wave
I'm not gonna
warp.
say my theories are 100% correct.
It's my
I just
favorite.
like finding new perspectives on the lore that might get us one step closer to actually solving it. This video is just gonna be a nice little add-on to
Okay.
last week's, showing you some new things that I found and explaining some things. So, need more proof? One of the biggest
Yes.
counterpoints that people kept telling me was that the toes just don't match. A
All right,
5-second
yeah.
search will tell you that Funtime Freddy has 4 toes, not 3.
And they're
in my theory, I
cubes.
said that Funtime Freddy was using an illusion disc to make himself look like Fredbear, who has 3 toes. But can an illusion cause the footsteps of an animatronic to change? Let me
No.
explain my reasoning for why I said this. Afton is known for being the guy who dresses up in the bunny costume to kill people. And if Afton really
Yes.
does come home after killing Charlie and is shocked that his kid is gone, that means that he couldn't have been the one to make the footprints. Which means the footprints either have to be from an illusion or an
Nothing was
animatronic
past
that can walk
John.
on its own, period. And in the
Or
world of FNAF,
the crying
especially
child isn't the
a Wii game
runaway.
that's supposed to
That's he hasn't even considered that possibility. That the person that ran away isn't Cece.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, if you
Mike Runaway.
afton MM without BV Runaway is mid.
It's almost
Wow,
like
it
Afton
doesn't
MM
even
is
make
mid.
sense. If you have,
It's almost
I mean,
like Afton MM is mid.
I think Mike MM.
too bad
is
it's
like
true,
peak.
Cryo. Too bad it's
It's not-
true.
Mike
This is
MM is the
Midnight
most
Motorist.
mid.
I'm gonna
Also,
go back
I-
in time and stop 5 laps at Freddy's.
5
map.
laps
I
at mid.
detect-
What?
I am on the Gibby team. 5 laps confirms. Check.
He cut out.
What?
His mic peaked.
He peaked too
He got
hard.
silenced.
Dude, the
5 laps
gods
at
did not allow
Freddy's.
that.
5 laps at Freddy's confirms that you're mid.
Alright, can everyone check the VC side chat, by the way?
Do I risk
Someone
alt
requested
tabbing?
that we
There's also-
read what was said in here.
Unwithered
John
requested.
FNAF puts ranch in his mac and cheese.
Hold on, let me momentarily disable this
True.
window so I can check the side
Just look
chat.
at it on your phone, dude. Just look at it on your phone.
Who do you think I am?
I was gonna say in FNAF 6, one of the songs. is
Thank you,
called The
Luke
Runaway,
Nukem.
And a lot of the songs
The mustard
are
is winning.
related to Michael, like No Time for Popcorn.
Hmm.
I just don't think that Michael is the runaway. I just think he's the one sitting on the couch, even though his sprite doesn't have hair. I'm just like,
But it's his mom. It's his mom.
There's
No,
no
it's not.
evidence it's the mom. There's no evidence.
There,
it's the
like,
mom.
I don't think that. I
Afton
think that
reproduces asexual.
Why did
I
she just
literally
send a
was gonna
picture of
say William
Helpy?
Afton reproduces all by himself because there are no moms.
As goo.
That-
I think
that's
it
a-
was Scott
Literally.
answering a question about the mom because a lot of people had been asking like, okay, where's the mom and all this? And I think this was Scott showing like she's jaded and can't like stand up to anything that William's been doing after losing her kids. Like she just sits there and copes by watching TV. And I think that Michael copies that behavior later on in Sister Location. I think
Well-
that's why they're similar.
To give a potential counter to that is because FNAF 6 is meant to wrap up loose ends, and a lot of people were like discussing is Miss Afton Ballora. Like Miss Afton's overall involvement was so like minute, it wouldn't be on the
Non-existent.
top of Scott's like priority list. Like I'm gonna make a mini game to show that Miss Afton doesn't matter. That feels like really Scott Coffin.
She's
Oh,
a woman.
God.
Why do you want me to talk about her?
Like I just
I
feel
hate
like
those
it's not
things.
just going from. 'Cause I don't believe Afton in them, but I think it's possible. And if you go from SL to FPS, and it's like one next game to the next, I'm pretty sure the character who's doing the character traits of the main character of the last game is most
Mhm.
likely that character. That's just me though.
Yeah, but the way I
story,
see
why
it is that
can't
it's like a narrative thing where it's like Michael looks like his dad but acts like his mom. It's like that's the difference between him
Yeah,
and
but
William.
I don't know.
Is that
I
he
feel like we
takes
have no
after his
reference
mom.
to what his mother acts like, so it's hard.
Thank
We've been here for an
you.
hour. Let's keep going.
Either or. I've seen people say that these footprints could be Shadow Freddy or Bonnie, which are illusions, or the ghost of Golden Freddy, which is also an illusion. And those are all good and valid theories because who else would it be? Afton is busy doing his own thing, and Henry couldn't have done it because Henry's not a killer. So, like I said, it had to have been an illusion
Or
an
is he?
animatronic that can walk on its own. The 8-bit minigames in FNAF are meant to progress the story, just like this minigame in FNAF 3. I don't think these codes are actually carved into the walls of the FNAF 1 location. And in Sister Location, Elizabeth doesn't
I
connect.
mean, under
God victim, under God victim, you never know.
Meant to be metaphorical and progress the story. That's why I think we see 3 toes next to it.
Mid-victim.
If my theory is correct in any way,
How
I'm not saying
dare
it is,
you.
but speaking of that, I've seen a lot of people point out the sound that occurs when the crying child gets bit, and I thought the same thing too. For reference, this is the sound. I thought that was really interesting because Elizabeth sounds very real. And the scooper isn't afraid to sound graphic either. And while the Bite of 83 does sound very robotic,
Or
so does
perhaps
Afton's death in
Scott only hired competent sound designers after FNAF 4.
Yeah, it's
Dare I
almost like
say.
the
It's almost like after FNAF 4, other people started helping him with music and sound.
yeah. This definitely isn't like a point in
Yeah.
anything's favor.
I mean, like I think you can make it. It's just not like
No, I disagree.
You can hinge it on.
I also saw people saying that we saw blood in Afton's death scene, but we don't
See,
see blood during
Even
Bite of
that's not
83
much of a
because
big
he could be a
sound.
robot.
It's just like
That's true, but the
Pop
kids,
sound.
the kids in like Foxy Go Go Go, aren't like bleeding either. It's hard to.
True.
Or Charlie. Charlie gets. Are we saying that Charlie was a robot? Oh no! In that cutscene, are we saying because when William in
And
both
there's no evidence
Yeah.
Charlie is a robot.
when
That's
in
the
the-
experiments.
in the
happened.
alleyway in FNAF 6 in the alleyway, there's no blood on Charlie's body, and in FNAF 2 when William Afton walks up and Kaiyokens her, there's no blood there either. So
I don't think
I also
Scott
want-
likes to associate the gore aspects with the children. Like,
Yeah.
yes, they die.
unless
Yeah.
it saved them.
Here they are. Here's their spirit.
Yeah, except
Unless-
for-
unless
Unless it
it's
saves
right,
them, then he
Never mind,
says,
take it all back.
Look,
"Fuck them
Unless
kids,
he doesn't
bro."
want to show the child bleeding. He doesn't want to show the child actually bleeding.
Yeah.
unless it's the books.
Yeah, unless it's the books, but like Scott
Yeah,
didn't
but-
fully write those himself. He just came up with the stories. Let's keep
Books
going.
aren't- books
Scott
aren't
be
the
like,
same.
Scott be like making a game. I will not.
My
show
Scott
any
be
violence
like,
towards kids.
"Ooh,
Then he
ah."
writes the book, being like, he writes the most grotesque, mutilated child.
Well, yeah,
ever
because he
made.
didn't fully write the books. He made the concept and sent it to an author to write it. That's different.
Juniors is circus babies, and the gas leaks prevent William from entering.
We're
I'm
not
pretty sure
talking
William
about that.
Afton
Let's keep
made
going.
up
We're not
gas
talking
leaks.
about that. We're moving on. We are
I think
moving on.
blood would have taken a little too far, even for FNAF. So although those are good finds and you can use them as evidence for yourself, I will not be in this video. I explained in my last video how the story of the Twisted Ones closely resembles what we see in Midnight Motorist, and the Twisted animatronics closely resemble what the Funtime animatronics are in-game. I connected the unmarked pile of dirt in the clearing to how the Twisted animatronics bury themselves.
Which this
during
is
the day to
fair.
come
This
out
is
at
fair
night to
enough.
capture Charlie.
I
also
can't blame
think
him.
that the Ultimate Guide was thinking the same thing as me, since it features the theory in the Midnight Motorist.
The Ultimate Guide's
well,
mid,
let me
though.
point you towards the page where it talks about Count the Ways from the first Fazbear Fright
Bro,
Story. Count the Ways
what?
is about a girl named Millie who willingly goes into Funtime Freddy's chest cavity to hide from her family.
I am
And in
eating
the Ultimate
motherfucking
Guide, they add
bacon.
that Funtime Freddy and Count the Ways and the Twisted animatronics are connected. They do this by pointing out the illustrations in the Twisted Ones graphic novel, which, if
Okay,
you look
but-
closely, features these weird
But the graphic
buttons
novel
surrounding
is.
the eyes of the animatronic.
I don't know if I'm
These
gonna
buttons
get.
can also be seen on the animatronic we're trapped inside in Sister Location, which backs up my theory that this suit is a funtime suit that has spring locks, meaning that the funtimes, or at least a version of them, could have been around before the spring lock suits got decommissioned.
Yo,
Which helps
pause
to
it.
explain why they're
Yo,
around
imagine if we're in Funtime Freddy.
It's peak.
Oh, that would be so mid.
It's peak.
Got caught
early
for
in
murdered
timeline.
after
At the end of
after
FNAF
he
4,
confirmed
William
they
tells the
mid
crying
theory.
child, "I will put you back together." But this isn't the only time we've heard this phrase in this franchise. In the cutscene you get after Sister Location's custom night, you can see Michael talking to his father, William, saying that he put her back together, referring to his sister, Elizabeth Afton.
Father,
Sunday.
it's me,
Sunday's video.
Michael.
Solved it. Sunday's video. Solved
Sunday.
it. Sunday. Solved it. 12 p.m. 12 Eastern Daylight Time.
So
Solved.
when William
12.
asked Michael to put her back together, what did
12,
he mean by that?
12.
Well, as we see in Sister
What did he mean
Location,
by that?
Elizabeth
Subscribe.
is already in a
Okay.
robot. She possesses Baby. All Michael does is help her escape so she can roam free in the real world through Ennard. But as we saw in the source code of ScottGames.com and FNAFWorld.com, Baby got voted out of Ennard. And Baby actually
Like
says
Among
something
Us.
after she gets kicked out of Ennard. "I will put
Like
myself
Among Us.
back together." This establishes to me that putting someone back together
Okay.
means taking a
Fuck it.
broken or trapped
Fuck it.
robot and literally
What?
I think that's a play on words. I don't think that's what William Afton means by putting them back together. I don't think it's, I will let you go outside again. I don't think that's what he means.
See, the problem in here is that he's missing what the context of it in the fourth closet. That
The fourth
context,
closet. Yeah.
the-
Okay.
that context makes it about shattered souls and memories. And
Sunday.
so
much.
like you can't
don't
bring
know.
up Michael saying it and Elizabeth saying it, but then ignore the other big time it was said.
Let's keep going.
putting it back together so it can now be free. So when do we see Baby/Elizabeth again? In FNAF 6, featuring a new look because she literally put herself back together.
Can we
But who else
pause?
do
What?
see in FNAF
Why?
6?
Why have we put lights inside of ourselves, Elizabeth? What are we doing? Go back. Why are there stage lights in our? Are we Tony Stark? Is that the reactor
Wait, what?
core?
Taking a broken or trapped robot
that the
and
arc
literally putting it back
reactor?
together so it can now
Wait,
be
what are
free.
you talking
So when
about?
we see Baby
Look, look, pause.
again in
Pause.
FNAF 6.
I think those are.
this.
Oh, I thought they were colored lights, like
No,
colored
no, no.
lights.
No, I
I'm
see
saying I
what
think
you
she
mean.
thinks it's a button.
Oh,
Yeah, but
Like she's
when
like,
it's
oh, I
an
want
arc
buttons
reactor.
on my
Tony
shirt,
Stark
so...
arc reactor. Proof that Baby has a heart. Okay, that's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to roast it.
Elizabeth
Literally
Stark
put
theory.
herself back
Elizabeth
together.
Stark.
But who else do we see in FNAF 6? We've got Scraptrap, aka William Afton. we've
Jimmy
got
Neutron.
Lefty, aka Charlie. But
The
then we have
DCI.
Yeah.
Freddy, aka
Yeah.
Funtime Freddy. Now we know that Molten Freddy is also Funtime Foxy and Ballora, but why would Scott choose Freddy to be the lead? If this really is the same Funtime Freddy that I think killed the crying child, that would make sense.
Whoa.
The whole Afton.
Wait, hold on. Wait, that's not that. What happened?
If this really is the same Funtime
I-
Freddy that I think killed the crying child, that would make sense. The whole Afton family would be back together again. William, maybe
I
Afton's
agree with
wife,
that,
she
but not the way he's
possesses
getting it.
Elizabeth, crying child, and Michael, who we
This the purple guy's son.
Ah, the Afton family.
Oh, someone actually subscribed like I commanded them
His-
to.
His
Thank you, Take
conclusion
the
I
Cat.
agree with, that CC
Yeah.
isn't Molten Freddy, but how he got it is why I don't agree.
Yeah, I don't hate his conclusion. I just
CC
think
is
he
in Molten
did drugs to get there.
Freddy.
play as. One big happy family. Wait.
Wait, why are we saying that? Oh, that's why. Okay, because he thinks that the young.
Yeah.
He should also bring
you
up
know
the
what?
poster outside. He should also bring up the poster outside, the Afton family poster.
Okay, you know what?
Yeah.
He's probably right
Yeah.
because to some extent, I think that the crying child is either inside one of the fun times or actually due to like remnantisms inside of Michael too, and that's how they talk in the logbook. Because
I will say
Cassidy,
though,
Michael, and all that shit is in one place. Pickle Pepper with
I
the
will say-
5. Oh, I didn't ever consider that. So you're
Give
saying
you
the
a
bite
funny.
victim enters inside Funtime Freddy?
Oh.
So it's
will
Mike
say,
victim.
though-
Mike victim confirmed.
Peak. I will say though, regarding any theory that has bite victim in Molten Freddy, we have to remember the whole point of Molten Freddy is how it's meant to be 5 become 1. So if you go with BB Molten Freddy, and you don't believe like BB and the Fifth Kid's same thing, like I do, is you have to remove a kid. Because it can only be 5 and 1. That's the point of Candy Cadet. That's what is a novel.
He's about to pull Andrew out of his booty. Here it comes. That proves Cassidy isn't real and went to rest before the other kids because the story's mid.
She don't mean nothing no more.
I'm not trying to say
She
right,
got
but
retconned.
those
She's
would
the
be some
retcon.
weirdly specific lines coming from a character who has no connection whatsoever to the Afton family. I don't know. It's just something to chew on. A lot of people said that the character encyclopedia that I cited in my last
Yeah, but then
video
why is
also
the...
disproves
that doesn't count. Never mind. Resume.
A lot of people said that the character encyclopedia that I cited in my last video also disproves my theory because Gregory is listed as human. And honestly, you're
Haha,
right. The only
take
rebuttal I
that,
have is
Johnston.
the character encyclopedia. That also opens up a whole new
Okay.
can of worms about why this book.
That's
But
true,
it's
though.
like-
That's true.
Me when I'm picking and choosing
sure,
what
of
evidence
course
to
he
use.
wouldn't want to do that. So, but it's just like,
That it would be he'd just be lying.
right? I'm
Yeah.
just like, okay.
Those are your-
so
your-
you
those are your-
would
You know, is that
publish
really
a character encyclopedia with fully 180 contradicting information in it?
That's not.
Like,
It's not necessarily wrong because he's a robot human. Like the point is that it's you wouldn't mistake it. So it's
Yeah,
Ooh.
I also wish that Ennard stayed as Ennard for Pizza Sim. Molten Freddy, holy man, he should have stayed as
Yeah.
Ennard.
I
Ennard
saying
was
that
so
too.
much
You're
cooler.
haters. Y'all are just haters. Y'all-
Yeah, Molten Freddy's
Ennard is
mid,
such a
bro.
cool- Yeah, Ennard is sick as fuck.
He got that
The,
sick
the
dude. Molten
line-
Freddy got that jaw
Hold
like he'd been
on,
mewing for
I need
years.
to-
Bring back
I
Ennard.
need to check
God.
something now.
The line when Big Happy Family to it could also just be like taunting because he was inside Michael. It's him being like, "Hey, I'm back," you know.
oh, because they
Yeah.
were all.
Yeah, together at one
the
point. They were all together
The
at one point.
dialogue of the other characters, like Baby, makes it seem like they want everyone to be here. Like the Baby, William, like they want everyone to be here as well. Like they have their own idea. So it'd be like his dialogues, like I'm
Secret of
uniting
comfiness. I now believe Shatterbeth. Don't tell anyone.
What?
Oh, it's y'all. You'll watch the
Shatterbeth
video and
speak-
you'll see that I'm spitting.
everyone. Shadowbeth is peak. I'm gonna like your video without even watching it just because of Shadowbeth.
Hold on.
You're not
I need
gonna
to
watch
check
it?
something.
I thought we were friends. No. Fuck you. When will you
I'll give it a
learn
like. I'll
that
put-
your
I'll put a
actions have
comment.
consequences?
I just think that it's a slippery slope to use the encyclopedia as evidence if you're then going to refute like a counterpoint by suddenly saying that the character encyclopedia isn't always accurate. It's like, okay, then
Yeah,
then
you either
can't
use it always or you use it never.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's like the point as is it really inaccurate? Because like the point you can make with the crying child sees the nightmares page, because you are like from the perspective of the crying child, you're in his shoes. You can argue that like it's not inaccurate, that is true. It's just not like it's not revealing the reveal of the game, like what you're meant to figure out. If Greg bought his shoes, I do think it's possible. It could just be that he is a robot human.
All right, hold on.
What does the character
real
encyclopedia called
Wait a
Charlie?
second.
Oh, never mind.
They
He
call
should have
Charlotte
said
a
that.
human.
So she's
He should've said
inaccurate.
that in the
Yeah.
video.
so she's a lie.
Gregbot is so bad. Gregbot is so bad.
Gregbot is back.
There we go.
I've had an epiphany.
Greg
Here it
Potts is
comes.
back.
I've had an epiphany.
Oh,
Here it comes.
he
Ready?
not-
I've
he
had an
not about to cook
epiphany.
it
Here
all.
it comes.
Okay,
about to cook it all.
Jesus.
You were here first, chat. Here comes my epiphany, okay? We are saying that the crying child is in Molten Freddy. Pickle Pepper, I'll get to that in a second. We're saying that the crying child is in Molten Freddy, right, Drez?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, ready. I think that the whole purpose of the sister location experiments, right? I think the sister location, I'm going to spoil a little bit. I think the sister location bunker, the bunker, was built at the very, very latest in 1985. And I think that the purpose of the bunker is to experiment with possession and with the scooper and all this stuff. So, if we are saying that Golden Freddy is, or sorry, if we are saying that the crying child is inside Molten Freddy, that would mean he's like inside some of the fun times and stuff, right? So here it comes. Ready? I'm saying that this happens, right? This scooper and everything is built in 1985. This explains why Golden Freddy has no endoskeleton in FNAF 1 and 2. Because he melted it down, because it had his soul son attached to it, put it in the remnant scooper. That's why he's the only one that doesn't have an endoskeleton. That's why Golden Freddy has no endoskeleton. Because William took the remnant from that endoskeleton first. And he was like, shattering. Oh shit, it didn't work. All right, MCI kids, your remnant now. Yeah, that's also why Golden Freddy is not in Follow Me. Because the endoskeleton's gone, because he already took it, melted it down, put his son in the bunker. I'm a genius.
His endoskeleton is Yendo. Get fucked, idiot.
Was made now, but I won't get into that.
How
But
dare you do
sister
the wah
location
wah
really
wah? That
means-
was baller. Drazarus.
Yeah, that was good. I was over here snapping for you.
Yeah, that was Draz, by the way, because I couldn't hear it. And I have Draz's soundboard muted.
Fake.
I mute Draz's soundboard immediately. This guy's so annoying with it. All right, let's keep going.
Security breach would fit in so well.
You might be cooking, though.
Chat, clip my epiphany. Clip the epiphany. And send it to John FNAF.
Say that entire thing to me again once I finish your sister location video.
I just want to rage bait.
I just figured that out. I didn't put that in the video. I didn't put that in the video.
Yeah. Just say that whole thing to me again. Or send me the clip.
Released, Scott revealed that what's in the box is the pieces put together. He later said in the interview with Dako that what's in the box has changed over the years. I believe that originally the box was a metaphor for all of the answers being revealed. There's nothing actually in the box, it's just all the answers. But as Scott said, would the community accept it that way?
Boring.
Maybe what's in the box after FNAF 4 changed to quite literally all of the pieces being put back together. Anyways, be nice to me and everyone else who has theories. They're just theories. I don't care what anyone says. And I promise I'm done talking about this theory.
Oh, Chat saying Golden Freddy has an endoskeleton in it, and I'm just wrong. Chat says Golden Freddy just has an endo in it. It's not a suit. The endo's just on, like, it's strapped to the walls. Fuck.
Because it's a spring
I don't
lock.
think so.
Wait, but
I actually agree that Golden Freddy doesn't have an endo because they say that the suit itself has like braces and stuff inside. The metal in the suit doesn't necessarily have to be the endoskeleton that we see in Golden Freddy.
Because I'm trying to think when Spring Bonnie, when the suit is in Spring. No, I guess they're right. I guess they could be right.
Well, what's the character encyclopedia have to say? Because
well, here's my thing on
That's all
Golden
I care
Freddy.
about.
Here's my thing on Golden Freddy not having endoskeleton. It's always in suit mode, and presumably, you know, if you believe the theory that Cassidy was spring locked, then why wouldn't it be in animatronic mode? We never see Golden Freddy actually stand up or do anything.
That's true. So yeah, chat. At that point in the timeline, the endo should be showing because Cassidy got spring locked. If the Red Lake shit is true.
I'm not sure Red Lake means spring lock.
Well, good thing it's not in the video because that part of it was mid apparently, but the video's peak. All right. Finally, chat.
I mean, think about it a little more. I bet you could like rework it to make sense. Like maybe the springs have been taken out and those were the metal.
That was the first draft, chat. That was the first draft, but I think it was.
We're workshopping it.
Cooking.
We're workshopping it.
All right.
Okay.
You guys ready?
I want to say, chat, we're here on the newest John FNAF Midnight Motorist
video.
video.
It's the new one this time.
Yeah.
Is it easy for me to share this screen with people? I feel like an absolute moron.
Yeah, you can. If you just go to disc, like you make a window capture for the Discord call and you full screen it.
Oh, okay. I will do that for the new one at least. But go ahead. I will. It'll just happen as it happens.
All right.
Upgrades.
New one. Has everyone here seen this, by the way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I have. I don't know about anybody else.
It's just
Chat,
a new one.
If you haven't seen it,
yes,
you're
this
about
is the new
to.
one. All right. Well, let's go.
I thought there was another one.
Gregory?
It's Scott. Imagine if Scott came into your live stream. Wouldn't that be crazy, Cryo?
Scott Coffin?
Yeah, wouldn't that be crazy?
Stay for a second. Scott Coffin.
15.
Midnight Motorist, we need to talk. Uh-oh, God. No, Scott. Wait. I've spent the last 2 years of my life dedicated to figuring out the biggest mystery in all of Five Nights at Freddy's.
Out of respect, I gotta mention, he's gotten so good at sound design.
Yeah, he's gotten a lot better.
He's so... I love the way that he makes editing and like the whatever it's called.
Ever since
Audio.
Midnight Motorist.
Ever since he made that first security video, I've always
This is
loved
by
this
far
one.
the most comprehensive FNAF breakdown I've ever made. Let's get started. Midnight Motorist is one of 3 lore-heavy minigames in FNAF 6, with the other 2 being Fruity Maze and...
Cryo, I have a donation to read.
Read.
We have to remove a kid from Molten Freddy. The puppet isn't in Molten Freddy. Crying Child is, unless you believe in Golden Freddy 2 souls. I think that's what he's saying. I think if he's saying that if Golden Freddy did have 2 souls, you'd have to remove a soul for the 5 things for like the 5 people in one entity thing to work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or maybe there's only one kid and it's just the play victim.
Holy mid, talking to himself in the logbook. Oh wait, except it's putting himself back together
in the franchise, and that's on purpose. In the interview Dako did with Scott Coffin, Scott stated that FNAF 6 was made explicitly to answer questions regarding the story.
That was a game that was born out of necessity because I needed to...
The fact that he thought we would just know what Midnight Motorist was is crazy.
This means that the most vague and mysterious minigame in all of FNAF came from a game that was supposed to tie up loose ends. And as ironic as that is, it's also fascinating. It makes me wonder what Scott was thinking when he made this minigame. Did he intend for it to be this big mystery, or is he genuinely shocked that the community is still trying to figure it out? In a game that does answer a ton of questions regarding the story and gives a satisfying and epic conclusion to everything, Midnight Motorist is virtually the only thing in the game that feels unsolvable, and it's because of how random it is. The minigame takes place directly after Charlie's death. Afton pulls up to the pizzeria, kills Charlie, and speeds off. Midnight Motorist is showing us where he sped off to. We know this because the minigame is labeled later that night.
Pause this.
The minigame shows after...
Chat, I would like you to keep that sentence in mind. Sped off. He did that at the pizzeria, and then he sped off. He drove all the way back. Continue.
Just keep that in mind. for
Just
later.
keep that in your
Home, but before
noggin.
he gets there, he passes a clearing in the woods containing a mound of dirt and a bar called Junior's that he was apparently kicked out of. You can even see the bouncer standing at the entrance who promptly tells Afton, come on, you know you can't be here, don't make this more difficult than it has to be. This is the part of the minigame that makes the most sense. Scott was giving us important context to Charlie's death by showing that Afton was under the influence when he killed her, possibly explaining why her death was so sloppy and
disagree.
spontaneous. Afton then eventually finds his way home, walks in the door, and is met with someone watching TV. The person says to Afton, leave him alone tonight. He had a
Oh,
rough
nah,
day.
we
Afton
messed
then
up.
goes
We
to the
gotta go
bedroom, only to
bald.
find that it's locked. Quote, I told you not to close your door. This is my house. He can't ignore me like that. I'll find a way in from the outside. He then goes outside to find that he escaped through the window, along with some animatronic footprints next to the bushes. Afton then says, ran off to that place again. He will be sorry when he gets back. Then the minigame ends. Even with the full context of the minigame, there's a whopping 5 big questions left unanswered. Who is the person watching TV? Who is the runaway? What was buried in the middle of the woods? Where did the runaway run off to? And why are there animatronic footprints by the bushes? In order to answer these questions, we're gonna do something a little bit different. Let's look at this minigame from the perspective of the developer, starting with the person watching TV. When Scott made this part of the minigame, he likely started with this, a blank room with nothing in it. He then knew he wanted to add a specific character to the room, likely a member of the Afton family. Scott then decided to add 3 details to help us better understand who this is. He had the person sit and watch TV, wear a gray shirt, and talk with gray text. These are all traits that belong to Michael Afton. In FNAF 4, Michael wears a gray shirt, uses gray text, and in Sister Location is known for going home, sitting on a chair, and watching TV. The only 3
it's just
details
so
we
out of
get about this
character.
character perfectly line up with Michael. But if this is Michael Afton, who is the boy who escaped out
Him
into
watching
the
TV?
Well,
Is
by
that a
process of
character?
elimination, it has to be the only boy left in
No, the way
Afton
he
family,
talks to
the crime
his father.
It's almost
Yeah.
like it's
Wait,
the,
but we'd never
the
seen him
spouse.
talk to his dad.
I
Yeah,
feel
we
like
do
it's
hear him talk to his
normal.
dad, and he's
Well,
like, Father, I obey you like a little.
No,
wuss."
canonically, that's later in the timeline than this is.
I
So
feel
you
like
think he
it's not
became
out of
soy?
character because it is normal in those type of households for older sibling, even if they're
Just to
mean
bully
to
their
the younger
brother.
sibling, to protect them against a.
Yeah,
let's just
that's
say,
true. That
not
could be.
nice parent.
Literally, I was just like, did you grow up in a dysfunctional household? Because like this is the way they
Definitely.
talk about this
Yes.
to me. I experienced it.
Yeah.
I was that kid.
Here's my issue with saying that the couch person is Michael. This would presumably be 1983, right? But look how different the couch person looks to the like sprite we see of Michael, like literally right next to each other on screen. We have the couch person is like tall, like it's like the same height as William. You can see the legs sticking out at the bottom of the couch.
We gotta go bald.
This would be like 1983. That would be like a preteen or a teenager, like the oldest.
Yeah, but if we went like hyper specific with like a sprite, we could say it
Yeah.
has
Just
to have
join the
black,
club.
has
Oh,
to,
never
has to have
mind.
black eyes, has to be bald, and you kind. It's like I don't think
Yeah,
that's
and
meant
yeah,
to be all that
William's
important.
yellow in this game. So
William's
And
yellow.
like-
and when we see Mike in Sister Location, he got blue eyes and he's got brown hair and he's pale. Like his sprite changes. It just
oh, hey,
does.
that's
It's-
interesting. Look at that.
Yeah, for now.
Hey, the interior weird. Cryo, the interior of the wall where you see where like the crying child's door is, right?
Yeah.
The wall has a different pattern. Interesting than the other room.
Wait, what?
You see that? Like on the screen where it
Kinda?
says "This is my house," he can't ignore me like that.
Yeah, yeah.
The wall around yellow guy has a different pattern than the other room.
Isn't that just like the static effect from the minigame?
Oh, it's not on any of the other ones.
Open
That's weird.
open FNAF 6 real quick, bro.
I don't have it
You have
installed.
to load up. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have that on Steam. Let's just keep going.
Wait,
Child.
FNAF
More
fans
proof,
still
in
play
FNAF
the
4 we
game?
learned that Michael
Awesome.
Afton
Shut
was
up.
in charge of babysitting the crying child. And in
Chat,
that game,
type
we
14 if those are
constantly
just
see them
scan
home alone
lines.
together,
Alright.
just like we see in Midnight Motorist.
They were
Okay,
just
they
scan
look the
lines.
same.
I'm wrong. Fuck.
Also, one of the main things we learn about the
So-
crying child comes from one of the very first lines we get in FNAF 4.
260
Quote, "What did
viewers,
he do
holy
this
peak."
time? He locked you in your room again. Whenever
Thank
Michael
you.
wasn't terrorizing his younger brother, he would
Nuts
constantly
on the like
lock him
button?
in his
No.
room. And what do we see in Midnight Motorist? Michael and the crying child home alone with Michael watching TV while the crying child is locked in his room, matching perfectly
Yeah,
with
that
everything
makes
we learned.
sense.
No, it does it?
No,
Not that he locks him in his-
from the outside, right? So why wouldn't
But-
William just open
No,
it?
no. I mean
That's
like
a stretchy
like
point.
that he locked him in his room. Oh yeah, true. Because we locked him
Yeah,
from
but
the
he
outside.
didn't lock him in his
No.
room
Wait,
because
I'm
if he
wrong.
was if Michael locked him in his room, then William could just
I
open
feel,
it.
I feel
Well,
like
and I
if
feel
you
like,
wanna
I
make a
don't
fair
know.
point-
You talk
If
about
you want to
like
make a good point, he should have gone like it's the thematic similarity
Alright,
of
yeah.
with Michael outside with his little brother
Well,
inside locked in.
here's what I'm
But
saying.
instead he went like it's the same.
But it
it's not.
doesn't make
It-
sense.
so-
Like thematic similarity be damned, that does not make sense.
Let me say that. Ready? I think that it is actually just super weird for like all right, I'm Michael Afton. I'm bullying the hell out of my brother. I'm gonna lock him in his room. I go right back out. Yo, he had a rough night. He had a rough day, man. He's had a long day
because of me.
This is not evidence at all. You cannot convince me that this is evidence.
I don't like Mike as the couch person. Just
I've always hated it. I've always hated it.
I feel like the crying child wouldn't want to lock himself anywhere. I feel like Michael will be the one to lock himself somewhere. All right, go ahead, Nervous.
Sorry, I was trying to make it where my stupid people can see the screen. Shoot. What did you guys say before?
The more we talk about Mike as the couch person,
I feel like it makes less sense.
Yeah, I know you guys
I
don't
like
like
it
it, and well, hold on. Shoot. I had a really good argument.
I'm just thinking, why would the crying child lock himself anywhere? I don't think the crying child likes being locked places.
The video's going so fast I can barely think.
Aww.
But keep going. It's fine. I finally made it to where the people can see this stream.
If you find it, let us know.
Okay.
From FNAF 4. So far, we've answered 2 questions with some pretty solid evidence to back them up. But we still have 3 questions left, with the next one being a big one. What is the pile of dirt in the clearing? This random pile of dirt has driven me nuts for over 7 years now, and in my opinion, it is the biggest mystery in all of FNAF. Here's why. Unlike other parts of Midnight Motorist, there's literally nothing to connect this pile of dirt back to. The person sitting in the living room had specific traits that connected directly back to Michael Afton. The runaway has specific traits that connect it right to the crying child. This pile of dirt has nothing. Every time the pile of dirt is mentioned in official FNAF media, it's referred to as a secret grave. And I think the community has collectively agreed that that's what it is. Someone or something was buried here. And since we have basically nothing to go off of, let's once again look at this from the perspective of the developer. When Scott was making Midnight Motorist, he knew he wanted to add this grave. But instead of putting it in a cemetery or a hill by a tree like we see at the end of the game, he put it in the middle of the woods, clearly intending it to be hidden. The fact that the grave is so hidden in quote secret implies that whatever was buried here,
I think it makes more sense for that to be
something that someone
could be Elizabeth, because it's not in there during sister location. William had to have taken it out.
But it would mean that Circus Baby was made before Charlie died.
Yeah.
It would mean that Circus Baby's Pizza World was before Fredbear's closed.
Okay, never mind. I cannot tolerate.
That's the problem.
Oh, have we finally bit the dust? No, we're alive. Reload.
I can't believe you haven't crashed yet. It's been an
Shut
hour
up.
and a half.
Who made that icon? That's a cool icon.
Yeah, I've never seen this.
Who made that icon? That's a cool icon.
Yeah, I've never seen this.
It's in the... It's from his
be cooked. Oh no, we're back. We're back.
Damn, as soon as I said something.
TDreads never crashes, otherwise she'll beat
So it
them
would
out.
totally make sense that Afton would want to hide her body. But in order for this to work, Elizabeth would have to have died before Charlie and the crying child.
I hate this.
Yeah, so that's probably not true. I think it's possible that Elizabeth could die before the MCI. I guess that's possible. Yeah, but I don't know about CC. I don't like Eliza first. I think Eliza first. I don't like Eliza first. I think Eliza first is
I hate Eliza first.
Yeah.
I think Elizabeth's like the last. Like she dies after all of them.
Yeah,
we'll just wait till Sunday.
I think she's post MCI even.
All right, continue.
I haven't thought about it in a while, but that makes sense.
And I just don't see Afton creating animatronics specifically built to capture kids that early in the timeline. So although I do like it, and it could make sense
unless you watch my theory on
something, I don't think this grave belongs to Elizabeth. So if you haven't noticed yet, we are quickly running out of dead people. And at this point, I was about to give up. Every answer I could come up with felt unsatisfying because there was no evidence to back it up. So before I gave up, I decided to try one last thing. Actually play the game. But this time, I would really analyze it from the developer's point of view. Like and it was during this one playthrough that I discovered the theory that I'm going to share with you today. In FNAF 6, there are 3 lore-heavy minigames: Fruity Maze, Midnight Motorist, and Charlie's Death minigame. The first thing I noticed was in order to get the lore keeper ending of the game, you need to complete all 3 of these minigames. This is interesting because there are other things you can buy in FNAF 6 that feature lore, such as Candy Cadet and
they're all in the same style and like aspect ratio and graphics kind of.
Why? Well, we know that the security puppet minigame and Midnight Motorist are directly connected. Midnight Motorist literally takes place directly after Charlie's Death minigame. The minigames are so connected, in fact, that I started asking myself the question, why does Fruity Maze even exist? That may sound odd, but really think about it. The security puppet minigame revealed that Charlie possesses the puppet and gave us more info on how that happened. Midnight Motorist revealed important context behind Charlie's death.
He's got a point with the. I see where he's coming from. He's got a point with this.
I think
but the other minigames entirely unrelated.
Yeah, I think he missed one point though, is that each of those mini games that's required for the lore creeper screen has a gravestone for that screen. So Midnight Motorist should be about a kid who has a gravestone on that screen because it's a required mini game.
Yeah, I have a different interpretation that connects all the mini games together, but I know that my interpretations are not
Go
popular.
off.
I think that all of the mini games are the first of the characters. I think that Susie is the first victim. It's William's first kill. I think that Charlie is the first possession, and I think that Midnight Motorist is Michael's first time going to Freddy's to work there.
What?
It's
Michael?
it's like the start of all of the characters to juxtapose with the end of them at the end of the game. Like
You
this
think
is
he's
how all
going
the
to like
characters
work
started.
a shift right now?
He ran off
Yeah,
to
I
his
think that's
job.
him going to the
I think
FNAF 2
that's-
location.
I think that's fine. I guess the question I only have would be, how is it tied to the gravestone screen, right? Because it could be up Michael, but what about it connects to the screen, right? Is the bite victim one of the graves?
Mama
He's a hidden
Kato,
grave,
don't
just like-
chill for my financial bank account, please.
Chill.
Financial bank account as
My
opposed
financial-
to your
As opposed to
bank
my
account where you
liquidated
can
assets in the
afford
S&P
an animal.
500 index fund with a yearly annual
Yeah.
average return of 13%.
I'm gonna keep
Yeah,
playing this video.
He sped off to. Candy Cadets told us the story of
I
five
love
things becoming
stocks
one
and
thing,
Elon
explaining
Musk.
How all of the spirits ended up in Molten Freddy. Egg Baby gave us Henry's insanity
Canceled.
speech, which is arguably the biggest lore drop in the entire franchise. All of this stuff is super important to understanding the lore of these games and the franchise as a whole. And then there's Fruity Maze. Fruity Maze tells us the story of how Susie, the kid who goes on to possess Chica,
Oh,
was
he
lured
looks so
into the back room
creepy
by
in
Afton.
that.
And that's it.
Yeah.
This minigame feels odd because it's not required to understand anything. We already knew that Afton lured the kids into the back room, and Scott even reveals Susie's name at the end of the game. The only purpose of the minigame is to show the specifics of how Afton lured Susie into the back room. So that again begs the question, what is the purpose of this minigame? Well, like I said earlier, Scott purposely paired this minigame with Midnight Motorist and Charlie's death. And just like how Midnight Motorist gives added context to Charlie's death minigame, I think Fruity Maze gives added context to Midnight Motorist. I actually
But
think
why?
all three of the minigames are connected to each other. In Fruity Maze, we learn exactly how Afton
could
lured
go the
Susie
opposite
into the
way
back
around.
room. It's revealed that Susie's dog had died, and Afton told her, quote, "He's not really dead. He's over here. Follow me." What if I told you that it's not a human buried in the woods in Midnight Motorist, it's Susie's dog?
So how do we feel about this?
I get where he's coming from, but also why are we bringing this to, why are we checking on it? Why are we looking at it? Why are we bringing the dog to the grave? Why are we burying it?
I don't think Afton would bury
Yeah.
the dog. I think he'd
Yeah,
just leave
okay.
it in the
Here's
road.
my biggest problem. He left Charlie's body out,
in
like
an alley, but he's gonna make sure
Do
to
we
clean up the
really
dog.
Think he dug a grave for a dog?
Yeah. I get what he's going for. I just don't agree with the dog conclusion. Because the point is that these minigames connect to each other. And I think that's true because they all connect to the gravestone screen. And these are all victims of Afton. So one could be context to the other, right? I don't think Midnight Motorist and Night Charlie died, but they're all connected in that these are screenshot events of Afton taking kids.
Did
or
my
killing
webcam
kids.
freeze? My webcam froze.
Yeah, you're sad.
The dog part is why I kind of get lost. I'm like, I get what you're going for, but I'm not sure that would be it. Because in Fury Maze, you have the spring body rabbit that comes out of the ground. And you can,
Chat is saying forehead victim. Holy.
forehead victim.
I don't think the sprite of
Chat, hold on. Hold on. I'm gonna
I don't think that's relevant.
reload
I
the
think it
camera.
is because it is effectively a rabbit coming out of the ground. Hold on.
Oh, he's been canceled.
Alright, Nervous, were you saying something? Drez yaps a lot.
Yes. I am of the when I was watching this, I really thought he was going to say that that's where William buried Susie initially, and then stuffed her into the suit later when he realized that he was under suspicion of being a murderer.
Yeah, that'd be a cool idea. I was going to say it's like the rabbit coming out of the ground, willing to come out of the ground would fit with the idea that the mound is where William is luring people to.
I disagree.
Luring the kids from.
I think
Well,
the
you're
rabbit coming out of the
Midnight.
ground could be in reference to like sister location bunker, right? Like it's Williams
Yeah.
beneath the ground
Yes.
coming out.
That's why I agree. It's like is him in the rabbit suit coming out of the ground.
But if he's in the rabbit suit coming out of the ground when he's going after Susie, that must mean that he was underground in the bunker before the FCI. Sunday!
Let's keep going.
Let me explain. The more you play the Fruity Maze minigame, the more it starts to break. First, you see a bunch of fruit scattered throughout the maze. Then you start to see Susie's dog alongside the fruit. And in the final phase of the minigame, the fruit is gone, and we see three things. Susie's dog, a mini coffin, and flowers. The music in the minigame then cuts out, and you start hearing a car alarm. After the car alarm, you then see
Okay,
Afton show
pause
up.
the
car alarm
thing. I am going to use my ultimate subtext Kamehameha.
Go off.
Oh wait, I've gotten a donation. Pickle Pepper, why do you have so much money? Stop giving me money.
Give me some.
$100 to the Peaks FNAF YouTuber besides Gibby. That's crazy, dude. Thank you.
What he said?
Also,
What'd he say?
Michael. No, this guy has donated a total of $100 to me.
Damn.
Go to the woods, put Susie's dog back together. That's
her back
funny.
together.
That was Michael's first task. Put the dog back together. Chat saying the webcam found its happiest day. Okay. Anyway. My ultimate subtext Kamehameha, right? We already have the bleeding bisected dog that's head is literally separated from its ass. That's enough to tell you that the dog is dead, right?
You said that.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
That dog
yeah.
is dead.
Yeah.
Correct.
So, having flowers also there implies that the dog was mourned. And that's why he's not really dead. Like, oh, I know you saw him dead. I know you saw your dog dead, but he's not really dead. He's over here. So I think having the flowers on screen, in addition to the dead dog, is yes, this dog died. That dead sprite is all we need to tell you that. But the flowers tell you that they mourned the dog as well. She saw the dog dead, and that's why William's like, no, it's cool.
Dead dogs are cool.
Does that make sense, kind of?
Yeah, and I think the coffin even further, I mean, it's a white box, but kind of shows like this was a beloved pet because they buried it in in like a box kind of thing. Not, they didn't just throw the body in the ground like someone might. William Afton.
Chat type 14 if that theory is optimal. All right.
14. All right, let's keep going.
Indicates that Susie's dog was hit by a car, and the coffin and flowers indicate that the dog was buried somewhere. The fact that Afton knows that her dog died, matched with the eerie car alarm playing before Afton shows up, tells me that Afton had something to do with her dog's death. The absolute nail in the coffin for this comes from the final detail we see in this minigame. Randomly scattered throughout the final phase of the minigame among the dead dog, coffin, and flowers is a yellow rabbit digging a hole in the dirt. Scott added a sprite of a yellow rabbit, aka William Afton, that dug a hole in the ground.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go off.
I love that visual, and I love what he's saying, but saying that that's a rabbit digging a hole, it just
that's
like,
what
it's a rabbit in a hole.
Yeah,
I
he's
saw
looking out
that,
of
and
it.
it's like
a rabbit lurking.
If you're going to draw that parallel, it's like what I said. It's a rabbit coming out of a
And
hole.
rabbits just do
Correct.
that.
Yeah, you said that earlier, and I just wanted to say it like while we saw it on screen. I'm like, is it a rabbit associated with a hole, if you will?
Yeah.
Mm.
If he was
But is it
if he-
digging a hole?
Yeah, if
Diggy,
he
diggy
was
hole.
contextually taking it correctly, it would be Williams coming out of the mound in the suit.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that doesn't mean that John is wrong, or that means I'm not saying that means John is wrong. I still understand the association with a dirt mound. All of that still makes sense to me. In it, but the literal thing is, I'm like, I don't know if I would say that that's a rabbit digging a hole.
Chat saying the
Maybe at one
coffin
point
is a
that rabbit did dig
shoebox.
that hole.
Candy Cadet.
Yeah, he pointed out something useful, but he read it wrong.
Yeah, in my opinion. I don't know.
See, I think this could easily mean, even the way he's laid it out on screen here, this could easily mean, okay, the dog's dead, the dog was buried, and they were like, oh no, dog, here's your flowers, because we're burying you because you're our beloved pet. And Spring Bonnie's just watching, so William Afton just knows this is going on.
He's aware. Yeah, he's aware. He was, maybe he,
It's like, I can
saw,
use this.
So maybe she's in the neighborhood as him, same neighborhood as him,
that's
and so
cool.
he knew that this was happening or something like that.
Interesting.
It's a lot of this kind of stuff in the real world is like crimes of opportunity for these people. It's like they have an in to get close, and they use it. So this, I think, is more saying like
That's cool.
Spring
Light.
Bonnie Williams saw that this happened and was like, ooh, an opportunity for me to get close to a child.
And you see it now, doesn't imply that William lied.
I saw your comment. It was good.
Is that the implication based on you seeing that William lied to kill the dog to be able to use it?
Well, I think UCN is saying the exact opposite of what William said to Susie, because it's
dirt in a clearing right next to the road. Why did Scott show us the story of how Afton lured this one specific kid? Well, it's because it gives us important context for Midnight Motorist, therefore connecting all three of these minigames as part of the Lore Keeper.
But why is he
in all
buried?
of the
Why?
FNAF games, this is the only time we've seen anything relating
You tell
to
me Afton will put
burying
flowers on
something
that
in
shit?
dirt, and it comes from a
No,
minigame
sir.
that was intentionally paired with Midnight Motorist. So now the question becomes, why? Why create the storyline about Susie's dog and then immediately show us where it was buried in the very next minigame? Well, the answer is he did it to establish a timeline. By showing us what happens directly after Charlie gets killed, we're able to see which characters are still alive. In Midnight Motorist, we see that Michael and the Crying Child are still alive directly after Charlie was killed, which means that the Crying Child must die after Charlie.
Okay,
The inclusion of
pause
the dirt mounds,
this. Pause. Doesn't this mean we have to
true,
say that William just starts by murdering some random kid's dog for no fucking reason, and then 2 years later, your dog I killed 2 years ago isn't really dead. He's
well,
over
no,
here.
in this,
Follow me.
he pushes it to MCI 83, right? So it
I
was
was
Oh, he's
about
going
to say,
MCI
yeah,
83. Okay.
he's messing with the dates here, and he does
Yeah.
address the messing with the dates later.
right.
Somebody super chatted me $2. Thank you, Tarian, and they said maybe William robbed the dog's body from its grave, so took it from its
That's
true grave.
crazy.
Mm.
It's unique.
It's unique.
I was gonna say, oh, I thought you were still talking.
No, I stopped because I didn't want to cut you off.
Oh no, you keep going.
I mean, that's the question. I think it's a good it's a good thought. My thing would just be like, did he like take the dog out and like try to like experiment on it to like give her some semblance of this dog being back alive and then show Susie the
Yeah, but
most absolutely freaky thing ever?
I think that
yeah, also the cupcake.
that's what I'm saying. I think that even if it's 83, if we're saying 83, I think William doing any experimentation on possession before he notices the puppet being possessed is ridiculous. I think him doing like, all right, let's see if this dog can possess something. He doesn't even know that's like a thing yet. I feel
But
like
if the mimic is the mimic is the mimic and is
Yeah.
do you know what I'm saying? The mimic coming in 1979, potentially, we don't know 100% yet, messes up everything about William Afton's motivation, potentially, if he knew about it. And I'm like, the idea, I got a whole video about it. You know, you just go watch it if you want to know about it. But
Just a little plug real quick.
Now,
I
That's
don't know.
right
I just think there's a possibility that William could now, as of the making of this, and I don't even know that the mimic was even a star, a twinkle in Scott's eye when he was making this. So I'm not saying that it
Probably not.
strengthens this theory one way or the other, but I'm just saying, throwing it out there, that if the mimic existed that early in the timeline, and if agony is a part of it at all, which in the games we don't know, then that gives credence to the idea that William Afton knew about agony possession as early as 1979, 1980.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of true.
I
was gonna
also.
say,
Oh, sorry. You
Go
go.
on.
You go.
I was gonna say, I was gonna say the theory is unique for me because I believe in say 83, but Charlie first. So I like the theory, but also I'm like,
this guy believes in MCI 83. Mods, ban him.
no one can refute the evidence he provides.
throws a whole new wrench into the time.
That's okay. John FNAF still has
I
one
was-
more banger he's about to say, and Cryonide and I are about to start laughing. John, we love you.
All right.
But we love you,
Hold
John,
on.
but we're... Here it comes.
Timeline. If this mound of dirt was put there to imply that Susie's dog was already dead and buried before Charlie died, that would mean that the missing children's incident likely happened before Charlie and the crying child's deaths.
Eek.
What the fuck? Before the crying child's death? What are we saying?
What's
I think
going
it's saying
on?
that's what he saw.
He
That-
saw
What
the
are we...
MCI.
Oh my lord.
That is
The-
the most face value takeaway from FNAF 4, though.
Yeah,
I
but
guess
then
if you're not, yeah.
But then you keep playing it and you realize it's wrong.
Effectively
No,
making it the first
no, you
major
don't.
event in the timeline. This goes against pretty much every interpretation of the timeline I've ever seen. But for fun, I decided to keep going and see if there's actually evidence to back it up. Could the missing children's incident really be the
Here
first
it comes,
event in the
Cry.
timeline? Well,
Here
the
it
first thing I thought
comes.
of was the
Here we
FNAF
go.
4 minigames. In those minigames, we see the crying child walk up to a little girl who says, quote, "You'd better watch out. I hear they come to life at night. And if you die, they hide your body and never tell anyone." This is odd because the commonly believed year of the missing children's incident is 1985, and we know that this minigame takes place in 1983. That means that the rumors of kids being stuffed into animatronics existed in 1983, before the crying child was
God
even dead
victim,
yet, which
though.
would line up with the
He hasn't considered
yeah.
God.
See, that's the thing.
God,
That's the
Mitchell.
thing, though, is that even that wouldn't explain the rumors, because those are pinpoint accurate rumors. That is what kind of haunted Freddy's reputation. So for a kid in this time frame to be making those pinpoint accurate rumors that would have logically flown through from the MCI, kind of makes it, well, even if you go God victim, even if you do foreshadowing, it doesn't actually have an in-universe reason for why this
Unless
rumor
the
is
kid was
spreading
just
around.
fucking with him, maybe.
So we
The
have to
little
assume
girl
that.
has been
Well,
fucking
Scott
with him.
It's
said-
just fucking with him.
Yeah.
Scott said that there was no random Easter eggs. And that
Yeah,
Easter
that
egg
explains
It might not have been a
is
random Easter
even,
egg.
is
Might have been
even
fucking with
listed in the Ultimate Guide as an Easter egg.
Glue victim.
I think loop
I do
victim
love that.
explains
Glue
it.
victim, glue victim
No,
mentioned.
please, no,
victim.
not again. Cryo play.
being the first event in the timeline. While replaying FNAF 6, I also noticed a weird detail about the Charlie Death minigame. One thing about Scott's 8-bit minigames is that they have little to no details.
But he's
So
gonna
much
bring
so
up the
that we don't even
posters.
know
This
which
is true.
pizzeria this minigame takes place in. Scott really only
I
adds
think that's
details
the
that
best
are required
evidence
to
for MCI
understand the
first,
basics
the
of what's going on.
posters.
So when we get to
Yeah.
the part of the
I
minigame,
think,
where we
Faz,
go
you bring that
outside,
up,
you can
right, in
see
your
that
video?
Scott added rain and garbage cans to show that
Yeah,
we're on the
almost
side
like
of the
it
building.
happens
But one
in
other thing he decided to add were
87.
posters taped to the walls. This is
Oh yeah, this would have to happen in '87.
common thing
Yeah,
we'd
if
see
it's
on the side
after
of the
my
building. But what's interesting
my video on Sunday, which you guys should probably watch.
You have a video coming out on Sunday?
It is.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? I don't think I've said it.
Also, there's 7 of those. I don't know if he brings that up, but there's 7 posters.
There are 7. I
Game
do
that has
know
They
that.
little to no
want this
detail.
man,
Scott took the time
goddamn.
to make a
14.
wanted poster featuring the outline of a
True,
man
true,
wearing a
Nervous,
hat.
true.
Not only that, he scattered the same poster all over the walls.
Dude, that's Edwin.
What the
I
fuck?
swear it's Edwin.
My name is
Why
Edwin.
is it Edwin?
I made the mimic.
We hate this man.
was
Get
different.
Edwin.
My name is Edwin.
Edwin. Edwin. Edwin.
He
I
scattered
think it's
the same
posters for the missing kids.
Yeah, I think it's also posters for the missing kids.
And I think there's 7 because it's representative of how many kids have died at
They
the
all
point
have a
when Charlie's
hat.
dead.
They all
It's
have
the
hats.
MCI, it's
Wait.
Bite Victim, and it's Elizabeth.
Wait, Cryo, do you believe that?
How can Charlie's dead poster
I think it makes more
be
sense
on
than
the
wanted posters.
wall than when she just died?
No, I'm saying it's the MCI, Bite Victim, and Elizabeth. That's the 7.
Oh,
Wait.
oh! I misheard you. That's my bad.
Yeah, I know Raven
Thing is
streaming about FNAF World.
The thing is, like, I believe it makes less sense for it to be advertisements, but so like,
Yeah, it's by trash.
Why are you
cans.
putting
Like,
advertisements on the side of your own building?
yeah, that's why it's like for me, I either like I'm very much leaning to
So if you went to
Charlie
Walmart and they hit a
died
poster on the
day
side of
two,
Walmart
but,
that
like,
said, "You should go to
this was if
Walmart."
The MCI could have happened first, which is an alternate timeline.
Altered?
But also,
God!
God.
I think it makes sense if it's like missing kids because that's their kids are missing, and so if they went missing at a pizzeria, you post
Yeah, they'd put
posters
the
like,
near
"Hey,
there."
kids went
Yeah.
missing here.
Yeah.
Let us know if you see them."
That makes sense.
Alright, let's keep going.
poster all over the walls. A popular trope in movies and TV shows is to hang a comical amount of wanted posters of the same person all over the place. It's a way to emphasize how important it is for this person to be caught. And it seems that Scott did the same thing here. By putting a bunch of wanted posters outside of a Freddy's restaurant, it's almost like Scott was trying to show us that a criminal having something to do with Freddy's
How many
was
posters
are
criminals
there?
when Charlie
7.
What's it called? Here's my other problem
Andrew,
with
it's
this.
Andrew.
Here's you know what my other problem with this is? This implies that they know his face. That they know that William Afton in particular is wanted, right?
Yeah, and then he's
Well-
working.
Yeah, I think that's
and
true.
He's
Because
working at,
Well, wait,
Fredbear's.
in
That's the
FNAF,
thing.
in 1987, he's undercover.
Wait.
No, but this is
Cryo,
saying
devil's
1983.
Devil's advocate.
Oh.
Devil's advocate.
True.
Not exactly.
That means
'cause
it's
often
ass.
what happens is that you get like a estimation witnesses or
Not ass, but
surveillance who have access to like visuals who are like, hey, describe us how this person looks like, right?
No,
Make a
but,
sketch,
but,
put
he,
that
but
there.
his disguise was a spring Bonnie costume, and like that.
Yeah,
that's
but
the whole
they
thing.
identified the man responsible according to the newspapers.
Yeah, because they probably had like security footage of him.
How
And
is
if
he
they had security
opening
footage,
new?
then they know what he
Okay,
looks like.
if these are
They
wanted
either know-
posters of Afton in 1983, how is he opening
couldn't
new
be
restaurants in
working at
1985 under the name
Yeah,
Mr.
and,
Afton?
yeah, and he couldn't be working at Fredbear's during the time of this.
Yeah,
that's what
that
breaks this,
timeline
'cause
is
he's
shot.
implying
Unless
he's
Henry
implying that the
opened up
crying child
Freddy's.
is alive.
If this is post MCI and this is post 85 or whatever, if this is this is after the MCI. If he's saying that's Williams posters,
Yeah, for
which
that to
should
make
be in
sense, this would have
87.
to be
if
Henry's
people around
poster.
him already,
No,
because
this
we
would have to
know
be
Circus
Henry's
Babies.
poster.
We know Circus Babies is at least like 1984. If you're gonna say MCI 83, because the rental that after the. It's just the timeline is really weird. It would make the most
The only
sense
way it
for
makes
if these
sense-
are
the
William
only
for
way
it to
it
be
makes
after he's
sense if that
disowned.
Henry's getting framed. That's the only way it makes sense. If Henry's getting framed and this is his wanted poster, and that's why we
Yeah,
never see it.
especially, and you know what?
Even that
There's
is-
really good evidence actually for Henry getting framed. I think it's dropping Sunday or something. It's kind of strange. Anyway,
But like, if this is Henry getting
I like
framed, then
Henry's
maybe it makes sense. But like, I don't know, dude.
I also make it
I-
sad that
it's
she's
like, why
dead
is
underneath
Charlie
pictures
there?
of her dad.
But why would Charlie be there? Like, why is she just chilling at Fredbear's while like her father's flying a legal path?
Yeah,
with
exactly.
killing five people?
Yeah. It's almost like
think that
Henry
Fred
built
Bears
a
would be the
puppet
last
to
place he
protect
wanted to
Charlie
go.
after the MCI.
Oh yeah, maybe he was like getting sent to the Shadow Realm. So he was like, my daughter needs a dad, and it's the puppet.
Yugi! Alright, let's keep going.
was killed. And I think that criminal could be William Afton. If Midnight Motorist really is showing us that the MCI
Yeah, but he
happened
shouldn't be
first,
wanted
these wanted
yet.
posters would be a great way to
I-
show
I-
us
Yeah,
through
it's a
environmental
problem.
storytelling
Yeah,
that
like they
William
should
Afton
know.
already was a wanted criminal before Charlie got killed.
How
And
is
one
he
of the
walking
strongest pieces of
around
evidence-
at his house?
Yeah, that's the problem.
He's going to a
walking
bar.
free. He's working at Fredbear's. We see him working there.
And he's
That
going
would
to
not
get
have a
arrested.
job if he was wanted.
He gets arrested the night. I mean, I guess if it's Henry.
Give me out for doing also green like a forest.
Yeah,
something.
like if that's Henry, but
This actually comes from one voice line in Ultimate Custom Night.
Max Celius, I have no idea what that comment is saying. Hear me out. Fruity Maze walls are green like a forest, something you get lot in. In the arcade sprite is blue, not green. The only one changed. What the Yoda comment? Thank you for the 5 though.
He's cooking.
Chica says, I was the first, I have seen everything. This voice line blows my mind. Because in a series where Scott has stated that he likes to clear up misconceptions from past games and future games, he decided to add a voice line in the very last FNAF game he ever made that says, I was the first, I have seen everything. This heavily implies
and
that
based.
Susie was the first murder in the franchise, which would make sense if the MCI happened first.
One more
Another
quick
piece of
pause,
evidence
Carl. One more
comes
quick
from-
pause.
order.
I'm just saying, if we're saying that the posters on the side of Freddy's are William Afton and they're wanted posters, that means that William Afton is wanted by police. So he should not be going around at a bar talking to people in the middle of the open. He shouldn't be like, "What's up, bartender?" Ha. And you could say like, "Hey man,
he shouldn't be interacting with people at a bar.
hey
He
man,
shouldn't be
you know you
working a
can't be
stable
here." You
job.
could say like, you know you can't be here thing is because he's wanted. But if he's wanted, that bartender should be phoning the police.
Yeah.
He should.
No, like no matter how you put it, those posters being William don't make sense.
Yeah.
You can't convince me.
Police.
1 and 2, where we see 6th grade,
police!
Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, Golden Freddy, and the puppet. But there's a specific order that we need to light them in. That order has Chica first,
Me
Foxy,
when the
Bonnie,
Golden
Freddy,
Freddy.
Golden
Pause
Freddy,
it. Pause
and
it. Pause it for
then
now.
puppets. This
Pause
map-
on Golden Freddy.
First, Foxy, Bonnie, Freddy, Golden Freddy.
Me when the Golden Freddy grave is the only one with a piece missing, and the part around the piece missing is shattered. Lol. The piece missing. Lol. There's 3 pieces. The piece missing. Shattered. Gravestone. Lol. No, get fucked. God, Victama! It's shattered, and its pieces are missing. Checkmate.
And then the
God,
puppets.
Victim.
This map-
Wait, I'm God, Victim.
Liberals.
Checkmate, liberals.
Everything we discussed so far. Chica was the first, she's seen everything, followed by the rest of the MCI,
Jesus.
and then Charlie. All of this stuff shows that there is evidence to back up this timeline of events, which means that
Draz
this
got
very well
tilted.
could be what Susie's dog is buried. So that's 3 of the 5 questions.
Wait,
Pretty
what? No,
satisfying
I was just like replying to see you in the side chat.
answer to back it up. But now we get to the actual hardest questions to answer in this minigame. Where did the crying child run off to? And
Here
why are there
comes.
animatronic
Get ready,
footprints
chat.
by the bushes? Unlike the pile of dirt in the clearing, we actually have dialogue we can analyze that's related to the scene. When William Afton comes home to see that his son escaped out his bedroom window, he says, quote, ran off to that place again. He will be sorry when he gets back. The most important part of this dialogue is the word again. Ran off to that place again implies that this is a pattern of behavior. Afton also immediately knows where he ran off to. This isn't the first time the crying child has done this. That then begs the question, where is he running off to? One possible option comes from the Twisted Ones, which released 6 months before FNAF 6. In the book, Charlie gets kidnapped by one of the Twisted animatronics, and her friends are desperately trying to find her. While her friends are looking for her, Shadow Freddy appears in the woods, and her friend says, quote, I don't know what it is, but I think it
Follow
wants us
me.
to follow. Shadow Freddy
Follow.
Charlie. What Shadow Freddy is and why it did this is never explained in the book, but what if it helps explain Midnight Motorist? What if, just like in the book, Shadow Freddy appeared outside of the crying child's window and lured him to Charlie?
What?
Go back a second. Go back a second.
Holy man.
Right here?
Yep.
Crying child's window and lured him to Charlie.
That what I don't get is with any theory that isn't like he goes to the mound. It's like, okay, so you play the mini game. Okay, picture this, guys. Everyone, big brain time, right? You play the mini game first time. You get the secret part. You go through the map, right? You get to the house. You do that jazz, right? You got place again. Then you replay the mini game a couple times to figure out secrets. Then you find the secret area, the mound, and that area is directly north of the house, direction of footprints.
But you go there.
And it's the part that you discover after the fact, right? it's not something you get there on a normal playthrough. It's a secret for you to discover by constantly playing the minigame.
But shouldn't
So-
wouldn't I don't know. I feel like he'd be there if it was he ran off to that place. He would be there. Did he go somewhere else?
Well, the idea
Maybe
to me,
he's in juniors right now.
Well,
That's the
this
thing.
is-
Maybe
He was
that's
in the
why
bar.
he's not allowed
he
in.
Well,
wanted a
This
drink.
This
kid has a drinking problem.
this is more of an
Or
issue.
maybe
for,
juniors just isn't a goddamn bar. Maybe it's just a restaurant, dude.
I know. I'm
Well,
sorry.
If I
That's
could give
the
a
problem.
serious answer, for Afton in them, that's maybe more of an issue. But under the way I typically view it, is that the Afton's been luring this kid back to this place again and again. It's a repeated pattern. But this the night we're being
Mhm.
shown he finally took the kid. He snatched him, and so
Yeah.
that would explain why the orange guy is assuming, oh, he went there again. But when we go there, there's no one actually there, and the dirt pile is now covered up. Afton is struck. Under Afton and them, I'm not immediately sure because it's not like Afton's kidnapping his own kid, but like I feel like the idea is that it has to be the mound. Otherwise, what's the point in the area in the minigame?
Okay,
Why
I
is it
think
directly north?
it's suboptimal, but
Wait,
I
if
respect you.
Afton's luring the kid over and over again, is the kid like is the window being broken every time, and they're just like, we'll fix it up.
it's
again.
part of the experiments, Faz, you fool. It's part of the
Wait, what's your
renovation.
question?
It's all in
Like
an
if
underground room.
If Afton's luring the kid over and over again, and Midnight Motors says the night he finally takes him, why? Like, is he just like breaking the window every time?
I think the idea is that on that night he.
Why are we
kidnapped
talking
him,
about
but other
Reagan?
times He's,
What's
he's like luring there.
What?
Reagan was elected
because-
in 1981. What are we saying?
Why are we bringing up Reagan?
Oh, we're talking about
Yeah.
Scott's politics because I said, okay, I did the funny Ben Shapiro meme. Sorry, chat.
Oh,
I didn't mean to start a
It's,
flame war.
the,
All right, continue.
Frederick, the idea I would say is that William's thing is that he gains the trust of the kids by making them think he's the Yellow Rabbit. He's their friend. So other nights, he's luring the kid there pretending to be his friend, the Yellow Rabbit, probably coming out of the ground. While on that night, he actually struck and took the kid.
How is he not dead?
But
It's the Springlock suit in the
that's
rain.
the thing. Yeah, he had to take the suit
It's
off.
raining.
He took
It's
the
even
suit
and
off. He put
don't
the
say
suit,
later that night
he-
because
No, he took the suit
okay,
off. The suit is
okay.
what he buried
and
in
then
the mound.
and then he bicep curled it all the way to the mound. He walked over
Yep,
like
yep,
because
yep,
remember
yep,
from the
yep,
mound
yep.
you still drive home. From the mound you still drive home.
Yep,
So
yep,
he
yep,
bicep
yep.
curled it probably a couple kilometers to the mound. Ripped
I think
after.
the rain was
I
an
believe him
intentional-
doing that infinitely more than I believe Crying Child making the fucking 2-mile dash.
But you know what does make sense? You do know what does make sense if it's raining? Golden Freddy suit who doesn't have an endoskeleton because it's remnant.
I think the rain was intentional to show that it's not William because like he didn't have to add the rain. I think he specifically added the rain to say that this is
This
not
suit is camping
somebody
William because he'd
being
be
lured.
dead as shit. Yeah, and there's only
Yeah.
one set of footprints. Who can teleport? Golden. Come on, guys.
it's raining
on,
in
so-
Follow Me. Raining also is an indication of like a bad night. Like you see it's common in horror.
Yeah, it's
where
raining and Follow
rain-
Me,
rain-
and that's why when he puts the suit on, he fucking dies.
Yeah.
like when you
On God.
for one,
I mean,
do
unless
think,
it's like the glitch trap suit, but like
well, I do think it's that.
Why is there one?
but,
So
like,
why does he draw all the Crying Child's footprints, but none of the other? There's only one set of animatronic.
Yeah, because he takes the suit off when it starts raining, and then he fucking
carries it.
rushes.
Oh,
the
and
kid
no, he
breaks through the
floats.
window.
He floats to the mound because there's still no footprints. He floats. The only
He
thing that makes
floats there,
sense is
dude.
Golden Freddy teleports there, stands in one spot, and teleports
mid.
away like he does
That's
all the
mid.
time. And he pulls up to a kid's
Mid.
house in the movie and lures them away. Golden Freddy pulls
Almost
up to a
like-
child's house in the movie.
The-
They
It's not
take
mid.
a taxi
It's optimal.
in the movie.
It's
and I feel
optimal.
like the taxi would
It's
move a
optimal.
lot faster.
What?
Consider this. Consider this. You have the bush, right? And the footprints come out of the bush. So the indication would be is that whoever it is came out of the bush. Like
You think
yeah,
that is
Mary,
more
I'm a
reasonable? And it protected him from the rain. It protected him from the rain. The leaves.
no, I just think he's using a fabric suit. But unless you assume it's the
That we
same
never
like
see.
Charlie died, which I don't
For 8
agree
games
with.
later, or whatever.
8 games later, it came out the next game. Well, 2 games.
2 games
technically.
later, yeah.
multiple
I'm just
years.
saying, when you think about it, we all came out of a bush. You know?
Wait a
Like
minute.
even
Why
even
would the
if
glitch
it's
trap
Red
suit?
Bear-
Does the glitch trap suit only have 3 toes?
Yeah, it does.
Yes.
oh, that's
That's
If you
bizarre.
consider
Oh, that
this-
must be
if
so
you consider
uncomfortable.
this, in Curse of Dreadbear, you see the glitch trap suit dancing outside that Midnight Motorist house.
That's pretty cool.
What?
Yeah, that's true. You do. You can see Glitch Trap dancing outside the Minute Motorist house in Curse of Dreadbear.
As if
That
he
is
was
not
the
a good
footprints.
detail.
But you're
And
also
Scott-
not
Scott-
allowed
yeah,
to use.
Scott
But I feel like you're also not allowed to use that evidence and then discount that in the movie, they deliberately make a scene where Golden Freddy teleports to a child's house and leads them away.
If you're using one, you're using both.
I just feel like it's all too similar. It's just like he goes to the house. I'm like,
Almost like
it's
the
like-
crying child.
Let's just keep going. We're just
run
talking
away.
about Midnight Motorist now, and I fucking hate that minigame.
Williamson picks up the spring bodysuit and floats
What
away.
if, just like in the book, Shadow Freddy appeared outside of the crying child's window and lured him to Charlie? In FNAF 4, we're told repeatedly that the reason.
Also, sorry, hang on, I have to bring this up.
What if,
because
just like
it's
in the
here.
book, Shadow Freddy appeared outside of
Yeah,
the
here
crying
it
child's
comes.
window and lured him to Charlie?
That did not happen.
What didn't happen?
He did not lure the crying child 2 miles in
On the
rain
freeway.
at midnight to Charlie's.
Oh.
It takes
on
Afton
the
70
freeway.
miles an hour speeding down the freeway to get back from Freddy's. It's Usain
it's
Bolt
240
victim.
miles an
He's
hour.
going.
He's going 200 miles an hour. Crying
yeah,
child did not
dude.
walk that on the freeway.
Yo,
He is
Afton.
going 200 miles an hour. We have the confirmation.
Usain Bolt
Yeah.
victim, chat. I want to see Usain Bolt victim.
He's a robot. He can run as
Usain Bolt
fast as
victim.
Barry Allen victim.
In FNAF 4, we're told repeatedly that the reason the crying child is scared of the pizzeria is because he saw something.
When he
what if
was
the thing that he
going
saw
on his
was Charlie
Olympic
getting killed
triathlon.
outside of the pizzeria? This theory is pretty popular in the community and is similar to ID's Fantasy's take on Midnight Motorist. Every time we see the crying child in FNAF 4, he is terrified of Fredbears. But Midnight Motorist
That's
showed us
ID.
that that wasn't always the case. It turns out that the crying child used to run off to that place all the time. He loved going
He
there until saw
consistently
Charlie get
ran
killed
20 miles to the...
Consistently ran multiple miles on the freeway in the rain at midnight.
I like the idea. I like
This
this.
kid
Samuel-
never
it's
skips leg day.
I just like to imagine. this
Pausing to say
Samuel
we love
kid
you,
is
John.
Like,
We
it's
love
like
you. All right, continue.
he's going a farther distance than even I can. Like this, like 7-year-old kid is like full sprinting in the middle of the night across the highway.
This kid is a monster.
outside of the pizzeria. I really like this explanation, and it's because it
No
gives
wonder
a solid
he's
reason
Evan.
for why Scott set Midnight Motorist on the same night as Charlie's death. The reason he showed us that the crying child ran off to the pizzeria the same night Charlie was killed was to connect
Gosh,
those
that
two
is
events.
that is
Midnight
hard for me to
Motorist showed us
believe,
that the
given
crying child
what the
was-
minigame show. I don't know. I just feel like even to like you see where he pulls in, like from the like when you like the secret like area you go in, like the secret entrance in the Minute Motorist game that leads to the secret one.
Yeah.
Even that is really far away from the house.
Yeah, even
By
that's
foot.
really goddamn far away.
I
Like this
about-
kid is
Yeah.
running so goddamn far.
yeah.
That's
If
why
it's
it's
the
the
Chinese
round,
kid.
guys. Is all condensed to the minigame.
Yeah, and he buries himself in because he does photosynthesis at night.
He backwards long
Just
jumped.
because he
He
BLJ'd.
BLJ'd.
He's fast, dude. He's
always
like
scared of the pizzeria,
multiplying.
while also showing us the night that all changed. Also, Shadow Freddy luring the crying child to Charlie not only matches up with the Twisted Ones, but also FNAF 3, where we see Shadow Freddy luring the animatronics in the Follow Me minigames. This is a
that's
great
a
explanation
connection.
and is super
Wait, so what would
satisfying.
Yeah,
Shadow
that is
Freddy
have a-
be in that interpretation?
Yeah,
It
why would
like,
it be
from the
showing you
MCI?
that? Because isn't it supposed
Yeah.
to be like under Williams' control?
Yeah, it's under William's control, it felt like.
Yeah.
So why would William have to be luring him to the crime he just committed?
few problems with it. In FNAF 4, when the crying child is left alone at Fredbear's, he's told to run towards the exit. But if you try to go further into the pizzeria...
Evidence of him running.
No, don't you remember what you saw?
That's hilarious. That's funny. That's hilarious.
Victim.
That's funny.
What the crying
Usain
child
Bolt
saw
victim.
was further inside of the pizzeria. The crying child wouldn't want to go outside if what he saw was Charlie being killed outside. Also, 2 months after FNAF 4 came out, Scott gave us 3 clues to help figure out the game, with one of them being what is seen in shadows is easily misunderstood in the mind of a child. This is Scott outright telling us
It's
that
such
the
good
crying
sound
child
design.
didn't actually see anything bad happen, he misunderstood what he saw. There's
See,
a reason
I think
that
that's
after we
a
get the line,
gross-
don't you remember
all
what
this
you
is
saw, we see
misunderstood
this
something.
Easter egg. An employee in the shadows of the back room putting on a Bonnie suit. The crying child saw this and thought someone was being stuffed into a suit. This is why he wants to leave
That's
the
likely.
pizzeria and is
It could
scared of
be.
the
But why is he
animatronics.
not
When
scared of
confronted
it when
with
he
one, he's
sees
told,
it?
quote, "It's too late.
He doesn't
Hurry the
fall on
other
the
way
floor,
and find
he
someone who
doesn't
will
care.
help. You know what will happen if he
That's
catches
also
you."
true.
That he is clearly
It's almost like
referring to
FNAF 4
the Fredbear
sucks.
mascot that just appeared in front of him. So although I love the theory of crying child being lured by Shadow Freddy and
Plus,
witnessing
something you
Charlie's
missed there
death,
is
it's
that-
not perfect. Speaking of things not being perfect, this whole theory
don't know why
isn't
people
perfect.
assume
Susie's
that about
dog being
line.
buried in the clearing and the MCI being the first event in the franchise has evidence to back it up. But time and time again, in the Silver Eyes trilogy, Fazbear Frights, and the Into the Pit game, Scott has established that the MCI happened in 1985,
Aha,
making it
Draz. Ha, ha,
impossible
ha,
for it to be
ha,
the first
ha,
event in
ha,
time.
Yeah,
The
good
movie
fuck,
and
Draz.
those books
The movie
into
be like
game take place
87.
in a different continuity, but with how many times
87,
Scott has stuck with that year,
It
I
just
doubt
said
he changes
mid-80s
for
in the
main games.
novelization.
And with that, the entire theory falls apart. But that's kind of the point
In
of
the
this thing. I
novelization,
wanted to
it's
show you the
after
process
Garrett
of what it's like
dies
to
in
theorize
87.
about this minigame. From
do
getting
we know
excited
Garrett
about
dies in
finally
87?
finding some solid answers
That's cool.
with solid
Yeah,
evidence to back them
might
up
give
to
us an
finding the
age
one or two
calculation.
things that make it all fall apart. The theory I shared with you today does contain my best guesses for what this minigame was trying to show us, but at the same time, I don't believe all of it. I love the idea of Susie's dog being buried in the clearing. I even decided to look this up to see if anyone's thought of this before, and it turns out a couple people have. But in order for this to work, the MCI can't happen.
I think
in
I've read those posts
1995,
before.
and I believe it does. I also don't think the Graves in Help Wanted 2 are showing us a death order. I think they're probably showing us the order the spirits moved on. In the Happy Stay
Mid.
minigame, you can see the MCI victims' masks.
Yeah,
drop
I don't
first,
know.
with
That's
Charlie's
odd because
then
they all fall at the
No
same
evidence.
time.
I'm sorry.
The thing is, it feels like
Yeah.
Scott's been trying
It would
to
be a
keep us interested
retcon
for
of
this
Happiest
minigame for
Day,
years now.
is
There's
my
multiple
problem
stories in
with
Fazbear Frights about a kid being lured out of their
There's no
house by
point
an
to it.
animatronic
Pause it for a
by
sec,
Freddy's.
Cryo.
We also recently
Chat, I just want to make sure we're not dunking on John FNAF here. There's a lot about this theory that is clever and that is a good interpretation. We were just saying that there's a lot of it that we don't agree with, or that there are so many ways to interpret these things, and that's why Midnight Motorist is unsolved still. Is because there is so many different, like, you see how Long and I Draz just argued about fucking 2 pixels of footprints? There's so many interpretations in this that just make it impossible to solve.
And John is saying as much in the video right now. Like, this theory isn't perfect.
Yeah.
There are flaws. I just
Yeah.
wanted to show you my process, like what I went through, including the plot holes, you know, and I appreciate that too.
I'm just saying that because I know that there's someone out there that's like, when Cryo and I go, oh, he ran all the way to Freddy's, that's ass. You think we're dunking on John? No, we're just trying to be
Yeah.
funny. We're just trying to be
Yeah.
funny. We love John.
He's one of my favorite theorists, to
Yeah.
be real.
Yeah, we
I
have to
think
leave
they love
room
John here.
for.
It's just so funny to say Usain Bolt victim.
Yeah.
I think the
Look,
mini
I-
games are interpretive, so
I'm
I don't
a bit,
necessarily
I'm a bit
think.
biased.
Oh, what were you saying?
I was just saying I'm a bit biased because I obviously believe a big part of this theory he's putting out, but it's like I like it because he does the thing where it's like he goes over it, he presents it in such a nice way, and then he gives his reasons why. It's a good theory, consider it. This is why I don't believe it. Here's what I believe issues are. I feel like that's a really good way to do a theory that you do not
Yeah.
personally believe, but you want to put out there. And I'm like, I was inside EV because I'm like, people, like, there's so much evidence even he put here that he didn't include. So it's like, stop being upset when someone gives you an idea that's contrary to a popular consensus. This goes against everyone's consensus, yet it's so well evidenced.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
he does that a lot
Although-
where he has, like, John always has these conclusions that you can't really say, like, no to. Like, he'll point out evidence and you're like, yeah, that's true. Like the whole Twister One Grave thing. All right, go ahead, Nervous.
Well, I was gonna say dual process theory turned a lot of like our understood lore like on its head by suggesting that the vengeful spirit is Michael, and I don't agree with it, but I can certainly like sit and watch it and go like, I love this, and I love the conversations that we're having around it because it's reinvigorating something that felt, you know, stale or, you know, that we didn't really need to talk about anymore. And so I like it. I'm like, get your brains working in a different way. And maybe it's not the answer, but it could spark something in somebody that does become like actually a, you know, plausible theory.
Yeah, I think it's important to argue for things that you might not even necessarily believe are true because it helps you like solidify your own ideas.
Yes. Yeah. Being open-minded.
Yeah, like videos like this, it makes me more open to MCI first. Cause like, I'm not a huge fan of it, but it's definitely plausible because there's stuff for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Scott sucks at telling stories, so like, who cares?
I
Yeah,
disagree.
exactly.
I disagree. I disagree.
Making
I also-
a joke. Sorry.
I think
I'm a
he's
Scott.
pretty all right.
I'm a Scott chill.
Let's finish up this video.
We got the Midnight Motorist
We're
level
so
in
close.
5 laps at Freddy's, which confirmed Afton is
man.
the Orange Man.
Ah,
And finally, we
ha,
have the
ha,
FNAF
ha,
movie,
ha.
where Scott literally showed us a version of
87
Midnight
dice.
Motorist playing out in real time. During
Hey,
the night,
bring it up.
Aha, take this,
Abby's house, we see
Drazarus.
Someone sitting in a chair watching.
Dude, I just think this
Counterpoint.
is
Counterpoint. Hold up. Y'all are missing
literally showed us a
the
version of
obvious
Midnight Motorist
counterpoint.
playing
Look at
out
this.
in real time. During the night,
He comes through the door.
He knock,
Get
knock,
fucked,
knock,
you
knock. Are you
Golden
home? It's
Freddy shows up
fun.
Knock, knock, knock.
We see someone
It's
sitting in a chair
illusionist.
watching TV and Abby in her room. Golden Freddy then sneaks Abby out of her house
Corey.
and Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. And the funny thing is that this could also work in the games. Just like Abby, the crying child is also being taken care of by his older brother Mike. The crying child also
Taken care of is a
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
but problem
overstatement.
here, he's about to point out how Abby says the term, like, these are my friends, uses very similar terminology, but in the movie, that is literally referring to those souls are like actual souls, the dead kids she's friends with. So, I don't know how you can parallel to the crying child, unless you believe that the crying child was literally friends with the souls, which is what I would say is being shown here. But like,
Here,
they
loop
make
victim him.
Loop
they make it
Chat, loop
symbolic
victim this
here.
guy.
Loop victim? Well, like, loop my gun.
I thought you were gonna say poop victim.
Has a
I
close
think-
relationship
I
with plushies, just like Abby.
Yeah, I
Abby
think the
calls
crying child's
animatronics
been
her
looping.
friends in the movie. The crying child calls his Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy plushies his friends in the games. The crying
Those are
child
dead
can easily be
kids.
friends with the animatronics. And Midnight Motorist could be Golden Freddy sneaking the crying child out of his house at night to go hang out at the pizzeria, just like in the
Hang
movie.
out?
But like
Just
we
like
established
playing
earlier,
games.
this would only make sense if the MCI happened first, which seems unlikely. Midnight Motorist is one of the biggest mysteries in all of FNAF because of its
That's a cool
extreme lack of
takeaway.
detail and lack of things to connect it back to. And this could very well be on purpose. In the recent interview Dako did with Scott, he talked about how he makes his games.
You know, whenever I'm making these games, there are a lot of things that are in my head that are just flowing ideas. And when I have them and put them there, it's the first half of something. It's like a string or rope, just like reaching out.
I
And
didn't
know
think
that
about
what's there on the
anything.
pin
I
is
didn't
there,
plan
and I trust that it's there.
anything.
I know that it's there. And whenever I progress forward, the
I was
Wait,
just
what do you
fucking
say?
sitting there on
Here's what
Google
appears
Docs.
and just fits into place perfectly. That's
I'm
all makes
a
it seem that
guesser.
I feel that there's something there, and I make the roads to get there for that to be revealed.
Scott loves foreshadowing and laying the groundwork for something to be explained later. So Midnight Motorist could be Scott giving us the first half of something with the rest being revealed later on. Who knows?
That doesn't really make sense.
Yeah,
though.
like 5 laps at Freddy's.
No, but him saying that's the first half of something in the game that's
87
meant to tie
dice.
up loose ends makes no
I
sense.
feel like it's true in the sense that Scott left things open like he does because he makes a set frame, which is very common. Like, you don't answer literally everything. You answer stuff, but you still leave things to expand. That you can clarify and expand on later games. I think he did that, but I think I would disagree with saying it's the first half or something. That means like he left a huge gap open that you have to wait years to find. That I don't think he intended.
My take, I think 5 Laps at Freddy's was made for the sole purpose of solving Midnight Motorist. I think Scott was like, what can I do to give people answers about Midnight Motorist? And he's like, oh, a racing game sounds perfect.
Yeah, an entire
then-
ass racing game.
Yeah, and I think in 5 Laps at Freddy's, we see that William was a driver and we see the 87 dice. And then people at first were like, oh, well, this could just be fake, kind of like the Ultimate Guide where it's like it's using people's theories. But then he also or I guess not he, but Click Team also then updated the game and added in an Edwin Murray poster right before the Secret of the Mimic.
Yeah,
where
they used it
said
to
that
reveal
Edwin Murray
lore.
was
They
a
used
real
it to reveal
character.
lore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also,
so I
Scott
think
said
that
in the
this is-
interview he's going to be more careful about what lore he lets companies do now. So that was surely run by Scott, the Midnight Motorist
And
stuff.
so I think 5 Laps of Freddy's
Freddy
is
Frostbear.
meant to be like, this is the answer for Midnight Motorist. It's
And then for part 2, which is later, it's called Later That Night. in the
Okay,
finals.
Drazarus,
So-
when you go home and you're driving on the road on your street road, and then you pull into your driveway, is it later that night from when you were on the street road? You're driving
It's
and then you
later that
pull into your
night.
house and you go, all right, it's later now. That's like there's like a 3-second interval. You wouldn't say like he's driving home and then later that night he gets on like this long path to go to his house. You're driving and then you
Well-
go. It feels like too short of a time gap to be saying later that night.
Midnight Motorist is a guy driving at midnight on a highway.
Yeah.
And later that night would be after midnight, like later that night after he's driving on the highway coming back home.
I would
I
say
feel like
driving
that's
on the
the-
highway is what makes it later that night. That's the gap. Driving on the highway is the bridge between this and then it's later that night because he spent all this time driving, and then it's that half.
If that was
of
the
Midnight
case,
Motorist.
though, the first part of the main game would be called Later That Night.
No, I think it's he kills someone, then
What?
drives away immediately after. A bunch of time passes, then he gets to his house. So he kills someone, a bunch of time passes, he gets to his house later. If Midnight Motorist, like the part with the pink cars driving, like all that, the mini game part, if that and the actual secret mini game, if that's meant to be like the later that night is between those two, I just think it's really bad wording.
I just think that assumes too much. If I look at face value, and it's just that this is part 1, part 2. This is part 2 of a part 1. So it's Later That Night after part 1. And I feel like you have to.
And is it raining in
assume-
original Midnight Motorist? Like
Not in
the-
okay,
no,
I
no,
think
no.
that's so clearly
No.
then supposed to be after Charlie dies, especially with the tire tracks. Come on.
Well, it's an arcade
Let's-
like
let's
later
finish
game.
this video.
Okay.
As a whole. There are
Draz-
so many
the
ways to
Draz
Literally
T-Dreads
almost
that would
debate.
have to mean
achieve
Charlie
that without filling in
87.
some big gaps in the story yourself, at least for now. Subscribe if you enjoyed, and thanks for
Let's
watching.
box in real life. Like
Okay,
the
that
YouTubers.
was-
Thank you, John FNAF.
All right, I'm closing.
FNAF.
this.
FNAF Fierce, like boxing, like you box, whoever wins has the better fury.
I'm so down. I will go on a training arc for that. You have no idea.
Cryo's gonna get jacked.
I will go from a
Get
stick.
jacked just to that.
Just for
I
FNAF
will go from
boxing.
being a stick to jacked just to beat up TDreads for disagreement.
He's gonna start like he's gonna start going on like the world's dirtiest bulk. Just
I'm gonna run so many people's fate if that happens. You have no idea.
I thought you were gonna say I'm gonna run to. I thought you were gonna say I'm gonna run to Freddy's.
So fast.
Part of my training arc is gonna be doing the crying
child routine.
Freddy's.
It's like one of those like superhero workout online routines, like train like the crying child.
Collab with Nike win.
Yeah. So in conclusion, chat, John FNAF does something very important, and that's that he never fails to find like details that definitely seem relevant and that no one else has. And then the way he connects them, I usually don't agree with, but I do agree. Like, okay, yeah, that's odd that there's like, you know, they had like the William Afton. He just specifically designs it coming out of the ground to look at what's happening. You know, all that stuff. But it's also like interpretation dependent, where you could also say that sprite of the bunny coming out of the ground is just supposed to show you that William Afton's, you know, he's like mischievous, he's hiding, he's, you know, that it's like a stylistic choice, thematic. It's really difficult to separate a lot of the stuff Scott does from, is this intentional for the story, or is this because he wants us to think a certain thing about a character?
True. Have to agree.
All right.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts?
Anything else?
I think that it's really unfortunate that he goes all that way, and then you're just like, yeah, but it's really just not likely that the MCI happens first. I am on the train of like, I wish the MCI did happen first. I understand that changes too much about the story and things like that, but I genuinely love the idea that the little plushes that he's talking to in FNAF 4 are the spirits. And
that would be cool.
I have been talking to Mamakado about potentially doing a video on how that could work with nothing has to change in the timeline. And I don't know how to say it without just saying what it is, but there is a roundabout way, and it does require you to see FNAF 4's mini games in a different light. That those actually could be the spirits talking to Crying Child, but that the MCI still happened after the Crying Child died. I'm just gonna leave it like that. I know that doesn't make any sense.
It's gonna be loot. It's gonna be loot victim.
Like some
victim. Let's go.
The thing is that you don't need MCI first to have that. You can have Charlie die first, the MCI happen in June, and then FNAF 4 is sometime after that, probably around the fall season based on Dreadbear.
Sorry, say that again. MCI first, and then Charlie's after, like, and then Bite Victim.
I was saying nervous that you don't need MCI first to have those plushies be the spirits, because you can have Charlie die your early 83 or Halloween 82, MCI in June, and then FNAF 4 is around the fall season.
So you would just be saying that FNAF, the MCI incident doesn't happen in 1985.
Yeah, it just happens in 83.
Yeah, Drazra 6 is 83
those
in the game timeline.
Like even like that, I don't think there's any way to read the we and as metaphorical, because in the context, when the last plushie's fading away, the character switches as pro I singular. Well, before when the other ones are there, it is we. And in UCN, Fredbear has multiple voices speak like four.
And it also speaks in plural. Nightmare Fredbear. Weird.
So
it says we.
Yeah.
Something.
So Fredbear speaks on half of multiple voices, which wouldn't make sense if it's just like Charlie speaking alone, or it wouldn't make sense. If it was William. It would have to be multiple voices.
Can I add something to add to that?
Until the end. Yeah.
I talk a lot about Scott reusing tropes. Movie, the Golden Freddy Child speaks for the other spirits. They're all together in a group, but the Golden Freddy Child is always in front and speaking the mind of the group. So that would make sense if Cassidy is somehow in the plush through loop victimtisms, and he's speaking for all the other, or he or she. I don't know if Cassidy's a dude or a girl or whatever, but they're in there speaking for all the others.
I like that. I would still place the plush as Charlie. But I would just say,
why can't we agree on anything, Dress?
Cassidy should just be dead in 83 doing that.
memories that he's looping, and then when things happen in the outside world, they
Look,
affect them.
if
Like
you
FNAF
should look-
world, everything
Poop
out there has an
victim.
effect in here.
Poop
Look
victim.
outside. Look outside your window, Frederick. You might see a guy from RPG.
Look outside your window. It's real cold
You
out
might
here.
see
Let me
Golden
in, bro.
Freddy. You might want to run to the Freddy's. 20
He's gonna
miles.
lure me to Freddy's.
You
Wanna
hear
see
like
Charlie.
you hear an explosion.
No, open the door.
come
I just
from,
want
like,
open the window. I just want to talk.
you hear an explosion come from Frederick's mic and he cuts out.
No.
Like I don't agree. I don't know. I don't think that it's the dog that's buried there. Just we talked about that already. But I
Mhm.
do kind of genuinely like the idea that he killed Susie and buried her, and then only put her in the suit later when he realized that he might be investigated, and then started to like pin it on Henry or something. I don't know.
I feel like it'd be less like I feel like that would if the body's already hidden in the woods, I feel like that'd be less likely to be found than being put back into the animatronic. But I could see it being like, oh, I'm starting to learn more about possession if I put this kid in
Ooh,
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's like I'm gonna keep the body and now I have some way to experiment with it.
Yeah.
But I thought he was going somewhere very different in the video before he said the dog. I was like,
Mhm.
oh, I understand what's
I thought you could say
he's
Susie or
he's
something.
saying that I was like, oh, he's trying to say that crying child was being spoken to by Susie, and he's like, oh, he's going off to that place again, and it's like because the spirits are like, come save us, like very similarly to the movies where Abby is being communicated with. I thought he was gonna go on that whole train, but then he said the dog, and I was like, oh.
I like the
Yeah.
idea of the mound being so important and it's just the dog.
Yeah,
all
that's what
thought it
I
was
was
like
just
a
like,
thing.
It's just like it's a little
okay.
timeline
I-
nudge.
I dead ass just think it's a tunnel, and you only know the full context.
To
is, but, like,
sister
in the
location?
novels, it could be not exactly that, but like an early version. Because in the novels, William had tunnels, particularly to Henry's house in the novel context. But in the novels, he had tunnels going to places, particularly Henry's. So it feels logical for me that
Yeah, that was such
this
a
is
weird
William
detail.
using one of his tunnels. And like again, I point this out because I believe it's like Henry guy. But the house description perfectly matches the description of the house in the Silver Eyes, where it's off. You go on the highway, Charlie, highway. You go up the highway into the woods, and there's a clearing in the woods where the house is, and that the woods is big enough for Henry to tell Charlie when she was younger that don't go in there or you'll get lost. It feels like so specific how that house just happens to match the emblems of the Silver Eyes.
Is he
And you
cutting
have,
out for anyone else?
A little bit.
A little.
I was just saying that the house perfectly matches, with the exception of like you can't really see a garage in the sprite, but with the exception of that, it perfectly matches Henry's house in every single way. And you have a thing that seems like someone's being lured to like a tunnel, which we know William had according to the novels. To Henry.
He's dead again.
It feels too similar for me.
Well, on top of
I'm
that,
saying the mimic put on the spring Bonnie suit and lured
my
crying
God.
child out
Mm.
while,
Okay, listen.
while William was off killing Charlie.
cry up.
Damn.
We haven't. We have to
actions
bring this up. We haven't brought this up. This didn't get brought up at all.
What are we bringing up? What are we bringing up?
Mike Runaway.
Yes.
Yeah,
I just
okay, what
can't
do we
see
wanna
it
talk
being
about
the
with
bite victim. I just can't see the bite victim
I
being the
can't see
runaway.
anything. I'm not gonna lie. I hate crying child runaway. I don't
I
like
think
it.
I think
never
the
been
fact
convinced.
that FNAF 6 has a song called The Runaway and we're playing as Michael and there's other songs like No Time for Popcorn, I think is saying
I haven't even
Michael's the
thought of
runaway.
that. I didn't even think of that.
Some
I
of the
don't pay
songs
attention
don't
to
fit
music.
Michael though. I feel like a lot of those are kind of stretchy.
And I think
Yeah,
the
that's the problem with using the songs is not all of them fit, but I feel like that one is one of the ones that would fit.
the
I
bite victim
think it's
locking
hard to say
himself
that.
in his own room is very
But
out of character as well.
It's just
Yeah,
on the
very out of
mini.
That'd be more of a Michael
But
thing
it's
to do.
just not, it's just not a mini game where like you're trying to. It's like that one joke mini game of Helpy.
Throw it back, hey. Sorry, you gotta look at the camera. Hey, hey. I'm making my Freddy Frostbear hit the whoa.
You have a Freddy Frostbear?
Yeah, I found him at
Why?
Walmart.
And also, it might be controversial, but I do think that the couch person is the mom, and I think that like saying that she hasn't been introduced is kind of a fallacy because that is her introduction. This is Scott being like, "Look, this is what she's
I
been doing
don't
the whole
agree.
time. She hasn't been caring. She's just been like neglecting her kid. She's like zoned out because the crying child died."
Wait, Crow, you agree with me that it's Henry then? On the couch?
Henry on the couch?
I don't know. Okay, do you want me to get sued?
I think it would just be a smart play from William to be like, all right, your daughter's going to a birthday party tonight.
All right.
So come
I'm
babysit
gonna
Michael because
ask
I
you a
have something to
stupid
do.
Question real quick. I'm gonna ask you a stupid question.
Oh,
real
I get
quick.
it. I was like,
Yeah.
William and Henry
Right. I'm
lovers.
gonna ask you
Yeah.
a real dumb
Serious?
question real quick, TD.
Yeah, what's up?
How do you think that Henry got there?
Ah, you're doing the thing that, yeah.
There's no car out there, bro. How'd he
car.
get there? How'd
So
he
who
get
do you
there,
think
bro?
Couch Person is then?
The spouse.
I have no fucking idea. No, because here's the, I'm still coping. I think every explanation that lands in Afton MM is bullshit. That's my problem.
So is William Afton just very way too traditional? Like he's a entrepreneur millionaire, but his wife doesn't get a car.
No, I just hate Afton MM, and I think no matter what the explanation is, something about it doesn't make sense. Unless you're throwing Mrs. Afton in there, in which case this is her only appearance. She does nothing, and that's but that's stupid.
Yeah, but that's the whole point. I think that Scott's saying she does nothing. That's why she's not in the story. She just watches TV, and I think that Mike copies her behavior later on.
Yeah, that's the evidence.
I think she left and she took Elizabeth, and that's why she's not in the story.
Your father made your mother look like shit in court.
Later.
I think if she was relevant
Literally
enough to be in Midnight Motorist, she would have been relevant enough to be in FNAF 4.
That's right.
Look, it's quite simple. If it's Afton MM, it's BV Runaway. I don't think there's literally any reason it not to be.
So it's not Afton MM.
True.
Yeah, I understand the BV runaway thing because that makes Couch Person easier. I just think it's so out of character for Bite Victim to be.
I also think like
I also think Couch Person being Mike is very out of character for who we see Mike as in FNAF 4.
Yeah, but then I get. I mean, I'll say in that quick of succession, if he literally locks his brother in his or whatever, like because Bite Victim is probably not locking himself anywhere with spooky things. So if he's locking himself in if he locks Bite Victim in his room and then immediately goes sit in the couch, it's like, hey man, he's had a hard time. It just feels weird. Not to mention, Afton is such an absent father for when the crying child's alive. Like we never see him during FNAF. 4. So it could be that he just comes back home like after Bite Victim's dead.
I mean, I suppose
Nero wants to join. Look the chat.
Oh, Nero. So you can tell him he can join. It's an open call. He's in the server.
I suppose it could just be like a babysitter or something, but I feel like the gray text and the gray shirt and the fact that it's similar behavior to Michael says that it's somebody related to Michael.
It bothers me. Look. Everything is what it is, and I don't care, and it can be interpreted a million different ways, and it's not important to me one way or the other. But it frustrates me that Scott could have put dude in a blue shirt and none of this would be happening. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Look,
I'm like, bro, just put him in a different colored shirt and call it a day.
Look,
I also think
there's so much
Narrow Sigma.
in him. Like your life is so much more stable. Consider this, right? You know that image of, like the guy breaking his chains. You break his chains. That's what happens when you're not Afton MM. You break your chains. You're at peace. You're free.
Break free.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
Nare Raven, what happened to Midnight Motorist?
And why? And when?
Okay, let me bust out my Google Doc. Hold on.
Oh
Quickly?
god, here it comes.
He's busting it out. Chad, Nare Raven's busting it out.
Always and
4K.
forever.
We're hung. We're busting it out. It's
We don't do it in 4K here. We do it in 4K.
Hung dreads. Raven's busting it out.
Yeah.
You guys have got to get it together.
Oh my goodness. It's been absolutely just dumping in this side chat.
I saw that.
I see that. Okay. Are we ready?
And Unwithered Truth is currently having a Bite Victim runaway flame war with chat. Telling them it's not. I'm my best Unwithered Truth impersonation. It's not actually the Bite Victim running away because it's. It's like he's still with us.
That was so uncalled for.
It's like he's still with us.
Why'd you do that to him?
In his next video, he's gonna be like, "Hey guys, I'm TDreads."
Yeah, wait. We should just do what people did that one stream. Just all start glazing.
Oh no, Shizu. He heard me call him. He heard me calling to him.
Bro.
Can you say Kelsey's a projection? Say the thing, Bart. Say the line, Bart.
Kelsey is a projection.
Woo! He said the thing!
Yay!
He said the thing! Kelsey's a projection. Alright, go ahead, Narrow Raven, sorry.
Kelsey's a projection.
Alright. I will not give any explanations, you just gain answers.
Do I have the power to ban him from the server?
1v1 me.
Man.
Look, I'm telling you, like, some guy did this. My friend said this to me last night, but it's like, you just go in, just say some absurd theory, and it's like a Family Guy cutaway.
All right,
It's
Lavish.
like walk in, like Gregory is a rebuilt Sammy bot, which is a replication of Cassidy, and it's like it's just
There
like
you go.
cuts.
No. This
Hold
is
on,
the
let
part where
Raven
someone
cook. Let Raven
mentions
cook.
Time link
People
image.
here all of a sudden.
Okay, I'm gonna cook. All right, time 1987. The crime scene is the DCI. The yellow guy is William Afton. The
Oh,
chair guy is Henry,
What?
a random person. Juniors is a bar. The
Based.
runaway is
Based.
Michael. The footprints is
Based.
Golden Freddy.
Based.
Dirt Mountain is the cellar and corn maze.
What?
oh,
Corn
holy
maze.
odd. That's an interesting one. The Cellars
I'm
and
telling
Corn
you-
Maze.
I'm telling you, he just says words.
And also, you think it's the
We all just say
DCI, not
words.
Charlie? You think it's the DCI?
Curse of Dreadbear.
Bro, I'm
Curse
telling
of
you,
Dreadbear.
Narrow Raven just says words sometimes.
Thank you, Crashmaster, for the
I'm
one.
just on another
And so did
waveform,
Shakespeare.
okay?
That's one way to put it.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm just saying, I think that Charlie's death and Midnight Motors being connected is to set up Mike. Like, it's saying that Charlie's death is the setup for Mike working at Freddy's.
I agree.
Like, it's
Alright.
Mike run away and then he goes to the FNAF 2
I-
location.
You think the
I'm gonna
night
head out.
of, like as Fritz Smith?
Okay.
Thanks, Cryo. You think the night?
Hi,
Everyone say
everybody.
bye,
Y'all have-
Cryo.
Person. Oh,
that
never mind.
Charlie?
Who else
It
just
was.
died? Oh shit!
Was that Miss
They're
Blueberry?
trying to invade our stream.
Hold on, wait.
I don't know if she knows. She might not know we're streaming. And Cryo, I'm gonna end it soon. So I don't know if we should be. Oh, you guys are all quiet now. I think I've ruined something. Hello? Chat? Chat, can you also not hear them? Oh no, what has happened? That's not good. Huh. Did I deafen myself? The fuck? Hold on, chat, sorry. No, that should be it. Hello? I can't hear you guys. I think my thing's cooked. Alright, chat, wait 1 second. I gotta disable this so I can figure out what the hell's going on. Turn off my window. Alright, sorry, chat. Okay. Voice and video. Hello. Hello. Okay. Okay. Hello? Hello? Damn, why is this shit not working? Fuck. Am I server deafened? What's going on? Huh. Oh, now I can hear you. What the fuck? I can hear you now. Narrow, I heard you make a noise. Hyperdroid's here. Hyperdroid just joined. The fuck? What is happening? Hello? No, what is going on? Someone speak. Someone say something. Somebody say something. Somebody talk. Somebody talk. Somebody speak. Chat, we might be fucked. I think Discord might be broken. I think Discord might be broken, actually. Like, Discord might be, completely cooked. Alright, chat. Well, that was a great stream. You know where to be. Sunday, 12 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Let me show you what's going on. Because it's pretty lit. Alright? it's probably one of my most banger videos to date. My first full-length theory. I've done theories in like the Shadow Bonnie, Shadow Freddy video at the very end, but this is a full theory video on Sister Location covering Circus Baby's Pizza World and also Circus Baby's Entertainment and Rental. So, let me try to show you guys the thumbnail of that really quick. Just go into my YouTube Mascot Horror Power Hour playlist. And here it is. Restaurant. Pause that. Quality 720. Let me share this with you guys. If we go here, I'll share that as Chrome, I think. Here we go. So this right here is my Sister Location video. 23 minutes, 49 seconds. I got a cool new little setup in it. It's private right now. That's why it has 2 likes, because I just sent it to people for clarification. But it will be dropping on Sunday, and it's going to be absolutely... Hello?
Oh, I heard people for 2 seconds.
No, wait, it's back! It's back!
It's working. It's working. It's
What,
working.
why was Hyperdroid?
Connie joined.
Connie fixed it.
Connie joined and fixed itself.
Why?
Okay, you guys, you know what you were doing?
Why did Hyperdroid join?
Y'all constantly
He's a
joining
bitch.
and leaving was making Discord break, because that's a bug where you'll disconnect and
Oh,
reconnect
I
when
didn't do
someone
that.
else
That was
joins or
Charlie.
leaves. So everyone constantly doing that was messing it up.
Why did Hyperdroid
Insane.
join?
Because Raven added everyone to say, "Hey, stop leaving," and no one listened.
And no one listened.
What do you
Mike.
mean? I never left until the audio broke.
Okay, so it wasn't me. Good. I thought it was entirely my fault. It was just
No,
people.
no, it's
No,
you. We were
we'll
also.
blame you. Well, blame you.
Okay. I guess Narrow Raven can finish now. I was doing my wrap up and plugging my new video. Do you guys know when it releases?
No.
It's like,
Sunday. It's Sunday.
all right, it's Sunday. Thank you for telling me.
Yeah.
I never would have remembered.
The day I'm streaming again, TD.
Bro,
It's a
stop
video.
streaming so
It'll
much.
live forever.
How dare you?
I
Okay,
stream
Narrow-
2 days of the week, Friday and Sunday.
Narrow, show us your copyright for Sunday.
I thought you were going to say something else. Show us your cock.
Well, you
On
said not
stream,
me.
that's insane.
You said not me.
Okay. Cryo's dead. We're here.
Yeah. Because
Well, I already spewed my heat, so you can ask
Yeah.
questions.
That's true. I kind of forgot what
Yeah,
I
you-
was saying because there was so much shit going on.
I had something to say. I didn't
All right,
forget.
go off, nervous. Go off.
Okay, so unoriginal jokester on my chat said the thing is there's no cars outside Afton's house besides his own, which implies the couch person lives at the house.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Oh, he's back. Hyperdroid.
Hyper is still probably confused.
Hyperdroid,
So
we're
if it's
sorry.
Henry, then Henry
Was that
and William
him
are
doing that?
lovers. Yes.
Oh, that's
That
funny.
was- that was
That's
funny.
funny. That's funny. That's funny.
But yeah,
Okay.
that's what I had to say.
It's
So
not.
yeah, it's probably I
People were
I've heard
talking
that
about it being
before.
Henry on the couch.
Yeah, that was me.
You see,
I said that.
Well, not just you. I don't think you're the only person who thinks that.
Henry's in the minigame, but he's not the couch man.
You think Henry's yellow guy? Oh, you're cooked.
You're cooked. Bro believes. I don't care if 80% of people believe it. Afton MM is cooked.
An Afton Green guy.
Green Afton
Yeah,
Crew.
That's
Green Afton Troopers Club.
I will believe that before Afton MM.
Why?
That's the only way I'll see Afton, not as except the footprints, is that he's a green guy. I'm telling you, I think there's just like 10 times more evidence that he's the
Yeah.
footprints, and so like that means he can't be orange guy. And plus, like from like a storyteller's progression, you're like, oh, you think it's William because you purple car, and you get the bombshell reveal, like from a story progression. It's like, oh no, it's
Yeah.
not him.
You could
Raven
say the
time?
inverse though. You could say that, oh, this looks like Afton's MO, so it must be Afton. Boom, Afton's actually the orange guy. It works the inverse too.
It's modus sigmarandi, as it were.
But can you get that for just playing the mini game. Because like, do you like play it and get to the end and be like, oh, this is Afton's MO, and then it drops a bombshell, be like, no, it's not. I don't think you get that. If you're playing it from this perspective, you see the purple card, you get out, that's your bombshell. But you don't get the bombshell reveal in the mini game that is.
Well, no, the misdirect to initiate it is the fact that when he gets out of the car, he's orange, and so your first thought is, oh, this isn't Afton, and then you get to the end and you're like, oh, it is Afton.
Yeah, I think.
I feel like the farther you go, the less likely.
Are you
Also, the
done?
FNAF movie
Oh.
introduces
Nero-
William in an orange shirt.
Fact.
With a purple
well,
tie.
it's yellow, but
Enemy
Well,
also
yeah.
wears orange shirt, like yellow orange shirt, flannel, whatever it is.
Oh yeah, in like
Nero
the picture of
the
him.
end of Nero's theory is what you were talking about, TDreads. It was like you started saying something about
Oh, the bunker.
the cellar, the bunker. Yeah.
Yeah.
In the Help Wanted.
About how he just says anything at this point.
Oh, Nara Raven.
Yeah. Because you were like words.
No, that was Cryo. That was Cryo. But yeah.
No. Yeah, I know. I was saying you had said earlier, like, oh, I kind of forgot what I was saying, but it was like at the end of whatever Nero was saying. No offense,
okay.
I genuinely can't remember. My brain is broken. But you were like,
It was
no, hold
peak.
on, what are you talking about? And I was said, did you say celery? And I think that's when everything started.
Oh yeah, no. He said that he thinks the mound is the Vanny cellar from what's it called?
Yeah.
Oh,
There's a
I
dread-
have heard people say that. I have heard that.
Because
I
that's
have
the
heard that.
direction that the Dreadbear goes. He walks that direction.
Yeah.
Right.
I like how like Draz can believe that Midnight Motorist is in 1983, and other people can believe it's in 1987. This is so fucked. This mini game is so fucked.
I mean, Draz can believe that the MCI took place in '83, so.
Oh no.
Which has more evidence what you believe, bro. Like,
I'm not doing this debate again with you, Draz. I'm too tired.
You think it has more evidence than
yeah, you
85?
lose. If you look
Guys,
at things
what
from
about-
like, if you look
Here
at
it
things from
comes.
like an evidentiary standpoint, it does have more evidence.
TD, you don't know what you just did.
No,
I'm just saying, like-
him and I have been arguing all
no.
stream.
No,
Oh wait, did
all
Into the
all
Pit
I-
come out after FNAF 4 or
No.
before it?
It came after.
Did
FNAF.
Into the Pit come out after FNAF 4?
I think that's
Bro,
an
listen.
obvious question.
You're insane.
All I was gonna say.
Did it
I was
come
gonna
out
say the same-
after FNAF 4?
I'm just gonna say
Yeah,
the same
yeah.
thing I said on the tier list thing from the charity stream. It's definitely it's based on how you consider evidence. Evidentiary wise in the games, 83 has a lot more evidence, but 85
Like what?
is directly stated. John talked about in the video, like.
I have a goldfish's memory.
Yeah, but then he also said he didn't
Well,
believe it.
I don't want to yap. But I was saying like it has more evidence in the games. I can, but 85.
Isn't there
is more
only one
directly
thing, though?
stated.
It's
No?
just FNAF 4, right, with the plushies?
No, like there's stuff in FNAF 4, SL. You also argue FNAF 6.
Oh, because
and
the
how 1 and 2.
code in SL?
I think it does tie to that. There's stuff across the series. So you got more not direct, but like game evidence that would imply it.
No, Draz gonna
But
hate my theory.
In exterior media, you have more direct statements of 85. So it really depends how you consider weighting evidence. That's all I was going to say.
Do you mean for MCI?
MCI.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. My brain. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm listening.
It just depends it just depends how you consider evidence. Game wise, 83 is better theory, has more evidence. Exteriorly, you have more direct statements of 85, and even if non-canon, it's still more directly stated elsewhere. So it depends how you weigh evidence and what matters. more to
Yeah.
you.
we used
Hyperdroid's roasting you!
1983
Hyperdroid's roasting you! Let's go! Hyperdroid said MCI 83 with like the questioning emoji, like what? Oh no. Poor Draz, he's a one-man army. Did we lose him? Are you alive?
No, I'm still here.
We love you, Draz.
You
It's
just
all in good.
speechless that
Look.
Hyperdroid just trashed on him.
Look, well, Hyperdroid, you brought up the freaking like glitch shop OST since it's evidence
Oh,
for
no.
glitch mimic, but I meant the exact opposite. It's real glitch evidence, bro. You were tripping. Fight me. You were.
I
fight
look in
me,
chat.
box.
What has happened? Oh, okay,
1v1.
I'm actually not going to read what it got said because the mods just decimated it. But I was. Chat, if you know, you know. Crash Master. Midnight Motorist is easy, cap. Everyone just makes it overcomplicated. Yeah! Which is why you all need me. Just wait, I'll put the pieces together. Okay. Okay. Because surely Crashmaster is Albert Einstein. It's so
Don't you guys
clear.
know he's solving Five Nights at Freddy's over this summer? So if we don't get any Crashmaster videos,
True.
we
know
need
it's
to-
impossible.
We need to ask him what's going on.
I have a
Someone
I
said
have-
we did ask. We came to be dumb.
I have a big request. I have an immense idea. Next year, charity stream. If it reaches mass donations, like max goal, me and Hyperjoy do a boxing match.
How are you gonna meet? Y'all are like on different areas of the world.
We're gonna fly out. How do you think like Logan Paul and KSI did?
They have money.
They have money.
Yeah.
Are you gonna
They're
fly
gonna
him
save
to
us.
you, or are you going to him?
Well, we all know Hyperjoy has ties to the King of England, so he's gonna use that immense money.
Oh,
Yeah,
because Hyperdroid's rich.
Oh nah, he hit him with the British. I can't believe my ears.
like an impromptu like boxing match.
Speaking of British, I don't think William's actually British. I think that Scott just like that.
He's
voice.
acting.
I think he.
I think he forced his children to have that accent. He
You will
kept his
appear
children away
sophisticated to
from the
those around
outside.
you.
Exactly.
That was more Sigma than I thought it would be.
You're silent, Hyperjoy, after I challenged you to a fight.
I think he's just gone.
That's because TD stream is just very delayed.
That's true. That's true. Hypertroid, tell us what Midnight Motorist means. Help!
Maybe Midnight Motorist just means that dads shouldn't drink.
True.
By the
That's,
way,
that's just a PSA.
That is true.
TDreads,
Yeah,
if you-
it's
if you-
just an anti-alcoholism PSA.
Hmm.
If you want to hear me yap on the evidence, I have a video. It's literally called like "Missing Children's Incident" something on my channel. So like that's where I yap about it.
Okay. I mean, we could watch that right now. How long is it? Is it long or no?
It's like 20. It's like 20 something
Oh,
minutes.
The
God.
yap, they called it
He
a
meant
yap
yapping.
video.
Hold on.
It's-
Hold on. How actually long is it?
Chat, do
No,
we
it's not
watch
that long.
Draz's video on MCI 83 at 2 times speed? Wait, how old's the video?
That's
Yeah, do it on like
2 times
14
speed.
times speed.
it's
What are you
27. It's,
talking about?
it's 27, but like the whole
Oh
video
my
is not about
God.
Insight 83.
Holy.
Only a section of it is about Insight 83.
Okay.
Half an hour.
All right. Well, let's watch
Pull up
that
my
section.
Charlie 87 video. It'll be 2
Like you can
hours.
see you can see in the chapters.
Okay. We'll go see your.
I can't
your
stand to hear my
MCI
voice, so like I'm
83.
just like not gonna have the stream up. I'm just gonna hear you guys talk about it.
Okay. You're gonna. Are you
I
gonna
hate
tune
hearing
out
my
or? Oh no, you're gonna.
Like,
Okay.
answer.
No. I'm gonna be here, but I'm just not gonna have
Hey,
the
Draz.
audio on.
He just
So
answered.
is it?
I cannot be
uh,
fought because I do not
shit.
exist.
the
That's
clue
what
that finally
Hyper says.
solves the FNAF's timeline? Okay, I see it.
Okay, so this
And
video's
then
gonna
it
be
is at when is the MCI? Is that it? When is the MCI?
well, yeah. It goes like what is MCI, and then first goes over the dating, and then after that, that's like the longest part of the video.
Okay, so I'm supposed to start at when is the MCI?
If you want to skip a little intro, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let me see here.
Alright, well, I'm
And I'll
gonna
leave
hop
a
out. I
like
just
on
came
it.
here to harass TDreads, and also TDreads. I'm gonna 1v1 the Candleman soon.
The Candleman. What?
The candle
By the way,
man.
Candleman
I'm going to
can.
1v1.
The
you
Candleman can,
Candleman.
cause he mixes it with wax and makes it smell like peaches.
Ayo.
Cute.
Hypertroid
Subscribe to Yellow
cannot be
Raven.
fought because he doesn't exist. Hypertroid, join the
Yellow
call for
Raven.
MCI 83.
Killed by
Do it now.
family. Or
Pay you overtime.
if you don't, you're running away from the fight.
Okay. Let me. All right, chat. Here's the deal, right? Either the stream. So I have to stream my screen to these guys and to you. So either the stream crashes or it doesn't. Godspeed.
I cannot be
I
fought
see it
because
doesn't.
I do not exist. Hypertroid does not exist.
No, he's a figment of our imagination.
The stream is about to actually implode.
He's a droid.
Wait.
Yeah.
So where
Okay.
did I get that Charlie First evidence from?
All right, can you guys see my stream? Oh, I have to switch it to Discord, don't I? Oh no, I can switch it to Chrome, I think.
What Crashmaster? What do you mean Super Mario 65 was going to come out? I've never spoken about Mario in my life to you. Like,
Hold on, chat. Give me 1 second. Stream.
I cannot be fought like that exists.
Here
That
it
goes so hard,
is.
actually.
Close this. Up in here. Da, da, da. Man, I am so technologically challenged. Okay, here we go.
I'm gonna grab
Rudy,
my-
we never actually asked, what is your opinion on Midnight Motorist?
Me?
Yeah. What's your current
Long
interpretation?
ago, in a galaxy far, far away, William Afton is a bum, so he's like, yeah, you know what? Just Charlie kind of hate that bitch, so we're gonna... She's dead. Now we're gonna drag her into an alleyway, and we're gonna drive, and we're going, and now, does this take place in 1983 or 1987? Ha, don't know. But what I can tell you is that William Afton, he gets home to his house, and he's like, all right, we driving here. And now is where my brain starts to melt, because it doesn't make any sense for the way the bite victim is characterized for the runaway to be the bite victim. So I'm going to say that the runaway is Michael, and he's getting lured by, like, because clearly it has to be a possessed suit that's showing him, because there's only one set of footprints. And I think that it takes less, so I like to do, I feel like if you have to do so much work on the viewer's part, I don't like that as a theory. I think it takes more work on the viewer's part to say, Spring Bonnie jumped out of a bush and stood in a spot. That's why then he went back in the bush off screen and walked away off screen. I think that takes more effort from the viewer than to say Golden Freddy, who we know can teleport, showed up in one spot and teleported away. Because that's a previously established ability that we have so many examples of. It takes less from the viewer to assume that's what happened than Spring Bonnie was in a bush and walked out of the bush, went back in the bush, and then walked away. So that's why I think that it has to be Mike Runaway, because I think Golden Freddy is showing up and taking him away. Or if you want the timeline to be utterly decimated, you could say Cassidy is in Golden Freddy and died first or some insane shit and lures the bite victim away. So I think that it would have to be that it is Michael Runaway, and the bite victim is luring him either to the FNAF 2 location, or it might be the FNAF 2 location if it's 87 or around then. I think though he is going to a Freddy's or to somewhere where the bite victim can show him evidence of possession or any. That's the hard part that I've never, because Michael Runaway seems good, but where is he going? That's what I mean. Because I would think it would be, let's say Golden Freddy appears for a second, right? And Michael's like, oh shit. So he runs back to Fredbear's to make sure Golden Freddy's still there or something. You know, like he thinks he's hallucinating, but Golden Freddy really is teleporting in front of him. I think that...
What about the mound?
Wait, what? Yeah, wouldn't the mound make most sense under Mike Runaway? Is that...
Yeah.
That would make sense.
Freddy, well, he goes to the mound.
Because he's making sure that his brother's still buried there.
Mm-hmm.
That would make sense. I also just don't like that no one's at the mound in the minigame.
Well, that's true. I think that goes to points that...
But you could also make the argument that...
Wouldn't he be hiding from his... Like, if he knew his dad...
Well, yeah, I was going to say, you could argue that William goes and checks the mound, and then in between the time that William's at the mound and William gets home, then Michael goes to the mound.
Yeah. It's not like he was interfering with the mound. He was just checking on it to make sure that nothing's happened to it.
Yeah, so
maybe
it could
he
be
went
that,
from the mound somewhere.
and he's making sure his brother's still there.
I think it's meant to play into the idea that this is a repeat event. We're witnessing something different. This night is being shown because something different happens. So I know, again, that's like the hard part, trying to fit with Afton in them, because like who's doing what different. But I think that's meant to be the idea that this is a repeat event, but
Thank you,
being
Crash
shown
Master.
this one because something changed.
But anyway, yeah, Shizu, that's my interpretation. I think it's Mike Runaway. I think it makes the most sense narratively. The only problem I have is that I have no clue who Couch Person could be, because it's either Miss Afton makes the most sense in terms of the minigame's design, and I think if you are creating a compelling narrative, it would be Henry. But there's less evidence for Henry because there's no car outside the house. But I think it would be such a William move to be like, I really need a babysitter tonight. Oh, your daughter's at a birthday party anyway. So just leave your daughter at the birthday party. I have to go out and do something. And then while Henry's babysitting his kid, he kills his child. Like I feel like that's such
Maybe William like went and got Henry from his house and brought him over and would just drive him back.
True, to make sure he couldn't drive out.
Close enough to each other that he didn't feel like driving.
Or maybe Mike Emily is canon in a way because they're married. Henry.
True.
I'm saying Henry and William shipping. Let's go.
Yeah.
The fans would go wild.
So that's my idea. That's my idea.
My idea is that it's after Charlie dies, right? And then Charlie wakes up all the animatronics, and Cassidy is one of those animatronics in Golden Freddy, and the crying child's there, but his body isn't there. And so it goes to Michael and is like, hey, where's his body? He doesn't know he's dead. He has to find his body to know he's dead, and that's him going to the mound.
Righteous also has a theory that Michael does go check on the mound, but then goes to a pond that's nearby and is fishing, and that actually it's not Old Man Consequences is not an alligator, but is Foxy, is Michael.
Which lines up with Curse of Dreadbear having the footprints and all that.
And so I like that theory too. I really like the idea that he just goes off and goes fishing, and when he's saying like that place, he's just saying like, oh, where he like goes to, yeah.
Do you have a concrete opinion on what you think, Nervous?
I don't think anything I think about FNAF is concrete, but I often waffle back and forth between when Raito's thing came out, I was like, I really, really, really like that. It's hard for me to unmarry myself from Old Man Consequences being kind of like a Henry situation, but I accept that it's a possibility because it does kind of also look like Foxy and it's red. And we're all just sitting here calling it a red crocodile like goobers when it's like it also looks like a fox. And I'm like, I was like, you know what, that's so I waffle back between that and then kind of not exactly what FNAF is talking about, but where it's bite victim and he's escaping to I don't know. I'm like very similarly to what John says in the thing is that there's evidence for so many things that having a concrete idea about it feels almost silly to me because I want to be able to hear other theories and not get angry because sometimes I've watched theories that directly go against what I truly believe. Elizabeth first being them, and I get like so irate. I'm like unreasonably mad where I'm just like, well, this is stupid because obviously Elizabeth wouldn't die first. And I don't like having that mentality under most things. So I try not to have something too concrete. But I really like Raito's theory, honestly. Like I know it goes against a lot of what I have said, but people talk about, like Mike being the runaway, and I don't disagree with that as plausible. I just hate it in the sense that Scott could have not put the couch person in the gray shirt and then it wouldn't bother me at all, and I'm just like, why do you have to put him in a gray shirt?
That's
if
what I'm
you
saying.
Don't want us to make color connections.
I think
He's done that so many times.
I feel like the only thing
evidence. It's like what Fat Ghost person said in the chat.
Yeah, couch. There's nothing else. Yeah, that's correct. I was gonna say that.
My couch guy has evidence. It's like it's the
nothing
only
else
one.
does. Yeah,
that's as much as you can make good ideas about other theories. You got no evidence. Making the assumption. It's like, oh, this could be that. Could be that. Could
so
be
then you have to say that Scott's a bad writer.
No, or maybe you're wrong.
No, I could be right. Yeah, no, it could be Mike is the couch person. I just think the story is poorly written. If he is, I think that's a bad.
And that's something that happens a lot.
Peak, okay, it's peak.
But yeah, I can definitely go either way with it. I think similarly to what other people said, it's more narratively satisfying if Michael is the runaway, but it's frustrating then that the couch person is what they are.
This is a problem that me and Unwithered Truth both have, is that in our theories, and I notice this constantly, him and I are both like, but from a narrative perspective, this doesn't make any so we're always like if I'm Scott and I'm writing a story, why would I do this?
And that's what it sounds like when he says that interview, when he talks about strings and like he's like, I'm gonna put this here and then something will happen. I'm like, okay, you can do that, but then you have to fact check yourself. Like, come on now.
My interpretation is that the way that Scott wrote the story is that we're obviously supposed to think that the runaway is a kid, and then we see the footprints there. And we're like, okay, so this is likely Golden Freddy because Golden Freddy can teleport, which means the runaway is probably Michael. And then we have the person on the couch wearing gray, and we're supposed to go, okay, so this person is related to Michael, and we haven't had an explanation for what Mrs. Afton has been up to this whole time. And so I think that's Scott being like, this is the pieces, like this is the gray is relating it to Michael. And then we know that it's not Michael because the footprints are likely Golden Freddy, and so that would make Michael the runaway. And so it's saying that like this person related to Michael is because it's his mom.
I think there was a level of relevance to bring up, like, what was the all the immediate thoughts for the first couple of years of a game's release when it came out, right? Because because what you get is kind of like the most face value what people got from the minigame. And when Midnight Motorist came out, it was split between Afton and like the various like MCI, Henry, but one thing under
Couch person
every
is
Afton
Max.
MM
True.
under every under every
Watches
Afton
TV.
interpretation,
Where's Gray?
it was by Victim Runaway. And I say it with like near confidence because from what I remember, Mike Runaway is relatively new. It came out like 3-ish years ago. It's kind of actually like gaining
I know
popularity.
Cyrus Squawks did a lot of work for it, like popularizing it.
To me, it's like when an idea has to be kind of forced into in a way, like years and years later, I'm like, okay, but I feel like if it was meant to be in that way, at least a couple people would have thought of it when it came out. That's why I'm like, something like, say, Williams, the Glitch Eyes in World, I detest it a lot because like it literally came to existence in 2024. Like nobody thought that before, and I feel like if Scott wanted it to be the case, people would be able to infer that at least at some point in the past 10 years until like.
Here's the problem: no matter what the answer, like let's say it's Bite Victim Runaway or Michael Runaway, the reason people haven't solved this is because both of those in some way require the audience to jump to a conclusion that is very like just going through loopholes. You have to assume a lot. So, like I said, for Bite Victim Runaway, right? The problem, or for like an MCI kid runaway or something, the problem would have to be that William Afton is standing in a bush off screen, then gets out of the bush, then goes back into the bush and goes off, which is harder than, I already said that. But for Mike Runaway, it will be harder to assume that the couch person is just a random babysitter or somebody else. It's like, depending on the angle that you choose, the way you have to explain things is so reaching in some direction that that's why people just cannot come up with a single good, like, yes, it's this. It's because some part of it is always completely fucked.
Well, I think at the time also, I think Scott might have been putting clues in the file names, right? Because we have Later That Night for the Midnight Motorist, and then we also have, in that same game, we have The Runaway being a song, and also songs like No Time for Popcorn.
No, I like Mike Runaway as an idea, but like I said, then I don't know who couch person is. Could be Mrs. Afton, but like, Mrs. Afton has no representation outside of that, and it's annoying.
Right, but that's just because that's her introduction. Like, she doesn't have to have a prior appearance, because that is her first appearance.
In that, though, it would make a lot more sense if Scott wanted us to look at the files for that particular stuff. He could have just named the soundtrack for Later That Night, The Runaway, but instead it's like in this obscure, like, I think it's the Rocket Help Me mini game, which is like,
Mike help me.
Yeah, it's weird.
Help me.
It's weird that it's there.
Out soon.
But you would think if Scott wanted us to point to Midnight Motorists, it would be a Midnight Motorists.
Yes, I mean it's just difficult. Like you can say it's okay. The Bite Victim's the Runaway. Wait, sorry. Who do we think the footprints are in Bite Victim Runaway? Because if it's Bite Victim Runaway, we have to put
Freddy.
a death before. Yeah, okay. So we have to put a death before.
I think I've seen IDs.
Yeah.
I think I've seen IDs say Shadow Bonnie, and it's the agony manifestation of Charlie's
so we have to put a death before. Wow, that manifested quick. I'll tell you. In FNAF 4, it took like a whole week of experiments to manifest Nightmare Fredbear. Or sorry,
you'd either have to
Nightmare.
say MCI first or Charlie first.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. MCI first would have to be it because like there's more ties to the shadows to the MCI than there is to Charlie.
Because here's the problem. Something that Raven is going to mention when he releases his video, which I don't know why he didn't mention it earlier. The footprints are not connected to each other. The only time that pattern has ever shown up was on the withered animatronics, which arguably means that it either A, has to take place during 1987 when those withered models were being used, or that a withered Golden Freddy did exist prior, and that withered Golden Freddy is what we're seeing outside of that window. Which, if that's the case, then who possesses Golden Freddy before the Bite Victim dies?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It would make more sense. It would make more sense if it was Mike running away and his brother is showing up to their house.
Also, I get that, like, you know, the sprites
Oh,
aren't
my
always
neck.
accurate, but like the couch person is tall. Like they're about as tall as William, and I don't think Scott would design it that way if it was supposed to be a
sorry,
kid.
chat.
Because he didn't have to
Yeah, I
draw
said
the
to
feet
keep
going
the
to the
pit
floor.
hair.
He could have just had the feet sticking
Sorry.
out off the couch, and that would be like, oh, this is a kid. But it's clearly like it looks like an adult.
Also, at
Like
what point do they just like remodel the entire house or move houses? Because like that house layout is not the same layout from Five Nights at Freddy's 4, which is always my biggest problem with Bite Victim Runaway.
Because they're divorced and Afton is looking at him from another. He can't, no custody. Yeah, and then he sues him.
That's a problem with Afton and him.
Yeah, it sucks. It's so much. That's why that's what I always liked about Gibby and like other people's interpretation. It's just an MCI kid story. Is that you don't gotta do any of this. You can just be like, okay, yep, it's the drunk dad kid dies. Yay.
The issue about divorce kinds of theories requires
divorce
that
theory.
we have to completely come up with that on our own. There's nothing implying it in the game that they were divorced. And the second is
Until you get to security breach.
We never go to the other house. So William has the kids for like the entire week, and they only go over to their mom's house
and in
for, like,
sister
1 day.
location, it's only the FNAF 4 actual, like, there's the nightmare houses, but those are underground. There's only the FNAF 4 actual neighborhood, which would mean why would he be only spying at them at one house? So, yeah. So it's fucked, chat. In conclusion, Midnight Motorist will never be solved because it is Midnight Motorist.
Spy on Henry.
And what's sad is you look at Fruity Maze, it is the most straightforward story on Earth. You look at Security Puppet, it's the most straightforward story on Earth. By all means, Midnight Motorist should be one of the most straightforward stories, but it just isn't.
I think he thought we would know what it meant. I think he thought we would know.
I feel like it is simple under like in MCI. I'll say Henry in there, but MCI in at the very least is very straightforward. Like the only confusing bit you get is like, oh, was he being taken to the mound? But like that's like very small overall.
And the one thing I do really agree with John on is if two of these mini games connect, by all means, Fruity Maze should be somehow connected to the other two.
That would make sense.
Somehow.
This is
because
why
all three are required for lore
Yeah.
cover.
And they should all have a gravestone.
But
So,
also,
like, I'm
Shizu,
saying-
why is Bite Victim booking it down the freeway?
I'm one of the biggest against that in my life, dude. I cannot get behind the idea that Bite Victim ran the highway distance to wherever William just came from. I think if you have a problem with your son running that far away, that is more than just I guess I'll punish him when he gets back. No, I think you need to do a
Put him in
lot
an
more than
institution.
that. Why is your son running miles away to a building?
Yeah, and
Freddy's
it's
is not that
he ran
fun.
off again, so it's a routine thing as he goes on a 4K.
Look, it is a 7-year-old kid because like in the Dread Bears and play his birthday is his 8th birthday, so this would be a 7-year-old child running all the way to Fredbear's or Freddy's, which is unsensical. Which is like under BB Runaway, like it has to be the mound like to be going to, because how is a 7-year-old kid going all the way over there?
And then it always comes back around of what the hell is the mound under Bite Victim Runaway? Because presumably,
Yeah, there you
it
go.
should
Why
be
is he
told to
checking
us
on
in
Susie's
FNAF
dog?
6.
Why would Bite Victim want to check on? That's what I mean. Yeah, so that's you try to mush those two aspects together, it doesn't work either because Bite Victim wouldn't care
Unless
about.
we're implying that Bite Victim just saw Susie's dog and he has huge fucking paw prints, and that's what we see. That's the footprints. It is Susie's dog.
With three fucking.
What he saw is William in the Fredbear suit run over the dog, and that's what caused his fear.
No, that's why I think that's why I think 5 Laps at Freddy's is just like so direct with it. I think Scott is like, listen, everybody's been confused about this for years. I'm gonna put it straight in front of your face. You got the spring bonding antenna on Midnight Motorist. You got the description of the car saying the perfect vehicle to flee a crime, and then you have the dice reading 87.
Yeah.
And then also right before that we had the
which then it definitely
can't
can't be Bite Victim
Charlie
Runaway.
last.
It definitely can't be Bite Victim Runaway if it's an 87.
To be fair, with the description actually isn't in the games in the files.
Yeah, that's true. The description is not main.
I like that
I think
point
it is
Fazbear brought up
supporting
earlier
evidence.
though, that they later used 5 laps for lore. It got updated for the Edwin Murray reveal. So they are using it for lore. So that wasn't a mistake.
And that was the only thing they updated about it. It was like they handed out to Daco and are like, look, this is the only thing we did. This is like specifically to draw eyes to the fact
Bite
that
victim used a bike.
this is like confirmed lore.
Bike victim.
Yeah,
I think even on the same day that we got the reveal of the Tiger Rock plushie and Edwin's name in the games the same exact day.
I think so.
Was it? I don't know.
I think it was the same live stream. Which is
You might be right.
insane if somehow that's not important to understanding the modern lore, that Scott just randomly decided to put 2 pieces of evidence for Tails being incredibly connected to the games and then pull us out and be like, actually, it's not the same at all.
Andrew.
And also, you see, Seiju, I take things deeper because Five Last at Freddy's is a in-universe game. So Fazbear putting Edwin in the game matters a lot more to me than Edwin merely being there, because I draw more from like, hey, why is Fazbear putting him in the game, advertising his company in this mini game? That's much more interesting to me, which, you know, Tales fiction.
No. Gibson, I hear the foots of Gibson approaching. Welcome to the horror homestead.
You know, I think Gibby's playing a role. I'm a true believer.
I think the fact that not only did the Murray billboard come out at the same time as the reveal of the Tiger Rock plush, but that also is directly showing, like, you know, it's connecting the lore reveal from 5 Laps at Freddy's to the lore reveal from Help Wanted 2. And in Help Wanted 2, you also have Charlie being the last gravestone, and then you have the 5 Laps at Freddy's saying 87 for the dice.
You know, in my timeline document, it says Charlie dies in 82. So.
Oh my God! You and Fazbear need to fight.
That's what I'm saying.
Don't worry, Fazbear. I'm on your side. I'm leaning more towards Charlie 87.
Yeah, Charlie 87 would be cool. I'm trying to think of a reason. I'm trying to think of a reason, though, that he would kill her in that way, and not because if he's already done the MCI and stuffed them all into suits.
Well,
so you think that was just to hide the bodies? You don't think he was trying to get anything possessed? So you would have to put have to put sister location. You have to put the fun times being built after then, wouldn't you? Because the whole operation is to get Remnant.
He killed Charlie just to kill Charlie because he is a jealous person of Henry.
That's what
so you think he was like, fuck it, I'm not gonna try to cause a possession anymore. I'm just killing this kid, and then it just happened to work.
I think Henry set up the FNAF 2 location, and he set up all the different security features. You know, they spent a small fortune on these new animatronics, and you got the security puppet specifically made to watch kids. I think that Henry set up the new location, FNAF 2, after the MCI, and he's like, okay, somebody messed up my stuff big time last time. I'm going to make sure that whoever did this can't ever strike again. And William is like, oh, you can't stop me. And so he kills his kid.
He's like,
a message.
He's like, bet.
Double down. Being like, your security system don't mean shit to me, man. Yeah. I'm killing your kid regardless.
Outside, yeah.
It's just hard for me because I think there's a lot more evidence that Charlie possessed the plush and like 82 is a relevant date to 4. Like, I just never really see it like explain. I know, like, I think
it wasn't the source code.
Like, oh, it's like a reversal. It's like 87 is relevant to the game in the sense that it is reflection, is another byte, and the byte 87 phone call is playing in the game. Like 87 isn't to some extent relevant to the game, even if it's not the year. So, something in mind. Something happens in 82 that is relevant to this game's story, and the only thing that is ever said to happen that year is Charlotte's death, which
in
I
the
don't.
novels.
And you have in the novels, the first novel came out the same year.
But also, ready? I'm gonna hit you with my Kamehameha wave. The novels also say, some of the novels also say that the MCI is in 1985, so we can't use dates for one and not the other. You have to say that both are in the respective years.
Also,
well, the way I would weigh,
she'd be a 3-year-old, right? If we're using the date from the graves.
Yep, and she is not 3 years old.
In the novels,
yeah, she speaks pretty.
The date, her birthday is pretty conflicted. If you go by the Silver Eyes, she should be a 5-year-old. By 83. If you go by the the fourth closet, she should be a 3-year-old. And so I don't think the dates exactly always translate in terms of their birthdays. Because you see, Vanessa is born at a completely different time frame in the movie compared to the games. So I don't think that ultimately. I think that Scott just changes that whenever he wants for a timeline. But the way I rate the dates is, do we have evidence for some of the novels in the games? Can we infer it? So for me, I can infer 82 based on 82 was market and relevant to FNAF 4. You have a character in FNAF 4 which has a lot of ties to the puppet. You have Bite Victim parallels the puppet, has a lot of connections to them, and Golden Freddy always parallels the puppet across the original games. And I also like missing sister kind of. I agree with like, Unwittered that like the sister is meant to be Charlie. So like
at the
that's
time,
all.
I think.
That's all there. So
yeah.
I feel like you can infer, okay, 82 has to be probably still the case. Well, with 85, there's no evidence for that in these games. Well, we have evidence for 83, so I take precedence of the game evidence over the book.
All right, hold on, I want to ask Fazbear and take my question.
Yes.
So in Charlie 87, like after the MCI, is he trying to get the original animatronics possessed? Is that why he's hiding them, or is he hiding them just for, like, just because he killed them? Is he trying to create possession at that point, or is it not until after?
No, so my take is that I think that the Bite Victim was his first instance of like learning about possession.
Okay.
In 83.
Yep.
And then he goes on to make the Funtimes, and then Circus Baby kills Elizabeth, and it shuts down Circus Baby's Pizza World, and Fredbear's Family Diner shut down. And I think that Freddy's owns or Henry owns Freddy's, which is why he says trapped in prisons of my making. And then I think William is like, okay, well, I just lost everything. I'm going to make sure Henry loses everything too. And so he kills 5 kids at Freddy's to shut Henry down. But Henry like perseveres and is like, no, I'm going to make sure that like we're safe now. We're going to spend a fortune for these new animatronics.
My problem is that the wound first inflicted on me wouldn't work in your context there. Because then if Elizabeth and Circus Baby come before that, then that would be a wound first inflicted on like Elizabeth. She'd be the first one possessed to possess Circus Baby.
Yeah, but she's also like an antagonist at that point, right? Like,
yeah, I guess. I just think if Henry's saying that the first possession, you'd have both Bite Victim and Elizabeth possessing animatronics before Charlie, technically.
Yeah, I think the wound is in reference to the MCI. I did a whole section on it in my second video, but like everything throughout the entirety of both speeches is about William doing the MCI and then like turning it into the Funtimes, and then the Funtimes becoming Molten Freddy. And then we have like one split second of Henry being, this wound first inflicted on me that bled into all of this, and then continues immediately after that to say he lured them there again. And so I think that it's saying that like the MCI is what Henry considers his wound. It's William like just he kills kids in an attempt to tarnish him, because William's just like a jealous businessman. I think that's his.
Sorry, chat. There is a lot of delay because my internet is cheeks, but love you guys. All right, what is it, Shizu?
Oh, I was going to say the other thing was that both Elizabeth and Bite Victim's deaths are accidents. Neither of them were intentional. So it wouldn't be considered a wound by either of their deaths. If
Okay, well, I don't think you could say that Circus Baby killing somebody was unintentional. Look at it.
I think it was. Circus Baby and the other Funtime animatronics weren't built to kill. They were built to kidnap.
Okay, I think it's the same
theory that Circus
thing.
Baby was made to kill Charlie, but then it killed.
You think Elizabeth's bone structure was just so terrible that the claw murdered her?
I think the fact that it's William's first set of animatronics he ever built himself would suggest that they just malfunctioned. They didn't work the way that they were meant to work. I mean, if it was a murder machine, why does Afton immediately shut down the location after the death of Elizabeth?
You'll find out on Sunday. Sunday! It's coming.
Oh no, I killed my daughter. Or is it, shit, the robot killed somebody. It wasn't supposed to do that in public. That was never supposed to happen.
That's actually a good theory. That he didn't, like, do you think there was, like, blood left behind? That's a good theory, I guess. I address it in my video coming out this weekend. So you should watch that, Cheesy.
That's just my take. That's just my take. I know people think that they're murder machines. Their blueprints don't really imply that they're murder machines.
Definitely meant to
just
lure
meant to-
people, but we don't know if they're meant to kill them. But they
I
meant to, like,
think.
lure
Well,
people.
I think they are designed to. I won't spoil it because I think what I come up with is pretty solid. So but it's
Well, are you gonna talk about it in a theory or something?
yeah, it's in the in 2 days.
Sunday.
I have a video coming out all about Circus Baby's
Now-
Pizza World.
Now,
Oh, okay.
The whole cancel due to leaks thing. I have a whole theory on that coming out.
Yeah. There's a point to be had though with like the Henry line in that I think what makes it kind of difficult for me to think it means anything else other than Charlie is one, in the novels, you can actually take Henry's speech, maybe the insanity ending speech, and you could apply it to the novels. You can find correlations to how the novel timeline plays out to what Henry's talking about. Very similar. I find made something on it as well. And what happened in the novels is that Charlie died, and he let that bleed out, and it caused literally the entire domino of the novel timeline. And so I feel like Scott, who's definitely taking from the novels, especially in FNAF 6,
Wait a minute.
it's taking that idea,
Shizu.
putting it here.
Shizu, in Count the Ways, Funtime Freddy can fucking murder you in like 90 ways.
Funtime Freddy. That's the equivalent of saying the yellow rabbit is quite literally a flesh monster.
Well, this guy in chat also said that
Is he not?
the kids can hear Elizabeth screaming from inside the robot.
No, they
So she's not
couldn't.
dead.
That's the whole point. But
They
that
said
would
they
imply
could hear
that
for,
it was
they couldn't
screaming.
hear her over the sound of their excitement. Sorry. The implication is that she is screaming though, so she doesn't get insta snapped. She's in there going, oh,
Yeah.
but the children can't hear it because they're like, ice cream, motherfucking ice cream. So,
They're eating-
counter them not being just kidnap robots.
yeah,
I feel
sorry,
like if
that's
you
what I
were
meant,
kidnapping
Fazbear. I didn't mean they
somebody,
can.
you'd
I meant
want
she
them
is
to-
screaming. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I will
I
admit the
don't-
wound is my biggest hang up with Charlie
Yeah.
87, but I think Scott might have just changed his mind around the time of Help Wanted 2. I think he was like, wait a minute, the puppet being first would mean that it never stopped anything throughout the whole series despite being a protector. I'm going to make her die last instead, actually.
But would that conflict what he said with retcons? Because he said if he doesn't change details like that on a whim, and if he retcons
Yeah, but it's
something, he'll make a
Scott
post about it.
retconned.
Like,
That's
said
the
he
whole
would
point,
go-
though, is that even back in FNAF 2, you could make that interpretation because the bear walking around was not Fredbear. It was not Golden Freddy. It was a Freddy animatronic walking around during the day. So you could say even all the way back in FNAF 2, that could have been Toy Freddy. So it's not retconning because it was open. It's always been open to interpretation. It's just that the fan base has held on to the idea for so long that we basically consider it
Fat
canon,
ghost
but
person. I
it's-
talk about that in Sunday's theory.
That's
Like
so
a retcon would
easy.
imply that information was actually changed from one game to another, but it's always just been an interpretation.
Yeah, it's just
so
always
it's not-
evolving.
I'm just anything that to me involves like Scott changed something like that from like it went from like it's one thing if we contextualize it to mean more than it was, but when it went from X to Y, I just immediately kind of have a lot of doubt. It's like, no, if it's 87, Scott always intended 87. And it's stupid.
Yeah, but then you could never say that anything throughout the story has changed at all. But he very clearly said that things had to change
Yes.
after FNAF 4.
Well, he said he changed things in the sense that he recontextualized, he made them more than what they were, but he also said he doesn't change details or retcon things like that. So like if
Oh yeah,
if you want
Shizu.
thing-
You're implying that the kids get oxygen from inside Circus Baby's stomach. Of course, they're meant to die. It seals them in
inside
a stomach hatch
what's-
with no oxygen. Of course, it's
What's inside of the sister location bunker? You think that
well,
those are
then again, it could be to
it's
bring them back from the
customized.
dead. Then it could be kill them and then try to resuscitate them with.
You know what? Let's
So,
just
still
put
could be.
Seiju inside the robot. Let's put him inside of it. We'll see how long he
Put
survives.
Shizu in there.
Sounds like a fun time. Literally.
But yeah, I was just gonna say is that like there's a difference between like Scott changing something in terms that he adds more to it because he didn't consider the box a retcon, but he said it changed, right? So you can add
Yeah.
something to something, it still is what it was, but it changed by de facto because you add more to it. So Scott could. That's what we probably refers to because Marvel does that, Star Wars does that. It's very normal, and it's not a retcon. A retcon would be say what you're kind of hinting is that it was Charlie did die here, then he changed his mind, made it here. That's a retcon. That means he only put things for the other here, but then made those invalid by making it
Mhm.
here.
Well, also, I mean, I go over it in my video, but there's a lot of stuff in FNAF 2 that could.
Oh, oops. Sorry,
You
sorry,
can't really argue.
sorry.
Charlie first is, or you can't really against Charlie first is Henry's statement. But like in FNAF 2, the heads of the animatronics that the puppet helps possess are the Withereds, which would imply that she dies after, and that's like when that happens, it's Withered Golden Freddy that jump scares the player. It's not regular Golden Freddy. And then you have the Take Cake Bear being a Freddy that walks around during the day. That's Toy Freddy. And then like there's a bunch of stuff that is like it's not a retcon. It's just that one statement of Henry I think is interpretive, and we misinterpreted it. And like it might be bad storytelling, but I don't think that is.
Well,
oh shit, Shizu.
That's what I mean, like.
Cat in chat says there's a fan on baby's stomach to filter air in to the tank, to the storage compartment.
That is also true. That is also true.
Okay. So yeah, maybe it is then. Maybe it wasn't supposed to kill her instantly. That's cool. I do think you'll see it in my theory. I do think eventually any kid that would have been kidnapped by Circus Baby, he does intend to kill at some point.
Oh yeah.
But it might not do it. Yeah. So it might not have. It might have happened too soon.
I think the fact that he abandoned the children inside of the experiments kind of implies that he never planned on letting them out.
I mean, you could imagine this, right? Elizabeth's been alive the whole time, but she's piloting baby like the freaking like Gregory and FNAF.
So you think the canceled? Oh, I want to talk to Sheez about this for a second. You think the canceled due to leaks is because Elizabeth died instantly, and he was like, okay, I need to hone the robots more before they go out again?
Circus Baby malfunctioned, and it resulted in Elizabeth dying, and he obviously William Afton. I believe it's complicated. It's really complicated. I don't know what.
Okay, and then Circus Baby doesn't have sedatives in it, does it? On the blueprint? I'm just asking. I don't remember off the top of my head. I don't remember that.
No, I don't think so.
Okay,
I don't remember.
If I don't understand it, how can it be true? Riddle me this.
So with the cancel due to leaks thing.
But I think that the machine malfunctioned, which resulted in Elizabeth dying. When everything happened, William claimed that there were gas leaks, so they had to move the building, and that's why he tries to reopen with the rental service afterward.
It's Cassidy Tamper, I'm telling you, it's Cassidy Tamper.
Do we think that the rental service is
I
actually
disagree,
like a building above ground, or is
conclusion.
it just the underground section? Because it's called like the auditorium, which implies an audience, right?
I think it's probably they probably have like representatives, and they take families down there to be like, here's what you'd be renting out. It's probably like a show, like a car dealership. They're showing it off.
Because the cancelization says that trucks showed up and took everything down, which kind of implies that it was a separate location. And then you also have the vent repair minigame, which places one of the elevators for Circus Baby's Pizza World, or Circus Baby's Sea Bear.
I agree with you, Shizu, on this point. I agree with you that the result of the gas leaks thing is William trying to cover up for one of his plans that failed. I don't agree with you on which one of the plans that is. I don't agree with you that it's about the kid specifically being like, oh, this wasn't meant to kill somebody. I think it's a different.
When can we hear your thoughts about what it was, TDreads?
I sure wonder when you could hear my thoughts. What if you guys all subscribed and came back Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time?
I'm actually wondering, do you still plan on like playing that one part of the video? Because I left and y'all were talking about like baby.
Probably not. I'm probably gonna get off soon. But if you want to watch it about Drazerus's 1983 MCI evidence, then you should go to Drazerus's stream. Wait, not stream. To Drazerus's YouTube channel.
And watch stream. Nice joke.
How's the new video doing, by the way, Draz? Got like 3K yet? 2.5?
Let me see. It was at 2.4 when I woke up.
Okay.
It's at 2.4. 87.
87.
87.
2487.
Canceled due to blueprint leaks. Yeah. That's funny. If that's what we got. I mean, Henry does have the Scooper blueprint. He got open sourced. William got like the Nintendo Giga Leak. There's the Afton Giga Leak.
That's hilarious.
The Afton Giga Leak. Luigi was supposed to be in Mario 64, guys.
you think that the bunker was built at the same time as Pizza World, or do you think it was made after?
I don't want to
was
spoil
made
too
before.
much. I don't want to spoil too much.
'Cause my
I
thoughts
think
would
it.
say
I think
would
it is.
be
I
made
think it is
after.
before. I think it's shortly before.
I think
Guys.
William built them and
I think he
possibly
needs. Yeah.
put Mike in there or put someone in there. And then he was like, I kind of need more subjects if I'm going
Yeah.
to actually get this experiment right, which is why he creates Circus Baby's Pizza World to kidnap kids, bring them down to the bunker, throw them inside the experiment chambers, and just go through the list and be like, okay, so that one didn't create a Shadow Freddy, that one didn't create a Shadow Freddy, that one didn't create a... Oh, that one might have created a Shadow Freddy.
And here's that line. It's real. It's happening. Shadow Freddy's manifest.
But, midway through, he fucking, when he first opened up Circus Baby's Pizza World, his daughter got killed, and then he was like, wait a minute, I designed that animatronic with blue eyes, not green. Who the hell tampered with my animatronic?
Then he opens it up and he
fired
says,
somebody for it.
"Oh no." So no, no, I'm not even saying anything. I'm not even saying anything. You have to all watch the theory when it comes out and have your mind blown, and then you'll all start like blushing in real life, like, "Oh my god, TDreads, you're so smart." That's what all you're gonna do.
There's the
We're gonna say mid.
No.
in Help Wanted, they got the elevator in the pizzeria, and then it leads into the bunker, which
It actually leads into a giant claw machine.
That's the...
You're right.
Wait,
Sure.
claw,
FNAF
a
takes
claw
place-
machine. No.
I wonder if this is never mind. What I was about to say was going to sound absolutely insane, but I'll say it anyway. What if the Help Wanted to Vanny ending is some bizarre VR representation of getting scooped?
I do think that
They
it's
entered
actually...
inside of you, and then they take away your glitch
That
trap plushie,
makes sense.
You know what I mean? Because it's like a claw machine.
and then it
I
goes,
have
it
always wanted
goes
that.
inside you, and it takes away your glitch trap plush.
Cassie's dad gets
It
scooped.
takes the glitch trap plush out of you.
I've wanted to map
Father,
the,
they entered inside of me and took out my glitch trap plush that I
I'm
kept in
just
my
saying that's something
esophagus.
I mean, it's got to be connected to sister location
purple
somehow
guy
because you go
sucks.
inside
Thank
of
you, Jonas
that.
Jam.
Then it's crazy to me that that's like
Mask
the
bot
sister
ending.
location imagery that keeps showing up in modern FNAF is odd to me. Like, I mean, it's odd in a good way.
Mask
I
bot
have-
ending.
I think certification has to be
True.
so important because ever since Steel took over, you have weird images of Baby, even like even in Fury's Rage, which was made by Scott. So you would have had his idea of security breach in mind, like his story, and he was teasing it in Fury's Rage. And the last thing you see, like in the last boss file, is like Eleanor, which looks like Baby, in like a healing pod, and it's like, okay, what relevance does this character have in security breach that Scott wanted this thing in the game?
Maybe
Genuinely.
originates in Help Wanted too, right? The plush
And then-
babies.
I think so. And you have the plush in Ruin, you have Baby imagery across it, and you have the whole like carnival theme, like carnival circus.
Yeah, the plush
and all
babies
that.
are weird.
And
The plush babies are.
the last
weird
book
as
of
fuck.
Tales, is literally an SL story, like, and then the last place, and the
Prepare for
place
the
like
fall.
Cassie falls down to, like if you consider the map, the place Cassie would be falling down to would be the bunker.
It's probably
That's
just
where it
Scott
leads off.
reusing tropes again. He keeps doing this. The Twisted Ones, Red Lake, and everything, and the Ruin, and bleh. Scott. Haha, I don't know how to come up with new ideas.
I'm telling you, Ruin 2 is going to, like, we're all building up to, like, Sister Location 2. Like, Ruin sequel is gonna
I'd be
Sister
so
Location
down
sequel.
if we end up like in
I
the
would
old Afton house.
love-
If we end up in the old
I
Afton
want a
house,
return.
I'd be so down.
Even
I want it
Secret
so
Artifacts,
bad.
Secret Artifacts is gonna have Sea Bear. Like, it has it in it.
Does Cassie in Ruin, does she go down from the
Down.
pizzeria to like the mimic is below the
Wait.
pizzeria?
Yeah. It's implied that that's where Henry was.
I've
he was
had a
blowing
thought
everything up.
that I've had a thought that the
Which means that
ending of
Henry was
Help
down there
Wanted
with the
2
mimic, but no comment.
mirrors the path that Cassie takes because you start out in the pizzeria and then you go down that big tunnel and then you get to that point and then there's an elevator at the end of it, and at the end of Cassie's route there's an elevator.
she takes an
And that
I
would
know.
She takes an elevator.
Have you
That's
seen
cool.
The Oof Troop.
Just
The
the
Oof
purple
Troop has
guy
talked about that
sucks.
too.
Electric angle. Thank you.
I haven't
Uh,
watched it. I'll have to take a
Angel.
look at that.
Electric angel. I'm
It's-
sorry.
I'll have to send you because I don't like they didn't make a video about it, but they talked about it on one of Raito's podcasts. But I can send it to you. But because I made a whole video just being like, I just want to talk about this one part because I think you're onto something.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going under that route,
and then glitch trap is at the end, right? And then the mimic is at the end.
That's what I was gonna say. Glitch trap is at the end.
Ain't that something?
So instead of giving him glitch trap, it'd probably be that Cassie gets made to become the next like GGY or something.
Vanny.
It's a fair trade. You remove the glitch trap from one person to give it to Cassie.
To another person. Vanny takes it and squishes it, but then gives it to Cassie.
She squishes it into a mask and she gives it to Cassie.
Yeah, after Escape the Pizzaplex, Gregory might have just cut the elevator, dude. He's kind of not very nice.
Well, I mean, that kind of goes into Raito's theory that Gregory is controlled.
In Escape the Pizzaplex? Could be.
Yeah.
There's also the theory that, like, I think Terminal has a theory that's like there's two Gregorys in Escape the Pizzaplex.
Greg duo.
I don't like that.
Sigma duo.
Personally. I'm sorry to be so like me having this is what I was talking about. My mind is closed. No more open-mindedness. I think that Gregory just is very similarly to Vanessa, just has a part of his brain that is like under the control of glitch trap. It is so heavily influenced that it's not. Maybe that's why in Security Breach Gregory's so confused because it just didn't even feel like him. He wasn't even there, you know.
Yeah. No, I think that's what Balloon World is as well. I think he's like somehow ties them into that through an arcade game. Because Princess Quest is for Vanny, then you probably have Balloon World is for Gregory.
I feel like in Ruin, like it's not that Gregory's evil doing that. It's that because Cassie had released the mimic and had the transponder implanted into her brain, which mind you, Fazbear, how'd you get that legalized? I think you have influence over the government. Fazbear's lobbying the U.S. government, but is because she has that. He was probably like, yeah, she's a lost cause, and it's like, for our safety, I gotta drop you. I think it's less like evil, more so like I feel like he thinks he had to.
Yeah, of course, because it could be the mimic mimicking Cassie. Of course, yeah. I don't think he's a bad person. Like I think he doesn't know any better. It could be Cassie is the mimic in the elevator.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's like he doesn't even know that Cassie's not already compromised.
Here's the weird thing: why is the audio like have a cutout before
it does,
that version of Gregory?
I know.
And the elevator battery is right down by where you get into it. So
yeah.
I think there's something going on there. There's
but then Roxy's gonna come in clutch, and we're gonna ride on her back, we're like charging into battle.
Piggyback with the Roxy.
You know what's always bothered me about the mimic? It doesn't necessarily seem to like mimic voices, right? Because like all of the lines that we hear Gregory say throughout Ruin are like things that we've heard him say.
Not at the end. At the end, it starts getting like its own shit. At the end, it starts.
I suppose that's true. But like,
you
it's
saved
like
me.
Less advanced mimicking technology than the Funtimes mimicking Elizabeth for.
It's because William Afton said, "Steal the mimic and bring it to me."
Speaking of baby, like something I always liked about like the baby possibly being connected to the mimic, it's like John's theories, is the baby's whole thing. She has a whole speech about learning to pretend. And pretending is being something
that's
you're
the mimic
not.
does.
And then you have in Ruin's update, not Ruin's update, Help-Wander's update, which, mind you, is meant to tease Secret the Mimic. So it's not just like they add shit posting to the game. Tease Secret the Mimic. And so you have like the thing was like a hidden performer is ready to take his bow. And some can take that as, oh, it's like the ending of like a show. But like also a performer will often bow when they're entering the stage. And it even says later, a poor performer. You throw tomatoes at the mimic on the stage. So how can the mimic be the hidden performer if the poor performer you're throwing tomatoes at is the thing on the stage? The hidden performer has to be something we don't know yet. That's for the next.
I think
game
he's because it's in the suit. I think just because the mimic is inside the costume, so the mimic endoskeleton is the hidden performer that is inside the line.
I just thought
you're highly hidden because like the main ending of
I don't know.
Ruin is like regular mimic. So is that really
No,
hidden
I'm saying
unless
in
it's
the
a hidden
context of
skin?
Help Wanted 2. I think what Mr. Hippo's
it's like
saying
in
is
the
there is
suit.
the mimic hidden inside of this lion suit.
Yeah.
I feel like hidden performer doesn't really tell us much about like.
Well, think if
what
you're a
to
child
choose
at
next
Disney
game.
World. If you're a child at Disney World and Mickey Mouse is doing a dance, you'll go, oh, look, Mickey Mouse is doing a dance. That's the performer. But as an adult, the hidden performer is the person inside of the Mickey Mouse costume. It's just a different...
Agree.
Yeah.
You could say it from like a kid's perspective, but I'm saying as like a developer trying to tease the next game, and this is meant to be a teaser for that game. I just don't think that would be like a very bare. It feels like very much like okay, still, but like what's special about that? I feel like the point of like the hidden performer is to tease us next game. Even one of the taglines in the description of Secret of the Mimic is Present to me is not responsible for wherever you awaken in the dark, right? That would imply like the mimic's already awake, so there's something else you, the player, may awaken at this facility, right? That thing you awaken could
your
be this hidden
bloodlust.
performer.
Yeah, my thought was that something in Secret of the Mimic leads Afton to like want to start killing, and that's the that's the thing that gets awake.
Oh, you think we're finally going to get Afton motive in 2025?
I think it's possible.
Yeah.
That'd be
Especially
crazy.
with all the connections between the Funtimes and the animatronics in Edwin's factory.
I mean,
Yeah, and
I
then
always
also-
assumed it was just like bite victim, or like, but like
I
you know,
think
clearly,
baby's
he's
fine.
clearly screwed up before that because the normal response to that isn't time to murder children to figure out, you know. And I don't believe we'll care either. I think it's just like, okay, my son's dead. This is a good opportunity to, you know, either have it because what does he do with Elizabeth's literally a minion when he's like put her back together, not for her own good. She's a minion after that. Yeah. So.
Which
Oh my
I
God.
guess what he wanted.
I
with
thought about
Mike.
the fact
Hey,
that
banana.
even more connections between the Mimic and the Funtimes is that Help Wanted 2 is like all about the Mimic, right? But the intro to the game has
name is
3 Funtime animatronics in like the starting screen.
Oh,
And then
you're a
Roxy as
smart
well.
little guy.
Almost.
So true.
And it also has Woxy, who plays a role in Ruin, the game related
that's
to this
why-
game, which means that the fun times
that-
are... Sorry.
That's why Siva has to be so important. That's why you see Help Wanted 2.
Yeah.
The last story of Tales is a SL story. This is so, and you have like the place that Cassie would logically be falling to would be the bunker, and then the very next game wants to go back to the past, and you get the facility.
past,
They'll
Samurai
always there's literally a theory that like that facility, Edwin's factory, is what Afton Robotics and Siva will later be built upon, right? And that the piece of Plex is built upon that. So, like, that theory I think makes a lot of sense. And it would make sense if Cassie follows down to the bunker and Edwin's factory later becomes that bunker in Afton Robotics, because Afton is one who wanted all the shit, then it makes a lot of sense why we're going back here and why it matters so much.
Shizu, is the van that has Mexis in it supposed to be the same van that pulls up to Edwin's factory in the trailer?
Don't they have the same design? Aside
Why
from
do you
missing
already
our
have
logo?
Mexis then? Do you think Fazbear Entertainment built Mexis for you to go capture it with? Oh, weird.
Yeah.
Weird.
Be
So
honest, that
Fazbear builds
wouldn't
it.
be-
It's not after they.
would be
Whoa.
strange.
That's so weird. They build it before you even see, like before they even lay eyes on the
Because
mimic. They build
here's,
Mexis.
Here's the thing: is
It's a
that
trick.
it's implied that Jackie, or is it implied that Fazbear Entertainment already has their hands on the Mimic code before this event?
No, it can't
That's
be
something-
because they want it so badly. Like there's
Well, I
the
think
mimic's
that
nothing
they
special
were
looking.
Contracted.
They want it for the AI.
I don't know if this is relevant, but on the Steam page for Secret of the Mimic, it says that you'll also be collecting blueprints. So it's possible that previous team recovered blueprints.
Yeah.
Possible.
So they
I'm
want
not saying that that's
That's interesting then. So if before Fazbear Entertainment even sees the mimic endoskeleton, they already are building a giant contraption to
Because
capture
that's
it.
the thing. The only thing that ever made Mexis sort of make sense to me is I've always seen it as a quarantined version of the Mimic program.
All right, chat,
specifically
ready?
Designed to counter it.
I want you all to bookmark this. Given what I just said about them building before they lay eyes on the mimic, I want you to all come back here and give me $100 each if Mexis is revealed to be translated to mimic extraction and suppression, or mimic. Oh no, yeah. If it's mimic
Not
extraction and suppression, fuck it up. Oh yeah, it's E. I'm actually so dumb. Oh, mimic extraction. Extraction, encapsulation, and suppression.
There you go. I was like, you're using the
Mimic,
extraction
mimic extraction
and the E, but those are backwards.
Yes,
mimic
it's exactly
extraction,
like which then sort of makes me
encapsulation.
wonder: do you
Did
think
Henry
Mexis
build
was
Mexis?
developed by Henry?
Mimic extraction,
I think that's
encapsulation, and
possible.
suppression. All right, I'm done. I'm just saying that's what it's gonna be. Mimic.
I mean, we
that's
know
very
Henry
possible.
is also a technician. Would it be that bizarre to think that he's the one that created?
Well,
the
what if you're
Mexis
playing
program?
as Henry? That's the theory then. The big theory is you're
We
going to be
might
playing as
build
Henry.
Nexus in the game.
We
That
may be
might
playing
the
as
whole.
Henry.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because isn't
I like
Lefty
it.
also Lefty also was an encapsulation and extraction device?
Yeah.
Thing is, like,
So the
why
Mexis
were-
might be as well.
And
Why
and
were-
and he likes to name his stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Like he likes
LEFTE
he likes that naming
MXES.
convention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For hand unit, whoever is hand unit in real life would be like talking down to like one of the guys who owns the company. The only way I can see it being William
What?
Henry
Talking
is
down?
if it's like the way the guy gives it the briefing. It's not how you would treat your superior. So the only way I could
have a-
see it being
That's true.
Henry or William is if that's not what the player hears to start the game, but rather you find an audio recording of the previous people who went there. That's the only way I can see it being William.
That's
Henry.
true. I don't think
I
anyone
had-
would
I-
talk to
yeah.
William like that.
Yeah, and I had the thought process that it would be a situation where a technician was supposed to go, but it got like similarly to like the job was not meant for you, like Michael's style, that like potentially Henry or somebody else, but potentially Henry got wind of what Fazbear Entertainment was going to go retrieve from the warehouse and was like, I don't trust William with that, or like this just seems like sketchy, or it just had some sort of like feeling that he should go and scope it out before it got in the hands of Fazbear Entertainment.
Well-
Because it seems like Fazbear Entertainment has been sketchy from day one, if we are to
Yeah.
believe the way that things are going.
Chat, I said that because in the context of the game, your goal is to extract the mimic from the warehouse. So I'm saying
Yeah.
that's why you would be, and then you'd be putting it in the
Yeah.
box, the computer thing. So it would be
The
Yeah.
box? The box?
No,
The
no,
box?
no. Yeah, so I would say it would be you.
could.
Yeah.
Ooh, that would work.
Mimic
What if
extraction and
Nexus
encapsulation
is supposed
system.
to be-
Ooh.
What if it's supposed to be a version of Lefty? That it is a black
Yeah.
rabbit, just like Lefty was a black bear.
A black bear,
And
yeah.
then it's
Okay, I was about
specifically
to say
built to
Lefty
do
was not a
the
rabbit.
same- It's supposed to do the same exact thing, where just like Lefty
Yeah.
was specifically built to contain
Contain the
puppet,
mimic by Henry. Mimic extraction and
the fact
encapsulation
that
system.
There's clearly a connection between the mimic and the puppet via the fucking music box.
Mm.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. My grandfather's clock, yeah.
And
That's
what's
always been the
music
weirdest
box
part about it.
Specifically for, it's to calm down the puppet.
Yeah.
And the puppet
It's a suppression
And-
system.
and the security puppet in
Mimic
FNAF 6 has
encapsulation.
yellow eyes.
Mimic
Yeah.
encapsulation. Yeah, that's good. I think I like that. I
That's,
like that that the device you bring it there to get the mimic out and then trap it. That's what Mexis is.
Yep.
Is to extract
that's
and
what I-
encapsulate the mimic. That's good.
Yeah, that actually could be
That's
how
what I-
Scott,
that's-
Scott can recontextualize why he uses the music box for
Yeah,
Lefty.
it's
Because
suppression.
he used it before for the mimic.
And
The
it's also
puppet
used-
the same technology. Same technology.
You know what, Shizu, you're so right. Because even in FNAF 2, that's not just the puppet's theme. The music box is what keeps it satiated and like docile. So you keep it docile. Sorry,
Not
were big words.
satiated.
It's not hungry anymore.
Placated.
It has enough food.
Just have to imply,
yeah, you
that
fills
the-
it up.
perhaps the
Yeah.
Mexis system was already down there. The entire room's full of gasoline. The thing, Henry used to burn the building down.
Mhm.
Is it possible that that was one of the things Henry brought to FFPS to get rid of that's still in there that, Vanessa and them find? And then
Yep.
try to use to keep the mimic away and suppress it?
And it would even make it more sense if Henry was the one who hid the mimic away, if it's
If he
under
built
the
the thing,
FNAF 6
yeah.
pizzeria.
He built
Well,
Nexus.
so wait, that would have to mean that Tails
Everything
games
that
can't be
started this
canon,
can
right?
finally begin to.
What'd you say,
Because
Fazbear?
that would have to mean that Tails can't be canon, right? Because if we're saying that Henry brought the mimic to burn in the fire,
Well, Tails.
then the mimic
That's true.
story in the epilogues has them bringing a burnt mimic to the pizzeria. So it would be like it was
Well,
removed
people are
at some
already
point
argue
after
that
being burned and then
Tails
brought back.
can't be like canon because Edwin's factory is not the same way it's described.
It is
in the
quite
books.
different. It is quite
I
different.
mean, yeah, I don't think that it is, but
It's like a giant
Okay,
shed
fair enough, fair
in
enough, fair
the
enough, fair
book.
Yeah, people, I've been raked over the coals already. I get it.
My name is Edwin.
Hey, I'm a reboot person, so it doesn't matter to me. As long as we
That's
know
what
they're
I'm
important,
saying.
that's all I care about.
Check the chat, guys. Check the chat. FNAF 2 got updated.
What?
FNAF 2?
Check the side
movie?
chat. Check the side chat. Check the side chat.
They made the van. They made the van. William used the van. It's William. William's the one who drew.
FNAF 2 got updated.
He's the one who ran over Dave.
he killed David. My name is David.
know
Dad,
how to
I
get
want some
there.
liquor.
Save him. It's David.
Save
William ran
David.
over.
I'm
Save
screaming.
David. I'm running out on the road.
I just love the freaking like
There's William
text
Afton.
on the tweet. It's like
He's going to
Scott
kill me.
Coffin, you fucking genius.
Yeah. We're getting frighteningly close. The puppet is mimic territory. The puppet isn't the mimic, but Henry uses the same
Technology.
IQ, yeah, to suppress
Yeah.
them. Which is
I think
run dun 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 dun.
I think you can make the. I think it would because I think like Scott likes to recontextualize things, but
Oh
not
wait.
like retcon.
Oh, evidence.
Because it wouldn't
Wait a
be.
minute. Shizu. My grandfather's clock is made by Henry Clay. So in universe, it's also an invention by Henry to make the animatronics be like not all, you know, sucky. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah,
Ah, see.
and since we do know that like Fazbear wanted to reuse the mimic technology, like it's possible like that's just something that can soothe mimic tech, and so whatever something about it, that's why Henry uses it.
Oh,
Could
yeah.
love that.
be that Henry was the first person to recognize that the mimic has agony inside of it, that it is
Yeah.
somewhat possessed, which is why he uses that kind of suppression system.
Hmm.
And maybe
He
the wound
sees-
first inflicted on me is that the mimic gives him a boo boo.
The mimic stabbed
Oh.
him.
The
Oh.
mimic
Mimic.
the mimic kidnapped Sammy.
Oh no! Oh no! My name is Henry. I built the mixes.
I'm
Someone
just
said.
saying, it could be.
Agony, agony, agony.
What if we get a scene in
Very
in
Cassidy-
Secret of the Mimic where
Cassidy
David
code-
falls
Cassidy
asleep
coded, not
to David falls asleep to my grandfather's clock. And
That would be
sedates him.
insane.
Yeah,
It'd be wild.
I can't wait for us to like find that like.
Remember when this was a
anyway.
Midnight Motorist stream?
I know. I was like, what are we talking about?
All right, chat. That's gonna do it from the TDreads perspective, but I will link you to Nervous because I have to get the fuck out of here. But I will send you all
Yeah,
away.
I gotta leave soon, but
But you wouldn't say no to 200
yeah,
viewers.
come over here.
Yeah.
Let's chat. Let's chat for like a couple
Yeah, chat.
minutes about the rest of this, and then I'll tell you all about Remnantplex. Come
Mhm.
here and learn what I think Remnant is all
Let me
about.
paste
in
that
modern
in. All right,
FNAF.
chat.
Make sure to go listen to Insight A3 propaganda.
That's true. I think everyone's
thing
YouTube
is
links that were
that-
originally part of the lineup should be in the description. Go to your adopted mother. Get away from me. All right.
That's hilarious. I am adopted.
It
Oh, no.
wasn't until your
How did it be like
video
that?
that I had even heard about